good to know. All right, so now we'll say that again. We'll see how the Miko sound is. It's kind of far away, but I think
I don't think we're live.
We're going live, I think. Because actually, if there are people waiting, we should see people appear almost immediately. Here we go. Published.
Really?
It says published. Boom, we are published. Hey guys, are we live?
I think we're live.
Once again, we're going to go through the whole week.
Are we live? Are we live?
We're not live. If we're live, let's
Come on, we're pros. We're pros.
I don't see anything else, but I see that, and I see, yeah, one. There we go. Here we go. All right, we're live. We were probably live before, but thanks for joining us. There we
Okay.
go.
So, one, let us know if the sound is okay. Two, we're doing this super on the fly, so...
Yeah, we figured that we would...
Philip says we're live.
Hey, Philip.
So, anyone who comes in the chat, one, tell us where you're from. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. If you're from Brooklyn, that's extra points.
That gets you nothing, so... That gets you absolutely nothing.
Also, let us know if you like our beauty blogger ring light.
Whoa.
What happened?
Okay, sorry. I totally punched down your face.
Yeah, we're using the Mimo. We're like
I punched in your face. Now we're all...
He waits until I lean forward and he finishes. Let us know if you like the beauty blogger light we get going on.
Yeah, we threw this together pretty fast.
A little
courtesy of some of the cheapest lighting you'll ever find.
Oh, good. Sounds okay. Perfect.
Oh, we're not bad.
Yeah, we look decent. We're super white.
So as you can see, there's a pile of junk behind us. Toledo, Ohio.
All right.
UK.
Hey.
All right.
Is that also in Ohio?
So yeah, apparently. I wish it was in Ohio. All right, so we decided to do an open Q&A for you guys because you guys see us all the time. We haven't done the pregame in like a million years.
Oh yeah, it's true. We've been slacking.
We haven't done the postgame in even longer.
Slacking because I have a game after.
Yeah, well, this is I'm referring to the onsets you do live for Adorama. But we're in our studio right now. I've been in here for 2 days straight.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you were doing a project yesterday.
Yeah, the project didn't go exactly to plan, but you know.
Right, it happens.
You know.
Today I was in here shooting some videos for you guys, so we had Dina come.
Yeah, you nailed out like 3 videos, real fast, real clean stuff. So let us know if there's any questions you've been wanting to ask, because we do see you guys drop messages to Dan's Facebook. We see a lot of DMs on both of our Instagrams. So
yeah, if you don't know, by the way, I don't know if I'm assuming everybody knows who you are, but this is Seth Miranda. Actually, people might not know who I am either. Maybe they're just finding us. So I'm Daniel Norton.
Studio tour. What is with that? Everybody okay. So you see this now. Picture 4 times around, like
except all the junk's over here.
Yeah, I was gonna put all the, one day I will do a walkthrough of the studio, but pretty much. We're talking about a front office area, a bunch of windows that face south so we get as much light in here for as long as we can.
Yeah.
Completely symmetrical room.
Lots of heads.
We got 2
a mannequin.
And a safe.
And a safe, a first safe.
A safe with all of our gear.
By the way, on my way to get the coffee, because I went and got coffee before we started, I walked to the store, Pret du Mont. There was a woman eating. She had like a fur. It probably wasn't real fur. It was like this big white fur coat on, and she was eating a soup.
Oh, good luck to that.
Yeah, and I was watching her, and I'm like, I kind of want to sit there and see what happens with the soup and the white fur, but then I had to come back with the thing.
Yeah, we try to hide the junk in our videos as well. And when I go live in my apartment, there's a reason you only see like this much of my wall. I mean, it is a nightmare in there.
Yeah.
But we did a bunch of stuff so far. So. When's the last time you were live?
I was live for Adorama. Yeah.
Yeah, so you went live doing the DIY?
We did the DIY one, which was kind of interesting.
Right.
Kind of hacks. Didn't go exactly as planned. So actually, we both have something that didn't go exactly.
Yeah, but you was just on yourself. Me, I had a corporate office there.
Yeah, it was my fault.
When adding color lighting to the shadow areas, what should those lights meter in relation to the main lights? So basically, you're asking what lighting ratio should be. 1 to 3 is a typical. Figure if it's 1 to 1, you're doing flat light. That means that your key light is matching your fill.
Which means you're almost certainly going to get double shadows because it's very hard to do exactly 1 to 1, especially if it's always moving.
Double shadows are completely flat, like what we're getting kind of right
flat
now.
If you do it right, double shadows if you don't.
Exactly. Well, then it comes down to angle of light.
Yeah.
But I like to do a 1 to 3 ratio.
That's pretty good, too.
So if I'm at like F8 for my key, I'm probably looking around like 2.8, 4 for my shadows, give or take.
Yeah, exactly. You want them to be a little bit less bright. So what I normally do, though, not to give you a number, because I never give an exact number, because that's me. I would light the shadows first.
No, that's good.
Yeah, get your key the way you want, turn it off, and then turn on your color shadow until you get it to where it looks good, and then turn your key back on. But I think if you're going for, like, you're metering it, you want to be as close as possible, 1 to 3 is a really good place.
Yeah, I think that's what was like standard for everybody. You have to keep in mind it's subjective, right? Because just because the exposure is something, the shape and the size of the light could change the look and feel of the overall look. So even though your exposure and numbers and all your math is right, the style might not be what you're going for. So you have to also put that into play.
Right, because it also depends on where the light falls, right? Because if you're doing something that's like a really hard source and has like a tight shadow, you might not want so much underlight because you might hit your other key.
What's the most overrated kit you have purchased yourself?
Kit?
Yeah, like what's the most overrated gear that you bought? That probably are you asking if we were let down by certain gear that we bought?
I'll tell you right now, and you can see the bitterness still in my voice. And this was years ago. Alien Bs.
Oh, don't even start.
I bought an Alien B light with their Vagabond battery when it was kind of new.
There's one in there.
Yeah, and basically I bought it with a beauty dish. The whole thing was like a nickel. Like they're super cheap, right? I'm like, this is perfect. I'll travel with it. It's great. And I went out and I was shooting outside with it. So I'm like, this is perfect, right? Because battery powered lights were crazy expensive. And I used it, and it was okay. Like on the beach, it felt fine, whatever. But the second I brought it back in the studio and mixed it with my Pro Photo lights, I threw the thing away. Because it was so all over the place, it was just completely unusable to me. So that was a letdown because they had so much hype. The only good thing about it was there was still a lot of hype, and I sold it for 75% of what I bought for, like really quickly. So
letdown. So I don't really know. I kind of never really bought anything with the intentions that it would be like the thing forever or whatever. So, but I will say. There was a time period, I'm big on speed lights, and there was a real heavy time period of everyone pushing Gary Fong.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at an event, and I was shooting something for some public, I forgot who it was, but it was when the Gary Fong switched that rubbery one.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't have anything to shoot with, and somebody handed me this before I left for the event. I'm like, what the fuck is this? They're like, just use that, you'll be fine for the whole event. And I was like, this light is generic as shit. Like, it was not letting me do anything I wanted to do. I was like...
Well, in fact, though, it did what it was supposed to do. Because Gary Fong... I mean, no offense to Gary
Fong. It was fail-safe lighting.
Yeah. I actually remember once I was in Adorama, and this guy came in, and I was running the pro department, and the guy was like, I want to know the difference between all of these on-camera modifiers. And there was actually a mannequin there. And I was like, here, guys, pull it up. Let him try them all. And the dude literally shot every single modifier the same, like right at the mannequin. And there wasn't that much of a difference. Because in that situation, every one of them has their own specific purpose. Like a Gary Fong in huge open space is not that good. You got to put the silver behind it. I used to tell people instead of buying that extra special one that he made, just put a piece of tinfoil inside of it.
Oh yeah, well I actually ended up making a version of it out of like a wonton soup container.
Yeah, that's all it is. But yeah, I think Gary Fong's okay, but yeah, I can see that.
I'd have to think about that some more, Candy. Give me like a minute. So Delta Dave is asking, Eric's 150 macro thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, thumbs up.
Like multiple thumbs up. That lens, we only got like a few hours with it.
Oh yeah, it was
a beta, but holy fuck.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, I mean you used it more than I did, but yeah, it
was surprisingly. I mean, I guess not surprisingly in the sense that I used their wide angle lenses and was really impressed by those. I liked them. Although that 11 still kicks my ass. I know it's a good lens. It just doesn't. I can't grasp it. It doesn't look wide for me.
I think that to me, I can understand landscapes, but like
for what I do, 15 is about as wide as I have. Well, 14.
I feel like the 15 is more corrective for some reason. I feel like it's more corrective.
Feels that way. I haven't done the 11 enough, but knowing the 15 was so great, I wasn't surprised the lens was good. But yeah, I was surprised how much I like shooting with the 150 because I haven't shot with such long lenses in a while. So.
A 150 macro. That's the thing. Like it's compressing and it's shallow as death.
Oh yeah, no, it was really nice. And you know, we actually have opposite thoughts on this because I normally don't like to shoot portraits and beauty with the macro, but I thought it was really great.
I love shooting macro. I use the 105 Nikon.
I think it's too sharp.
I love it. I want people to cut their eyes on my portraits.
Yeah. I'm not usually a huge fan with it, but it really did a good job.
You should totally do it. So Candy is asking, you should totally do a junk lighting challenge using various stuff like Chinese food containers as light modifiers. We could totally do that. With a fashion shoot you do with Marissa with multiple A1s, did the size of the light matter, or could you swap them with B1Xs? I tried to create similar, and I had a problem with the light spreading. So you're asking if the smaller light sources.
Okay, so which one? The one with the hard light, or the one with where I used a bunch of with the jacket?
They're asking
because that would matter. No, I mean I've shot multiple things. Both of those had multiple A1s, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was one that I used bare head A1s, and in that case, yes, the size matters because I was using the bare head in that tiny size. And where I had it in modifiers, I mean, not so much. You should be able to put it into, if you put a B1X in the 1x3, 1x1.3 box, it's the same as the A1. Because the box is your modifier.
Yeah, it's just one needs power.
So yeah, exactly. So I would say that if you're talking about the one with the jacket, it shouldn't matter.
With a fuzzy sweater on an Apple box.
Yeah, that should not have made a difference because none of those I do not think were bare. Right? I'm pretty sure they were all. I forget my videos. I'm pretty sure they were all in modifiers. So yes.
Are you guys coming to the UK photo show in Birmingham next year? I know Gavin was there this year.
Oh man,
we have no plan. I mean, you might.
I'm going to say maybe next year. I plan on traveling. I need to know where in the world people want to see me. I know my mom wants to see me in Florida, so I might go to Florida. But no, seriously, because I think I want to do a little bit more traveling. I always get asked here and there, "Are you going to be here? Are you going to be there?" If I can find enough people, I'll go.
Yeah, we also have to find the companies we want to
people have to support the thing, obviously. But I'd love to see Gavin. Gavin's the best.
Yeah, Gavin's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're both working on doing more event-ish type things.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. We had fun at Comic-Con.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw the Comic-Con video on Aroma TV.
Yeah, Comic-Con was fun.
I didn't get
to walk around and buy comics this year though, because I was so sick.
Nothing's changed. You need 3-year gaps when you go back because it's all the same shit,
Well, the thing is, a couple of the comics that I found years ago that I really liked, I started following the people, and a lot of these indie comics kickstart everything.
Well, they're also too small to create things on a heavy pace.
Yeah.
So the next year you're still
looking at the same comic.
But we've been doing more stuff in the event space. We have the critique this month.
We have critique coming up. So here's a good opportunity to ask. Because we have mixed thoughts on this one too. Would you guys be interested in a critique?
Oh no.
See, here's the thing. When we do the critique, so you have to understand our feeling here is that we only critique people if they come. And we only do it there in the space because we feel like we don't want to put somebody's work out there on the internet and whatever. So, but then I get asked sometimes by people, hey, how come you don't do it online? So would that be something that would interest people to do a critique online where people could watch?
Well, I think it's two different animals. If you do a critique for the online audience, then it's that online audience that knows the parameters and the exposure of their work.
Well, no, I agree. This is something different.
If we did it just for here, cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like the ones that we do at Adorama have this really nice intimacy where it's like Adult Swim.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not recorded. We let our hair down.
Yeah, we do.
And we get to talk like adults about work and this all came about because after every demo either one of us did, there'd be a line of people with phones to show you, look what I did. And it's like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately it becomes difficult. So that's why we're collecting questions and doing these...
we're not wanting to put out stuff that you guys don't want to check out. And we're here, we really want to educate people. We want to make a community actually happen. There's a lot of bad things happening out there right now in the game.
It's true.
We would just like to have a legitimate discussion as professionals to people that could use some insight from people that have been through it,
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the forum. Luckily YouTube offers that to us.
Yeah.
So and Instagram and the other places that we are. So it's cool.
So that's it for the questions, guys.
It was massively attended. Loads of people. Oh, that's cool. Oh man, see, I miss seeing Gavin live. He's very good.
Yeah. Well, did any of you guys see our Eric's demo?
Oh yeah, was everybody at Photo Plus?
Photo Plus was a riot. You shot twice at Eric's.
Yeah, you shot at Westcott.
I shot at Westcott.
Spontaneously, unfortunately, I missed it.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that was a total honor to get that out on the moment. And I just want to thank Nikon for giving me the gear off their tables to go over to Westcott to be able to shoot because most of the time we don't have any equipment on us.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, too, and you've said this before too, that it's kind of surreal that you can actually do that.
Yeah.
There was a time, and maybe some of you guys are in that place where you would go to a photo show and you see these brands and you're like, oh, but to be able to walk up to a brand and be like, hey guys, can I borrow this? That's such a great feeling, right?
Yeah, I think what's really cool is the credibility. And the relationship. So when we see Pro Photo, we know those guys. When we see Broncolor, we know those guys. Yeah. I just did Nikon's booth, I curated it. So it's kind of now I know those guys. So it's kind of
a community is important. And I think that's key. This is the thing. You want to meet people and you want to engage with them and do good work for them, and they'll help you out when they can. I think that's
Well, I think I don't know how you were, but when I was coming up, everything was competition to death. You were scared to get to know other people. You were scared to share ideas and stuff.
See, it wasn't like that for me, and I think I got lucky because when I first moved to Miami, not really knowing too many people, some of the first photographers I worked for actually all shared a big studio, and they were all kind of in competition. They all did similar work. but it was like friendly competition.
Yeah.
So like they borrowed each other's gear. Sometimes they competed on similar jobs, but usually they were close, but they weren't like bashing heads. So I thought that was really good. I saw that environment. It was nurturing.
Well, we're also creating content more than we ever have before.
That's true.
So like photos are actually more in need than ever before. Whether you monetize, that's another story. We'd love to see you guys do a walkthrough with a photographer newbie. So we actually had an idea for something like this where we would take a kid. It would almost be like that MTV Made show.
Yeah, we did think about that.
And it just didn't gel.
Yeah, we were curious whether or not it would seem too condescending. Those things can be really tricky for some
I think
people.
it would totally be condescending. It seems like a good idea until you're like somebody basically pulling someone up with you. I mean, it's just...
Well, also just like the whole like, I'm not the reality show kind of person in the sense that like I'm not going to over the top be a jerk to somebody just because like I can't. I mean, I'll be a jerk to somebody, but just not for the reality show.
Well, I don't think it's a reality show, so to speak, as much
I know, it's
as
like that I'm going to critique you because we're up on a throne and
know.
we're looking down at you. Like that kind of shit is fucking...
Can you talk about finding a studio space and the administrative non-photo stuff when starting out or moving to a new market? That's more you than me.
Oh, you don't have a studio?
I mean, I have a studio, but like, fuck that, man. Like, I'm the worst business guy on earth. I'm not gonna fucking...
Okay, so we got different things. Finding a studio space. Well, it depends on... What I would say about that is you need to determine whether or not you actually need it. It's fantastic to have a studio. For instance, when I lived in Miami, I did not have a studio. I shot occasionally. I would meet model. Well, I had part of my apartment set up as a studio because for the stuff I was doing, that was considered legit. You need to know what's legit in your business, right? Can you work out of your house slightly? If you're a lot of wedding portrait guys, they got their garage turned into a place to shoot. So that's completely legit. If you're shooting big advertising stuff, you're probably not going to want to meet people in your living room. Probably, So you got to decide whether or not you need it for that reason, but also do you need it to be a full-time thing? So when I first moved to New York, so there's a difference, I was living in Queens, Astoria. Anyways, I know it's not Brooklyn. So now it's all full of hipsters. But anyways, I was living in Astoria, and I went to modeling agencies, which is where I was working, people I was working with, and they were like, oh, Queens. And they didn't want to send people to me because I was in Queens, So I needed a studio. So I went and I hooked up with the studio. I got a part-time share, and that's how I broke into it. If you're somebody that needs a studio because that's how you make your living, like eventually I worked up to a point where I needed the studio because I shot enough that it was there, and then you do it. And I think you got to look at what things cost, if there's the ability to rent a studio, how much work you actually do there.
I would say rent a few studios. Like I used to hop studios like crazy, and then I realized what I needed and what I didn't,
Also
and then what attributes I worked. Because my studio before this one was all painted matte black, and you actually can see the way I light is for matte blacked out areas. Like I don't light thinking I can use the environment the way you use it. So I'm always like, oh, it's white, I can reflect. But
even this one, you're like, oh, the studio always adds a reflector.
I'm like, oh man, these floors are great. It's like, yeah, that's the whole point. But the whole thing is, you don't know what you need. You just hear this idea of a studio and you need it. So it's first of all, it's like a privilege, like a level, right? Like you were saying, like having a studio. Ours happens to be in the middle of Manhattan, which is like a real nice thing to be able to tell a client, to have people find it really easily. It's not in like hidden in a weird area that you have to drive to instead of get a train or something. Like it's something to be aspiring to if you think you need it on a consistent basis, that it will pan out for you, that the money is not going to eat at you. And sometimes you can just use it to throw ideas against the wall. Like we'll come in here and be like, well, let's try this light out. And then you guys end up getting a video one day.
Yeah, the second video that we did today was that. It was literally just us trying something. So I think that's the thing, right? So decide if you need a studio and then write parameters like that. Like let's say that you're the type of person that does these elaborate sets that take you, 3 weeks to build, and you need lots of space, and your client, is willing to come in, then being like somewhere in the boonies is better. You can get a warehouse.
Yeah.
My first studio was in Hialeah in Miami, which is like the warehousey kind of area, and it was 4,500 square feet.
Oh,
we used to build, we would paint whole sections of walls for jobs. Like it was amazing, and it was dirt cheap. I shared it with a guy, and we had a full dark room. It was actually awesome. We could drive cars into it, and actually, because Hialeah is not exactly the best part of town, so we used to actually drive our cars in if we were in there at night. But we were all doing like advertising work. So it was like they came because they were art directors and they were in cars and it was a whole other thing. But later I worked out of my apartment because I was working with modeling agencies on South Beach with young girls.
Yeah, but you also got to think like when I was, before I even think I needed a studio, I would actually pay my friends a few bucks to get on their roofs.
Yep.
And I would just use roof after roof after roof. And after you know how to control light enough, you can make it look like you weren't even outside if you needed it. I don't have to worry about ceilings,
yep.
you know, things like that. And you get indoor and outdoor shots. Like, you just really got to think about what your needs are, because once you dedicate yourself to a studio, it's a lot of upkeep. It's a lot to maintain.
Right, because if you get a commercial space, you're usually multiple year leases. You know, I think it's a 5-year lease on this.
You might need insurance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about the administrative stuff, insurance, phone, internet, all these things that you're now doubling up because you know you have it at your house, right? But when you get to your studio, do you have Wi-Fi there? You probably need it, right? You might not want to care about it on your phone, but what happens when the client shows up and you don't have Wi-Fi? You know, so you got to think about who your clients are, what they need. Refrigerator full of water. Stuff. A first aid kit.
It's another place to live. It's another place you're living. Because think about how much time you're going to spend there anyway. If you do want to know some stuff about marketing, I do recommend Vanessa Joy's video.
Check out Vanessa.
Go to Adorama TV when we're done here and look up Vanessa Joy, Breathe Your Passion. She has like video after video. They're like 5 minutes long and they're brilliant.
Yeah, she's great. She's great at explaining the marketing part. And I think what you want to do is, I would actually not get, even though that's good advice, and I think go watch Vanessa, I wouldn't necessarily buy a book on photography business. I would buy one on just general business when you're first starting, if you want to open a studio.
I wish I took business courses like no tomorrow, trust me.
Yeah.
The
problem with that, though, is I took business courses in college, and they were actually, the business, I remember I learned this from this guy that I met early in my career. He said, college for business teaches you how to have a job. Which is true. It doesn't teach you to be an entrepreneur. What you need to know is how to be an entrepreneur.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, be wary of that.
What's your proudest moment so far or stands out in 2018? I've had a pretty killer year.
You had an amazing year.
I've had some killer fucking year, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that stands out?
What did I do this year?
I mean, my year went just straight one direction.
Yeah,
I couldn't. I mean, as much flack as I took for it, having the crack at the Nikon Z7 was a huge honor for me.
That was awesome.
Huge honor for me. To have them tap me to do that was beyond an honor, because there's lots of people that talk a huge game that aren't being asked by companies to represent what a camera that's going to change their whole company after 100 years. You know, that going to Europe was huge. The Photokina demo was huge. Getting sent to WPPI was fucking awesome. We had a great time.
Yeah, WPPI was good.
I mean, it was just hit after hit. So, in all else, the greatest highlight of 2018 for me was being thrown onto the content team for Adorama, because I would have had nothing if it wasn't for that.
Right, because that was basically the steps, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't really a moment. It was a moment that wasn't public per se,
right,
but that led to the rest of it.
But I wouldn't have been put on it if it wasn't validated by like Daniel. You know what I mean? So it's these relationships and community.
I was like, don't use this guy.
Yeah, don't use me. But it's these relationships and community that end up panning out, because you prove what you can do. You prove that you're worth putting someone's name on you, and you just work hard and work good, right?
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I think probably. I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, I always look at everything as being awesome. Like any opportunity I ever have, I just look at it as being great. I think I like of all the videos and stuff that I did, I think the Westcott one.
That Westcott video you did was so fucking good.
And I think part of that was because it wasn't a product that was like a sizzler, you know?
No.
And yet we were able to get like a lot of views, and I was super happy, and Westcott was super happy because we were able to really showcase it. And I think that when you can show that you can do that, it's kind of like a proud moment.
It was also like a really entertaining video, which is rare for like a product video.
Yeah, and Fernando killed it. I mean, it was I mean, I think that. I thought that was one. I mean, the B10 video was also amazing.
No, the B10 video was so.
Yeah, that was also really good. Yeah, but those two videos were probably my favorite. I mean, I did a lot of stuff, obviously.
I think the Westcott RGBW video was alright.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
We did a lot of cool stuff.
We do stuff.
I think. When did we do the dancer shot in the hall? That was a couple years ago. That was a couple years ago. I was going to say, like, that was a cool collaboration.
That was really awesome. Yeah.
That was one of the coolest collaborations we ever did.
Yeah, we gotta do more of that.
How do you handle an unhappy client? Oh, Jeff Guthrow. How do you handle an unhappy client? Has this happened to you? Like someone who doesn't like themselves in any photo. The photos are good, but they pick themselves apart. Funny. Today, we just had a woman completely pick herself apart.
How did I handle it? I told her, shut up. No, here's the thing. This is one reason why I shoot tethered, especially with portraits. Because you want to catch that as you're going. The last thing you want is to deliver and it's days later and they look at it and they don't like them. So what you need to do is either, okay, so now we're getting into philosophy here. I'm sorry if I do this, but I hate the idea that everybody feels like they have to be like, no pimples, no wrinkles, no this. They look at these Instagram filters. Even she even showed us a freaking Instagram. That's not real.
She showed us a blown out selfie.
Yeah, and I would much rather somebody feel good about the way they really look than manipulate the photo to look that way for them. So what I try to do is explain as we're shooting why I think this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And usually in the end, in fact, in the end, she like one of the pictures, she says, "Oh my God, this picture is me." I immediately hit 5 stars next to that. So like that's the reaction that I'm going for. I will say I one time had this client. That's all I'll tell you. It's actually a fucked up story. It was a handbag client, and
is that a derogatory term for a client?
No.
She was a handbag.
So we were supposed to. So first of all, the whole thing was fucked up because it was supposed to be. There was like 200 handbags. They were like, we negotiated a price, but I'm like, all right, we're gonna do like a test to make sure we like the lighting, everything's good. They were supposed to bring 10 handbags by. They came with all 200 handbags.
Jeez.
So we spent 2 days shooting them, tethered into the computer, them being picking apart every single thing. I went through 4 rolls of cinnafoil block and shit out because they didn't want any of these shiny bags to look shiny. So in the end, we got all these shots. They okayed them all, whatever. I delivered the CD because it was back then.
Oh my
and
gosh.
she looks at him. She's like, "Oh, the bags aren't shiny. I don't like these." And I'm like, "You were right there signing off on every single thing we did." And she was like, "Well, no, then I'm not going to pay you." So how did I handle it? I went, hit the eject on her computer, took the CD, and I went, "Fuck you," and I walked away. Of course, then her business partner came running out, and he's like, No, we need the pictures. Oh, I thought they sucked. Because they were just being an asshole, trying to fucking get money from me.
You can fire clients.
Yeah, and I basically I got paid. I made them give me cash, because they were a business, for the money, handed them the CD, and I said, "Don't ever call me. If you need to reach out, you can do whatever the fuck you want, get out of my face." Because they were trying to screw me over for money. Screw people like that. It was right over on 35th Street. Don't work for them.
So Philip is saying, I started with a B1X and an LED panel. Is there any maintenance you do regularly to studio strobes?
I mean, you should probably every so many years change the flash tube, even before it dies on you. But I generally wait until I see a problem because they usually stay pretty clean.
It depends on okay, so I use Speedotrons, right? And they're a little more grimy of a light than the B1s.
Yeah.
So whenever I bought a new head, I would just change all the tubes at once so they all age the same way.
Yeah, if you buy new ones.
Because I just want the colors to constantly match because they would get warmer over time. Mm-hmm. So
that's actually a good point. If you add new stuff to your arsenal, at the very least you should test them. And if they're not exactly the same as the new one, then you should change your...
Yeah, and if, at the most it's a tube. But always check if there's if they're getting too hot over time and things like that, or with B1Xs, I would just condition the batteries.
Yeah, and make sure you run your batteries down. That's what I do. You don't have to do that technically anymore, they say, but I do it just to be safe. But yeah, aside from the only thing I really do with my Profoto lights is every once in a while I'll pop open the glass and I'll just make sure the flash tube is seated correctly. Because if it starts to creep a little bit over time, you might get some weird shit, and that can actually cause the flash tube to burn out faster.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But it's not something that you really have to, if you never did it, it probably wouldn't matter. But every once in a while,
Let's see. So I found looking at clients' Instagram, social media shows me a lot of how they see themselves. Yeah, usually. Had to fire a client. It was awful because he was belittling towards me, bringing up that I was female a lot. Well, I'm sure he was just noticing you were female and was really taken back by you being a female. No, that's fucking terrible, and it shouldn't ever be about who you are what you are as a person, really.
Yeah. That's you were right to fire them. And the thing is, I think a lot of times people are nervous to do that. But you know what? If a client is taking up too much of your time, get rid of them. There'll be other clients. There are great clients.
The money's never worth the stress.
Yep.
It really isn't.
I agree.
I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah. Belittling is bullshit. I definitely wouldn't take that.
Loving my Speedotron beauty dish. Yeah, I have one of those sitting right back there.
Yeah, Speedotron beauty dish is the unknown secret.
It's a weird shape. It's a deeper one. It's got mine has a translucent disc. Yeah. Because I like the way the shadows, the highlights transition to the midtones better that way. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice dish.
Yeah, it's. I thought it was a piece of shit when I bought it. It feels like a piece of shit. And the way you put the grid on is like a trash can lid. Yeah. It's it just feels like a piece of shit, but it really isn't. And if anything, that's the one modifier I miss having when I borrow the Pro Photo stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I should buy one and then modify it.
I'm ex-military, so having worked with 200 plus men all day every year, it was easy to get rid of them. I bet, Candy.
Yeah, good for you.
Good for you. And you're from the UK? You were in the UK military? Was that you? Was you the one saying you're from the UK?
I don't know.
don't know either.
That was like 4 questions ago. I can't remember that.
So any other questions, fire them at us because we're running out of material here.
We are?
I don't know. Oh, Joe McNally just tweeted apparently.
Uh-oh. Joe McNally tweeted.
Joe McNally. By the way, Joe, you did killer at Nikon's booth at Photo Plus
awesome.
this year. It was great seeing you again, man.
Yeah, Joe is great.
Yeah, Joe's Joe. If you don't know Joe McNally, look up Sketching with Light, one of the best books ever in lighting, hands down.
Cool. Oh, is that the one you like? Not the Language of Light? Is Sketching the first one?
I like Hot Shoe Diaries.
Hot Shoe Diaries, that's the one.
Which is really cool if you're a speedlight shooter like I am, and Sketching with Light was just so thorough and so versatile. I couldn't stop going to the next one.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, here's how you set this. He's like, I walked through this place and this is where my mind went.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I remember buying photo books like early on that would have like a photo and then like a diagram, and I was like, this is amazing. But then I realized as I was looking through it, a lot of times I'm like, this lighting isn't that complicated, and I was thinking to myself,
what's the philosophy?
Yeah, then it came up. I was like, well, but the real question is, why did they light it like that? And I think that's what's missing.
What's the one bit of kit you have on your wish list? Oh. Interesting. Man, I guess I never think about gear enough because I don't know how to answer these.
Oh, interesting.
What do I have on
I mean,
my
the thing
wish
I
list?
need to buy next is not exciting.
Yeah, I just need to get more lights.
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to get another 6500 Sony for my videos because I already have one. Aren't you going to get a Vivo?
I do have to get one of these.
Those are on the wish list. I don't know, something I'd love to have. You know what I'd love to have, honestly? But I don't know if I'd use it enough to justify the incredibly cost. Do you know what it is?
I know what I want.
Okay, what is it?
I want a inverted Ellen Chrome Octabank.
Oh, yeah. We might get one of those.
It is so expensive.
Yeah.
But
you talk about the Octa.
The one that's that you fire backwards.
Yeah, the one that's actually the Octa, like the first.
Reverse mount.
It's just literally called Octa. Like,
it's
7-footer.
Because instead of mounting your light in towards the diffuser, you mount it inside and then towards the back, and then it goes through 2 levels of diffusion. It is the softest, most beautiful fucking light ever. Like, you can't miss with this guy.
It is an amazing light. I remember using that.
Smoke machines are cheap and easy, and if you want to get a can of smoke, Jesus Christ.
A good smoke machine though, like a Roscoe one is really.
Well, a hazer I would want.
Oh yeah, but you can get a hazer / smoke from
hazer
Roscoe.
is different than smoke.
Well, Roscoe makes one that does both.
Oh, so what was the piece of gear you wanted? You said you had.
Oh, I would love to have a satellite, a Broncolor satellite.
That's so funny. So I want to go with like a big soft source, and you want to go with the hardest light source on earth.
Fucking satellite. It's one of those things like the hard box for Pro Photo that people don't use that much, but it's such a
that's what I would want. One of those Fresnel covers.
Oh yeah, so much good stuff.
When I saw you and Mark use it, I was like, these things fucking exist. It was crazy.
Yeah, Fresnels are great.
Well, what was really funny is I use more small sources than you do, and yet I try to fake it to go softer because the way I look at it is no matter how soft I make the quality of light, it's still small and gives it the same sculpturing. So I'm like doing 2 things at once. But I just think it's funny. I'm using small sources. I want to go soft. You use bigger sources and you're trying to go as hard as fucking possible.
Well, the reason why is because the satellite is like
so special.
Yeah, it's so special. It's basically like a hard beam of sunlight. And to me, if I had that satellite and I could fucking like put it out the window out here, like we'd always have sun the way we wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
I used it in Vegas, and it was crazy. Yeah, smoke is good. We have a smoke machine in here.
We have a fog machine. We have a bubble machine.
Yeah.
And we have a snow machine, which is the biggest piece of shit ever.
The snow machine is terrible.
It's so loud, and all it is just soap.
It just throws soap at you. It's like, you're dirty.
Dude, the floor was so hazardous. I thought I was going to die that day.
Actually, didn't we use that when Gavin was here? We're like, look, we didn't. We didn't use it when we brought it out. That's when we brought it out.
Yeah, I tested it, and I put it on Instagram stories, and Gavin wrote no.
He's got his level. He's like, no, that's not.
Yeah, well, it didn't look like snow. It just looked like snowman jizz.
Yeah, it was just like, it was terrible. It was really bad. I mean, listen, Brooklyn Dollar Store, you got to get what you get.
Oh, that's right. I did buy it from a Brooklyn Store. So I'm like, holy shit, they have a snow machine. I got to buy it. Let me tell you something about Brooklyn Dollar Stores. You never know what's going to be in there, right? Like right above the wheelchair that they'll sell, like on the ceiling, you buy it for like $60, is the goddamn snow machine. You're like, what is the logic here?
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Actually, when I lived in Miami, I used to work for this one catalog company, and of course you shoot the winter stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
And we used to make snow in well, actually, it was not in Miami. It was in Delray Beach, which is like north of Fort Lauderdale. And like it was a legit snow machine. It made actual snow, and it was crazy. Like it actually made snow. I mean, it snowed.
That's cool.
And it was awesome. We used to make piles of snow, and then have them all like standing there with like mittens and shit. And it's like, and they'd be dying because it's like 90 degrees. They're like, ah, and then take them off the bed. Oh my god.
That's awesome. Can we also talk about how we have 10 cases of olive oil in the studio?
We do. We have 10 cases of olive oil.
Every day I get a
Let's
text
do a contest. If we can get Paul to give us some, and we'll...
Dude, so one of the lead photographers here is a food photographer, and every day I get a text about another box of something. Like, don't worry, there's a case of olive oil in it for you if you watch those boxes for me.
Like, those French's onions are on the way.
Oh, did I tell you about that? When I walked in here, the whole wall was just French's onions. Like those crispy onions in a can. Like, what the fuck are you shooting, man? Yes. And then there was like men's shoes the next day. I'm like, what is this guy's client list? It was awesome.
Yeah, Paul's pretty wild.
So just missing a laser light machine. You know what? I actually almost shot with a laser light machine for a Halloween demo. Remember I was showing you pictures of that? It turned into a shit show real fucking fast. Fernando came down. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, Adorama asked me to check out all this crazy shit to make a... he's like, just stop. Stop now. Stop. But laser machines are fun.
Yeah, I don't use enough funky stuff like that.
I'd like to get a pro level UV light.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be interesting, especially for body paint.
It'd be cool to play with it. Well, Broncolor has they're just hard to get.
The UV strobe would be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, but you mean like a constant UV light? Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel like I'd be easier for me to mix it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's one of those things that's like a fisheye lens, like it's kitschy as shit, and every shot looks the same. You know, you're like,
yeah, that's why it's like a rental item to me.
Yeah, it's like a one-time thing. There's so many things. Like it's like lens babies, right? Like everyone goes through their lens baby phase, and they're like, I'm over this.
Yeah, I mean they're cool, but they're very specific.
They're very specific. So, any other questions out there, kids? We're kind of just sitting here waiting for you to ask us stuff.
It's Saturday night, everybody's up partying.
Is it Saturday night? It is Saturday night.
Yeah.
Man, look at that.
You're like, man, it's 5 o'clock. People will be coming home from work. They're going to want to talk. I'm like, dude, it's Saturday.
I'm used to fucking always working, I guess. I don't know. Look at this head of hair on me. God damn.
Look at this head of hair on me.
Look at this.
Not there.
Look at this. All this luscious.
There's like, it's like a delay. So you're like, you have to plan it.
We have a lot of light in here right now, huh?
Wait, dude, this thing is killing. How's this ring light doing?
Yeah, the ring, I love my lens baby. Listen, love your lens baby, but we were shooting what lens baby was doing in 4x5 cameras for years.
I like the lens baby. Actually, I have yet to buy one, but they are really cool. And they loaned you the set for a while. I did shoot with it. Yeah. What's 1140?
It's 1140. I want the one with the drop-in aperture shapes, and then I'm probably all right with it.
To be honest, I like the original one where you just smushed it.
Yeah, the only problem I had with them is that they was so plastic, the lens, that they weren't consistent. It was weird. It felt like a Holga to me. But then they made like the pro level one that actually had glass in it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, but see, to me, this is actually the thing. See, to me, then that became too good, and I was like, why am I even using this? Like, I might as well just use a tilt shift.
Yeah, but even like
the cost.
Well, not even. Well, it wasn't the same as the tilt shift, but at least if it had glass in it, you had a sharp point somewhere. Like you could sometimes the plastic ones was like all blurred. And I was like, nah. I used it. I mean, I used it live.
No, they make cool stuff. I am a gearhead. I love all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, you have no idea what the fuck is sitting in this safe. I mean, I have a focusing spotlight in there that has electrocuted me like 400 times, and I made custom masks for out of glass.
The control.
There's so much. We always keep saying we're gonna have a garage sale, but let's talk about that. So I think what's interesting to me is even after all the gear we have, even if it's obsolete to death, you never really want to get rid of it because you're always like, oh, I shot this with it.
Can I ask you a question? I don't want to interrupt, but are you holding that because you think the audio is coming from it?
Is it not?
It's coming from there.
Oh, man.
I thought you picked up to see the frame.
Oh, I totally thought that this is the mic.
No, I don't think so. Because I switched it. That's not the mic, is it? Is that tapping? It's such a crazy way to use.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't think so, guys, right? That what he was tapping at, that wasn't the sound. I thought I switched it. Anyways.
You're an asshole.
Well, it was short first. I thought you just did it.
But yeah, anyway, so.
Yeah, tell us.
I think that we always say we want to get rid of gear, but then we always go like, oh, but like you have 10,000 Konicas in there. Like, we're never going to get rid of shit. Because there's so much more sentimental shit with photo gear, I think, because. Yeah, I know. Okay, got it. I got it.
Not the mic.
Fuck you.
I shouldn't have said anything to you.
Fuck you.
Well, you kept creeping closer.
You got shit in your teeth, just so you know. God damn it. But I think it's funny that how like you always feel like you've had such an uphill climb doing shoots sometimes that like the gear was like another person on your crew sometimes. Yeah. So it's kind of like I don't think even if I upgraded all my lights to Pro Photo, I don't think I'll ever get rid of that Speedotron pack. All 5,000 of those packs I have.
Well, you know what's interesting about it too for me, anyways. This is what always happens. So I was just saying about my RZ again. What I do is whenever I pull something out and I'm going to sell it, I'm always like, well, I don't want to sell it without testing it first. So I do something with it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
This is awesome.
But I end up keeping it.
Cliche question because you're lacking them. Who would you like to photograph in the world of celebrity? Dead or alive only?
Oh, interesting.
Who would you want to photograph? That's interesting.
I mean, I'm not really a big celebrity person, like that I would know names.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I mean, somebody I'd want to meet, so I think it's kind of cool because I feel like it'd be really interesting to photograph would be Tom Waits. Oh, he said I'd like to photograph the Beastie Boys. The two that are left. But Tom Waits, I think, would be that.
I don't know. Man, I guess I never really thought about myself. Candy's getting all deep on us. She's like really making us discover ourselves.
Yeah, I'm actually just really fascinated by whoever I meet, so I don't really, the celebrity thing doesn't really affect me unless they're really interesting looking.
I feel like I'd want to shoot the most plastic looking person ever.
Oh, like a porn star?
Jesus. That's like Donatello Versace.
Oh, okay. I was going
to say, so, like almost like they're in a walking effects makeup.
Right.
Like
right.
I like
plastic surgery.
Neil Gaiman. Oh wow, that's a good one.
Oh.
Neil Gaiman. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good one. I think I'd want to shoot H.R. Giger if I could.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I know who that is.
He's the guy who basically created all the biomechanical artwork for Alien.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I almost don't care what you did. I would be just more interested in...
But you have to see this guy. He looks like he's just like...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Have you both ever done concert photography? My dream concert to shoot would be Kiss.
Oh my God, Kiss. That'd be awesome.
I think Gwar would be crazier to shoot. You know, they got all the crazy like Muppets on stage and some like blood flying. I think we've all shot concerts at some point. You go there, you have a camera.
Yeah.
I never did it like professionally, but I'll tell you, it wore thin on me fucking fast. Because the only band I saw was my camera was going to die. Someone was going to smash it out of my hands, or there's going to be a fight that broke out. So I was over that real quick.
Yeah, I've not done any on like a really big level, but I've shot some like, you know, in small theaters for the theater, and it's okay. I mean, it's not the thing for me.
Yeah, I feel like
I wouldn't reach out to do it. I want to enjoy a concert.
It's almost like the same shot over and over and over again to me.
And I don't think, okay, this is going to feel like really like asshole, but I'm going to say it anyways. It doesn't feel like it's a challenge anymore.
Well, it's a lit for you, right?
Yeah, and also the cameras being super high ISO and really good autofocus. Like I remember shooting concert photography when I was first starting out in small halls, and you were shooting black and white film, and you were like, okay, I want to fucking focus on the microphone, and then because the guy was moving way too fast for you to focus on because the cameras couldn't handle it, you had to manually focus, and then when they got close enough that the shot was there, you waited for that moment and you shot it, and now it's like. Fucking, you know, focus in the middle, you know, 30 frames a second, 10 trillion
face
ISO,
detection.
face detection. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's that challenging. I mean, no offense to people that shoot.
Also, it seems like where the images are going are to like social, so you don't have to be dead on. You don't have to be super sharp anymore. Yeah. People fly through it. Christian rock band. Whoa. People politely clapped after each song like they do a golf. That's awesome. Pretty funny. That's creepy as shit.
That's awesome. But the song ends, it's quiet. Oh my God, I've shot golf though, and I gotta tell you, that's the craziest shit to shoot. I shot for Sports Illustrated, and you're not allowed to fire the shutter until after they hit the ball. It's a certain part of the
now
screen.
We have silent shutter.
Yeah, I wonder if that, I mean that's how old I am. It was before that, so now maybe it's not an issue. So it was so hard because everybody wanted that perfect time, but you couldn't shoot it like kind of when you needed to. You had to do it right after, so like your timing had to be like dead on to fucking nail that shot.
I used to shoot behind the scenes or on set for like commercials and stuff, and they couldn't hear your camera, so we actually used to take broken or worn out underwater cases and put dampeners in there and make that
like a blimp.
It's a blimp. Yeah, we would make a soundproof camera, and I never forgot how clunky you felt like a child. So hard, yes. It was like having a sippy cup version of a camera. You were like, click.
That's true.
I'm heavily tattooed. I had a clear space around me like I had the plague. You're heavily tattooed? I'm going to Europe.
All right, we're gonna go.
I'm coming.
We're coming.
I'm coming over there.
That's really interesting. The blimp. I mean, I've done set shots for video, like commercials and stuff, but it's usually been not when they were shooting the commercial. So we shot it after, so it wasn't really an issue with sound. Yeah.
I had like a weird stint working on commercials. That's how I ended up shooting for IKEA that one year.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that I almost did it. There's a union.
No.
And a producer I knew was trying to. I was just starting basically, and she was trying to get me into the union. You have to like so many jobs, so she was pushing me through.
The points, right?
Yeah, and then you gain points and you get into the union. I mean, it's actually pretty good work if you do it up.
Yeah, it's just this exactly what it is. It's that job if you want that job.
Yeah, and you show up and you get X number of dollars per hour, and you get so much.
I'm sure now it's even different. I'm sure now it's like get it over to a wire so you can get on social or something like that. Oh, all right,
cool.
So anything else, kids? Because
we're slow.
It is 10 to 7.
10 to 7. It's almost bedtime.
Yeah, man. Well, I gotta get back to Brooklyn, and then I gotta get back out. I gotta see my parents tomorrow. You know how exhausting that's gonna be?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm gonna hear Booby 400 fucking times.
Okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna go and buy the stuff. We're gonna we'll be able to do a video. You guys will see more of the studio because I'm gonna do a video about installing the makeup lights. The makeup lights in the studio are from like 1947.
Yeah,
they're slowly but surely dying.
They're just warm as fuck. So every makeup artist that goes in there is like.
Well, that's because modern makeup artists suck. Real makeup artists know to work on a tungsten light because tungsten light has full color. But now they're like, it doesn't look like daylight. I don't know what to do. It's like fucking adjust your eyes, just like we do. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
Worst photography gig.
Ooh.
Oh, I've had a. Well, what do you define as worst, right? The worst pay, the worst experience, fail, like you didn't get through it.
Oh, interesting.
Or I've had film stolen and I couldn't deliver anything.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think of something that was, besides the handbag person, I already gave that story. That was pretty terrible.
So I wouldn't say that this was the worst gig, but one of my toughest gigs was shooting for the It's Alive project where I had to shoot 150 something sculptures.
Yeah, but that was amazing.
It was awesome, but I did it with a blown disc on my back, lights that you got me loaned. I flew out to LA and it was legit 24 hours to the second straight. It was Red Bull and fucking water until I died. But I got through 150 some odd Bride of Frankenstein sculptures where we then auctioned them off to raise money for St. Jude. But holy shit, was that an Iron Man. I'll never forget that one. But it wasn't really a worst, it was just a tough one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty lucky, I guess. Like sometimes jobs aren't that fun, but usually I try to only take jobs that I like doing.
I would say a better question is like worst things that have happened on a gig. That's another story. Like I've had gear locked in rental cars and all sorts of shit.
I once went through 3 cameras and 2 computers on a catalog.
That's a good one.
Using a rental house that I no longer use anymore. Yep, fucking camera went down, then the computer they sent rented me went down, then the camera went down, then the computer they rented me went down, then the camera went down.
Jesus.
Oh my God, I did not use them again. So I won't say any names because, I can't.
I once lost a Nikon F5 on a job. Oof. And that was when it was an actual, like their flagship camera.
Yeah.
That shit went down hard, and my heart stopped, and I didn't know if the lens was any good still, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I ended up borrowing a second camera from somebody else, and then having to
get with the fluffy jacket.
Yeah, right.
That story you won't hear.
I'd love to know. Oh, right. With the brick. Yeah. I'd love to know how you pick your creative team. So many people simply just say, I got a makeup artist. I want to know more in depth what you're looking for.
Oh.
More than anything, beyond a fact, I need to trust them. I need to know they'll show up, get through, and work the job. That, to me, trumps the actual talent.
Yeah, I agree.
I can always do my end to fix up some things, but of course they wouldn't even be. They have to have the talent to a certain degree. But if I can't trust that they'll show up, if I can't trust that they won't be a pain in the ass to me, I'm lucky enough to have worked with like a billion makeup artists, like the makeup schools, and actually be there for the genesis of their careers. But as far as a creative team, I'm very, very picky as who's like right next to me. I don't fucking. It's bad enough that I can't trust myself to get through things. I don't need like somebody I don't know.
Yeah. That's actually a really good question, and I mean, sometimes it depends on what you mean by it. So what I would say is this. I think I either did a video about this or not. Oh yeah, just the video about talking about models. I test with makeup artists and stylists and models and stuff all the time, and those people are hopefully they're going to be who I hopefully use, somebody I've tested with and tried stuff with. Short of that, I always go through an agency that I trust, and I look at their book and I talk to them.
Yeah.
The thing is like if you
referrals are huge.
Yeah, if you get on a call with a stylist, let's say you're doing a catalog, and you get on a call with them, and you're like, okay, I did a lot of like bridal catalog when I was doing it. All right, so we're doing these brides. I've got a $1,500 budget per day for flowers. I've got this, and all of a sudden, if they're like, "Oh, cool. Oh, all right, I'll call a florist and have 5 bouquets made," or, "Oh, awesome. On 27th Street is the flower district. I'm going to pick up $500 worth of flowers. I'm going to get some bows. I'm going to get some blah, 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 and we'll make some stuff." And then I look at their work and I see there's all this awesome stuff in there they made by hand. That's the person I'm hiring.
Yeah.
They're creative. They're into it. They're not just like, "Oh, I'll make a phone call, then I'll show up."
Yeah, they're not an organizer. They're
Yeah,
not a contractor.
and that's what I look for. Like, I look for people that have that, like, they want to be there and do it. But yeah, the whole, I have a makeup artist. If it's a model if somebody's paying me, I guess I don't really have a choice. If it's there, I'm going to bring my makeup artist. But I usually tell them that there's a certain block of time, and like if your makeup artist comes and takes up half my day, then you don't.
Not even that. Not even that. If that makeup artist is going to make my life a living hell because they can't make this color match this color, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because then I got to figure out how I'm going to like that.
No, but also it's their fault. I mean, I'm sorry, it's your fault if you bring your makeup artist, and I let people know that in a nice way. Yeah, and I've had that happen. I've literally had somebody come. One of the nicest people I ever shot a headshot for this happened for, who actually is a week later went on to be an actress, and I think she still is. Or Becky was her name. But she came, and the makeup artist that she brought did her makeup and stuff, and it was for a headshot. I didn't think it was that great, but she thought it was. I was like, "You like it?" She's like, "Yeah." And we did the shot, and she called me like a few weeks later when she got the print. She's like, "I don't really like the way my makeup was," and then immediately said, "I want to hire you again. Can you recommend a makeup artist?" Didn't say, "Can I get a discount?" Didn't say, "Can I get a shoot again?" She knew it was her fault. She brought the artist. Then she, this time, paid the extra money to get a makeup artist that I recommended, and she got awesome shots.
Yeah, that's the hard part is people realizing the right way of doing things and the right way of being professional about things. But I'd say that, like, picking my team is mainly, that's what test shoots are for.
Yep.
And when people approach, like, if you'd like to test, it's like, my time's got to be worth it for that because I'm already doing so many other things. And the ambition, and like, there's nothing worse than half-assing because your energy isn't there, and then you're like trying to make it happen. So, I think picking the people around you is so important. It's
your team is key, and sometimes you don't get that much of a choice depending on the budget, not the budget, the size of the job. Sometimes really large corporate gigs might always use the same makeup artist because that's what they do.
I'd say just as long as you're out there working and you even assisting other people and meeting other people on other sets, that alone has led to me meeting so many people. Like, I mean, I got a guy now, Paul, that I trust with a bunch of stuff. I've seen him around a bunch. He's proven that he's always
I don't trust that guy.
I don't trust that guy.
Paul's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I called you Kevin.
Oh, that's right. Have you found Instagram educated clients more in what goes into photography? I get so many questions on mine asking me how I edit things. I think people get like, it's almost like when they watch reality TV of a cooking show and they think they know how it's like, how it works in a kitchen.
Or America's Top Model. Or I think that's the modeling agency's like.
No, like, I think if anything, it gives them an idea of what else goes into it, but not what really goes into it. So I think they get like a false perception.
They're following.
It's a perception. It's a false perception. I think every time I see someone say, "Can we do this?" and it looks like a ridiculously piece of shit, overly edited image, it's like, no. I'm the wrong guy. I'm the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, of course we all want to work, but you also should try to only do the jobs that you really are you. You shouldn't, if it's not your thing, right? You don't do heavy retouching, so why would you take a job where that was required? You'd just be like, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
I can offer you this if this is what you want. If not, then go to the retoucher.
I've definitely taken jobs that I didn't think were for me because I just needed to do it. But
yeah, I mean, that's true. Obviously, you can also.
But I just, sometimes there's so many people now that you're kind of like, why are you tapping me for this job? Because that's nowhere near my style. It's like anything else,
That's true. No, I understand that. I mean, because I've actually, the few weddings that I've shot have legitimately been because they've been like, we don't want a wedding photographer, we want a fashion photographer to shoot our wedding. And I was like, I'm not a wedding photographer. And they're like, no, we don't want a wedding photographer. I'm like, okay, but you're not going to get the shit that you get with a wedding photographer. They do certain things really well. I don't.
I mean, think about it this way. Like, this past year, all my magazine covers were Buddhist statues. I'm known for shooting fucking zombies and aliens. Where the hell did that job come from? Because someone believed I could do it, and I pulled it off once, and you end up getting those jobs. But they also learned really quickly what they could get when they approach a photographer and talk with them and things like that, because they weren't happy with everything they were getting, and that's how I ended up getting that position.
Well, that is it. I think I've said this before in things, that especially if the work that you're going to try to get is kind of more like, I don't want to say easy, because easy is kind of insulting, but like more mainstream, like clean corporate headshots. Like every capable photographer should be able to do that on some level. You don't want to have a book full of that. What you want to have a book full of is awesome creative stuff. And then they'll hire you because they want to hire a creative person, assuming that you can actually do the other thing.
Yeah, the meat and potato stuff, like it should be like a given, but it's not book.
Yeah, and that should not be your book. That's the thing. I think a lot of people do that wrong. They go, oh, I want to shoot catalogs, and they shoot a bunch of pictures that looks like a catalog.
Yeah, it's
That's
really boring.
the
Or they do like fake iPod commercials and things like that. But I think also, you also have to remember you have to change your book for who you're going after a job with. Like I never would drop my like hardcore special effects stuff to shoot a product. Or something I would,
Well, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to try to get the work, then you should prepare. I mean, the way that I used to do it back in the day, it's a little different now because things are online and you can just basically do whatever, is I would actually have a book. I had one of those slide printers, Polaroid slide printers.
Yeah, I have one, yeah.
And I used to make an individual portfolio that was targeted at the client I was going to, like a small one, and I would leave it there. And then I had like my main portfolio. So I'd walk in and let's say it was to shoot corporate headshots. My main portfolio was like cool fashion stuff and editorial stuff, and then in this book was headshots I've done, and I was able to show that I did that work.
I will say though that word of mouth has been everything in my personal career. So even though you want to push a book around, you're never there to really talk next to your book. Like it has to kind of speak for itself. And then after that, you've done enough jobs. Every time you've done corporate headshots, you've shot with 50 people.
That's right.
After a while, your name, that guy, they've seen you. Unless you travel a lot, I guess, but I've been in New York my whole life, so I kind of lucked out, and I think that's how I ended up at Anorama, actually, is like, because we knew,
Yeah, but no, it works out that way. It's like you do, right, what you just said. Let's say that you shoot, some corporate shots for such and such bank. Then, when the other such and such, the advertising agency that does the other bank, right, it goes to hire somebody, they know that you did those, and you can get brought over.
I've seen a rise in clients wanting to see physical copies of works as opposed to online digital examples of it. Yeah, because a lot of times they've been burned by seeing just online and digital copies of things that they could not fucking use.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
When you can't hide in a print.
No, I agree, and I also think that, and this kind of just happened, which I'm going to look at them, I was just asked by somebody, to use something that I shot, and they were like, oh, we could use it for a print ad, and I was like, I have to look at it to make sure, because I'm not sure, it wasn't shot for that reason, so I'm not sure that it would be to my standards for a print ad, the macro thing.
Yeah.
Because it was shot during a live thing. It's like, I don't know that that's going to be good enough, I'll have to look at it. It's like, I can't...
and you're not going to put an asterisk saying, shot live in the middle of a trade show.
No, it's like, so, we could shoot it properly, even if in the end that would have been more profitable for me because I wouldn't have to shoot it again, I would still rather do a better job, so. Which
is pretty admirable because in today's disposable media, you'd think, oh, cool, use something I did already, get it out there. But there's been plenty of times, too, that I'll see my stuff pop up somewhere, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it was ripped off my Instagram, so it's already low res. And I'm like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
And then my name's on it somewhere, and it's like, fuck, like, what do you do? But that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, that's definitely the nature of the beast.
All right, I think we're gonna... Okay. Any last questions? It's been like the Candy show. Look at this.
Yeah, Candy.
Candy, you're killing it.
Candy
look at this girl. Look at this. Candy photography. Look at this. Look at this. Philip was in there.
She's the only one watching.
Yeah, how many people?
7 people.
7 people.
We're low today.
And man, if you had the other redhead in here, if you had Marissa, you'd be killing it with 1 billion people.
I think it's off time. So yeah, we don't get Seth, you're not going to bring it back.
I'm just not going to bring it. Nah, it's all right.
No, it's fun. We figured we'd do this as a quick little thing, and it'll exist.
No, Candy, don't be sorry, Candy. You're amazing. Thank you so
we're
much.
just fucking right.
We'd have nothing to talk about if it wasn't for you right now.
Yeah, the beauty of this is that it's going to live online. So those people that aren't seeing it right now, you guys, if you're watching and seeing us commiserate our, watch it and leave some questions in the comments, and we'll come back and.
And maybe if my channel grows, we'll go live on my channel one day.
Yeah, Seth. If you guys don't follow Seth, make sure you do. Seth Miranda, Insomnia.
I'm having an Insomniac too. Insomnia is the longest relationship I've ever had, so don't worry about it. If you want to check out my channel, I started doing live demos. I've done a lot of talking to the camera, live chats. Every time I talk, it's live, so it's always like a go-between. Still here, just listening to some good conversation. Oh, nice. Yeah, Jeff, you've been a serious not a participant, but supporter. Supporter of all. I'm sorry, we're fading.
Yeah, we are fading. We're like, let's go live. We're so energetic, and then we made the post, and we're like, oh god.
We also ate a pizza.
Oh, it was good.
It was really good pizza. Yeah.
If you guys are in New York, I like Waldy's.
Waldy's is good,
and I just said I think on a live stream that New York didn't have good pizza.
Yeah.
Because I'm an asshole.
You are an asshole.
Yeah.
Because we know that New York is not known for good fucking
It's
pizza.
definitely not. Nobody gets
fucking dick. You fucking dick. That's what you get for being from like fucking...
The problem is that you come to New York expecting it's going to have good pizza, and then you're a little bit let down because there's a lot of bad pizza.
Yeah, but that's because there's just so much shit here.
So you're saying if there's enough pizza, you'll eventually get a good slice.
You both inspire photography and others, so keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Oh, I also want to say, if you guys want to check it out, Adorama's IGTV. I have a ton of demos up there that could use a little bit of love.
Yeah, Seth does not get enough views. Get him some views.
Yeah, come on. I made the event space look like a lonely dive bar.
Actually, that was great. If you guys want to see Seth shoot Dave, you know, as a drunkard,
as a depressed guy,
check it out because it's really good. Dave's a great model.
Dave, yeah. All right. So let us know if there's anything you guys want to see us do. We'll shoot live one of these days. If there's any concepts or styles.
Yeah, we have something together.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a little while.
I don't remember the last time we shot.
I think there was a splash thing.
Oh my god!
It was a crazy spontaneous splash.
No, that was funny because we were like, "What are we gonna do today?" Like, no, we're going live. I'm like, nah, there's no one to shoot. We're not gonna. No, we're going live. You said you want to do splash. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I guess we're in CVS like buying shit. And like, what's the stuff I need? The thickening stuff. Like, it's probably that. We're not going live. No, we're going live. We're going live. We're buying this. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, I got plexiglass. Oh, I got the. Oh, we're gonna do the. Okay, flash duration. Get the mannequin. It was like. What the fuck happened that night?
That was really fun.
If you haven't seen that video on this channel,
it should be on the channel.
What's it? I don't know what it's called.
It's in the 1200 sessions playlist.
You should do a random challenge video. Explain what you mean by random challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, what is the random challenge? As in, put some contest in a hat. Oh, you remember doing that?
Oh, we did do that.
Random.
No, it never went live. I did that with some other people, and
it was a shit show.
Yeah, that never went anywhere.
Yeah,
but we could do. I think we would. No offense to the people that I did it with, but we could probably do it.
I want to do the building thing. I want to do the build on thing.
Yeah, I think when we did it a little. There was too many people deciding how to do it, and I think in the end it ended up being.
There was also some people that were very nervous.
It was too homogenized. Like I think if we did it, it would just be rough.
Oh yeah, it was sterile.
Yeah, so yeah, we could do that. Like we should do that. Hold on.
No, do the build on one. Where like I add a light, then you add a thing.
Okay. Or I was gonna say maybe people can make suggestions, but ahead of time. I think part of the problem is if we make up the things ourselves, then it's kind of lame.
We know, yeah.
It's like, oh, what can we do? Let's put gel on there. Let's make the background blue.
See, but I would want to do it on a live audience because then we feed off the audience. So we would have to do a demo in the event space.
We'll do it live at Adorama. What do you think?
We could do it at our own.
Yeah.
I have to find someone else to work the board, but maybe the one model 4 photographer video that was pretty done online. What was that?
No. Well, the video I'm talking about, you guys haven't seen because it didn't go live.
Oh, it never happened. I mean,
yeah, we did it, but it didn't go live.
As soon as we were done with it, we were like, that one's not going to work.
Yeah, that was
But I think going live in the event space where we can actually have people face to face participating in like the challenge itself would be like
interesting,
legit.
We could try it. I'm down for it. I mean, I love the. I don't like to do contests or challenges, but I like to just have fun. So.
Yeah, like that's what's cool is like I think that's what I'm grateful for the most is that we're at a level where like I don't feel not confident in being able to produce whatever you throw in front of us. We can figure something out and we can do it live and we can make something happen. Because not a lot. What you guys don't realize there's not a lot of photographers that can shoot live in front of a crowd.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, that makes it sound a little bit like.
No, but fuck you. I'm fucking proud of it.
I know. You're right, though. He is right.
I mean, if you guys were at my
Seth
demo...
runs the event space.
No, I mean, there's been plenty of times where we're like, what the fuck is this? And you guys are in an era now where educators are actually filtered and vetted out to a point where we have good ones. When we were watching demos years ago, it was the most boring people on earth with the worst explanations trying to show you something that you were like, what the fuck is this?
PowerPoint presentations and half-assed photos.
We're the worst. And now, like, we're at a point where we have the technology to show you what we're doing.
Yeah, we can roll it live.
Yeah, we can do it live. But it's, I feel like privileged that I'm able to have the ability and skill set that I've built up after all these years to just do it on the spot. And sometimes doing those demos and coming out on top of those demos means more to me than a high production commercial shoot that goes somewhere.
That's true.
There's just something about it. I mean, if you came to my last demo on Monday, I had these flashes that were such garbage.
They weren't garbage.
They were affordable.
They were affordable flashes.
They were switching groups on me out of nowhere. Like each individual flash was rotating groups. If I didn't have the experience with lights, I wouldn't have gotten through that demo. I think. I don't know. You were front row on that.
Yeah, you were killing it.
But they were killing me. Those fucking.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, I mean, any of those things are cool. The 4 photography shooting 1 model. I think we did that. Well, we did it with Mark.
Oh god! Oh god! I hated my shot.
No, I liked your shot. It was very colorful.
My shot. Oh my god! And I had to borrow your camera.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to borrow the House of Blood.
I had to borrow that freaking House of Blood.
I had to use the House of Blood. It was terrible.
Yeah. I remember my photography tutor sounding like the teacher from Snoopy. My
photography teacher in my senior year was like a super hardcore feminist.
Oh,
and
nice.
hated fashion photography, and I wanted to be a fashion photographer. So that was a fun year.
You met the guy at Photo Plus that was like that ran the darkroom. He wasn't really a teacher, but like he gave like a house to us to work, you know.
Yeah.
So I lived in that darkroom and I learned a lot in that darkroom, color, black and white, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I learned the most from guys like Joe McNally. Like when I discovered guys like Joe, and I was like, wait a minute, demos can be awesome. You can actually learn shit. Like there was things that were going on, and like the guys that wore the fucking vest with a million pockets going up to me like, so this is the key light, and the flash meter.
Short, the light with
the short. This is called short lighting. It's like shut the fuck up, man. Like none of it made any sense. And then I remember watching Mark Wallace, and when he started breaking through, when YouTube was just coming around, and things were just opening up, and I was like, man, this is great. And I used to pick up the event space to watch your demos. And I never thought I'd do it. And then he told me to do it. And then after a while, I was like, there's something to this shit. Like, there is something, you know? And then even Vanessa Joy was like, you know how many bad demos I've been to? Like, you don't understand what...
There's a lot of bad demos.
It's just like, it's crazy. And sometimes you'll even think you're at a good demo until you realize the information was all wrong. And they could have made that shot better, or there's times they couldn't fix it and they find a way out of it, or they filibust, right? They just talk mad shit or get you to ask questions instead of shoot, or they say, hey, you want to make that background blue? Well, let me just go over to Photoshop and I'll make that background blue instead of lighting to make the background blue. Yeah. You laugh because it's really happened.
These things happen. Yeah, I will always make the background blue.
You made me make the background blue my last demo, asshole. And then there was like the hair lights, or they do the fucking rim lights wrong and shit. I don't know. I learned more from the old guys in the local camera club than my teachers. I ended up joining the military instead, learned more by watching their photographers. Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
I think I've learned more things just being around it than being in a formal class. And maybe that's just the way I learn, is being tactile, but there's nothing better than being around photographers that have been through it. And you see it's the little in-between stuff. It's the bridges that you learn.
No, I agree. It's I assisted all, so
seeing the different way people grip, seeing the different way people manage a space is huge to me, because you could know lighting and just have no fucking way of having a workflow.
No, it's true, and like you start to learn things that you wouldn't necessarily know when you work in different areas and you see different people do things. Like if you were like in this studio and you use, let's say, a 500-watt light with the softbox, 5 feet away, blah blah. And then go to a much, much larger studio and do this exact same thing, it doesn't look the same.
It won't look the same at all.
It looks different. So it's like when people ask that, like, what do I... Well, it depends. Everything kind of depends, and you learn as you go.
But it's the knowing the light that well that gets you through shoots, because you don't have to... I guess it's like, you just have to know light, right? It's not about the space or what modifier or whatever. It's like, what is in front of me and how will it happen and what will react?
Right, and what is light? And that's where the space comes in. Like, we know that... if I'm lighting a model here, you guys can't see because I'm going in the studio, and the light's here, then I've got 10 feet to this white wall. So that white wall is only 10 feet away, which means there is going to be some kickback, or this floor is white, and the ceiling's here.
Yeah, it's really, the more you shoot, the more places you shoot, the more different stuff you shoot, the more you can put in your toolbox, really. I think that's why the photography tutorials and behind the scenes on YouTube is so popular, especially Adorama.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think so too. The behind the scenes, I think, is really cool.
Yeah,
although you feel like a lot of behind the scenes shit is also BS, so you got to kind of know like what you're looking at. That's where I think there's that middle of the road, right? Because I've seen some videos where it's like BTS of, and it's just like all this, like, it's they go across the makeup on the thing, and the model's putting on the lipstick, and then it's like shots going off, and it's like, what did you learn there? But even they break it down a little bit.
But even like the stepping back and taking pictures of a set and looking at the modifiers you're using, that doesn't answer anything to me. Yeah. It's the question that you want answered is, what made you choose that set?
Yeah, so that part of the behind the scenes I think is good if somebody talks about it.
I would imagine demos would be quite a rush. Sometimes they are, but sometimes it's like a nightmare, and you're getting stuck under a rock, and you're wondering where you're going. I did a whole rant on this on my channel, but like, where are you going next? What's the next shot? How can I make this pathway? Does the next question derail where I was going? I can't remember where I was. I changed something. I can't remember what I changed, and now I'm in.
Well, and there's people there. See, if you were to be photographed by me, like by yourself, we're here and we're shooting. Like, I'll like start to shoot something, and I'll look, and I'll like want to look at it, and then I'll like stop and get my coffee and have a conversation with the person and be getting a feel for them, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, and then I'll try something. You can't do that in a demo. Like, you got to just keep going. So you don't have that moment to like kind of.
Well, sometimes you just met the model, or you pulled them out of the crowd,
or the model just showed up right as you were about to go live on Comic-Con.
That was a good one. I never met her, and it was like literally as soon as Daniel was done with his half, I'm like, "Hey, you're my model. Get over here. Nice to meet you." You know, that was wild. Oh, but I think the one thing I really love about the live demos is it feels like playing pool to me, and I'm just kind of like, okay, 8-ball corner pocket, and I go, this light's gonna do this, and it's gonna look like this. Click, boom, and there it happens. I'm like, fuck yeah, because there's a chance it might not, you know.
And here it is, boom. Oh no, all the lights are on. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I did that like 10 times. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Is because you're having a conversation with the audience, you're having a conversation with the audience, with your camera, with your model, like with your set, and it's really weird because there's like this giant third person over your shoulder the whole time. You know, I don't do my demos live from the event space, but I do them live for lives.
Yeah, there's an audience there.
Yeah, like so. I either do a live for Instagram with no audience, or I do a live for the audience. So you do both at one time.
At the same time, yeah.
You know, I guess I should kind of get into that. I don't know.
I don't know. I think what you do is good.
You just don't want me to take up your spot.
I don't want you to take my spot.
I would like to do a joint one though.
You should. We should do it next time.
Yeah, we should figure it out.
We just need some way to run this mixer.
Well, I got Paul.
Paul on the way to mix.
I got Paul, man, and I'll be there in case something blows up.
Yeah, we should do something though. It would be fun to do like a little contesty kind of thing. I like the idea of building off each shot. And like,
I like seeing that.
You just gotta set the parameters, I guess.
Yeah, we need a referee.
Yeah.
We need like somebody to ref half it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be kind of funny, actually.
That would be kind of fun.
They just throw like yellow flags at us. Like,
right.
No, you're offsides! Offsides! I hate going live, so have avoided it. I hate the idea of people seeing me screw up. Honestly, we thought that, and then the more we have like weird accidents happen, and we can fix them real fast and get out of them, people get more off of that.
Yeah.
Right? They always say that. Like I've had demos where I used digital projectors and they just completely failed. And I'm like...
And then how we nailed it in the first shot.
Yeah, that was a fuck up. So yeah, that demo, I had to find a way to eat up 30 minutes because I was like, oh, I just got the shot in the first try.
It's like, this is going to be a complicated technique. Oh, it just worked.
I was like, fuck. And then the demo, you were in the back going like this. Asshole.
I was tweeting.
But it's also, it feels like a jam session. When I have more pros around me that I'm friends with, it's like a jam session. I feel like you really feed off each other. I like getting heckled a little bit by like guys I know because they know there's another level and it gets you there.
Well, you know what's funny about that is, and I say this, I probably said it before in the video, but I say it to you all a bunch. The first time I ever saw Joe McNally, he was in the store, and I don't remember, we were setting something up. I mean, I had met him before. The first time I ever saw him do a demo, he started off and he plugged his computer and he's like, I'm going to shoot tethered so you guys can see what I'm doing. And he goes, everybody here, raise your hand if you've ever taken a shitty photo. And then like everybody raised their hand. He's like, yeah, me too. And you're gonna see a bunch today. And that's basically what he did. And he like everything he did. As soon as you took the picture, it was on the screen. And Joe's freaking amazing. But like, yeah, that's the idea. Like even if he takes a picture and something doesn't work, whatever, you're still gonna see it. And you just keep moving on, you know. And that actually opened it up for me to be like, okay, I feel all right then. If fucking Joe can show a bad picture.
Well, it's funny how we started different. Like, you got inspired and I got angry, right? Like, I was in Adorama and somebody was doing a demo and they just started saying a ton of fucking lies. They started speeding them. They were shooting speed lights and they were saying, like, studio lighting is a lie and here's why and here I'm going to shoot it. And he couldn't finish the shot. He kept on saying the specular highlights were from ambient light, which was bullshit. He couldn't get the background white like he was trying. He ended up editing the live right there in front of people. And I said, and Dan was telling me, like, no, you should give this a shot. And I'm like, look at this. I'm like, this is a fucking demo? This is a fucking demo? Fuck that. And the first thing I did book there was speed lights. And the first line I said was, people are going to tell you that studio lighting is a lie. But and that's wrong. And here's why. And it's just kind of funny what gets you driven. Do you think print magazines have their day? No, I think print magazines will be around. I think they're just going to be specialized books rather than periodicals. Like, they're not going to be a news source. They're going to be like a collector thing.
Yeah, and actually, especially in the fashion realm, you see these magazines. Actually, a lot of them come out of Europe, some maybe in the UK, where like there are these big, thick magazines that come out like well, not thick, but they come out maybe like quarterly, and they're beautifully printed, and they're like $20. Like that's the feature for me. I think of those things.
Yeah, even the photo magazines will be turning into that. They used to be like all like the reviews of cameras and like they used to be just like a giant catalog of every. Now it's like one every season, and you see these amazing black and white.
Yeah, because the thing is, this is actually why the reason why the trade shows are changing too. Is because now companies don't want to wait to a trade show to announce something. They're just like, oh, it's available, and it goes online.
That's true. I think the trade shows are kind of going to learn about a shake-up pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen there. I think they're going to become more educational and less like stores. I feel like everyone will go less.
See, I feel like they're going to turn more into events and walks. Like they're going to be experiences.
Well, that's what I mean. Like learning, like people doing workshops and events.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean by workshop.
That where demos are great shows what can happen when shooting and how to get around the problems. Yeah, and to be honest with you, when I first started doing them, like I can't have any problems. Like that's what they can't see. But then, if you handle it correctly and go forward with it, and you actually fix it, then it's gold. You know. But shit's gonna go wrong, man. Like things just go fucking wrong. It's that simple.
Yeah, it is. I remember when I did the. When I'm doing it on the 29th, when I used to call it $100, but they raised the price of the light that I used to show, so I don't call it that anymore. I call it affordable. And we did it one time, and I used those little crappy lights that were like $69 or whatever, and it was great. It was like, oh, those lights are only $69, that was so great, you got to pay stuff. The next time we used the exact same lights, they were fucking different colors, and one of them wasn't working.
Well, you got forced to use a light once, and it didn't work, period.
Well, that's happened too.
Yeah, I mean, there's brands that like you're going to use, it's like, I don't know, and you've actually shocked me with things you were like, you said okay to. So
I try to give everything a shot if I can.
Yeah, but but then you go down. Then people wonder why you choose luxury brands a little bit, you know. And there's reasons because I'm depending on them.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I've shot with a lot. That's actually the thing because I think you see me shooting a lot with Profoto now, but I've shot with a lot of stuff. Oh my god, a lot of stuff.
The photo show has totally changed the past 3 years. It really ramped up its seminars, photo walks, less new product releases there, more showing existing product. Yeah, I think the shows used to be this place you would find out about these weird little small independent things, and now we all know about that on Kickstarter or whatever. Now you're tangible, you get to touch it.
Yeah, and even big things like, you know, if somebody's going to release something, like the Z7 wasn't released at like Photokina, it was released before that. Like at least people knew about it before that.
Right, and then they went to Photokina to go play with it.
Right, and that's it. So it changed the thing where before it was like we're going to go and see what might be released. Although they did release the 7, but did they have it at WBPI in 7.3?
Okay, so the A7 III was an interesting one, right? So there was a trade show going on, but we got told to go into a bus.
Yeah, we got brought away in the short bus.
And we got taken to a random warehouse where they revealed the big A7 III. And it was a huge shooting event. Yeah. It was like their own little thing outside of the conference. The next day we go to the conference, all of a sudden they had an A7 III kiosk.
Yeah.
I was like, that was some baller shit.
Yeah,
Sony knows how to play that game.
Yeah, they weren't messing around there.
No, they weren't.
They were like A7 IIIs and like PlayStations.
They were like, come to us, kids.
When they can combine those two together, they'll be like...
They're just going to have ice cream trucks.
You're like shooting and you're playing PlayStation. Yeah.
they have an ice cream truck with PlayStations and like A7s. There you go, kids. We own you now. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, they killed it with that.
They did a great job. They had everybody there as their news source. Like everyone was tweeting and.
Oh yeah, and that camera was pretty good. Although I didn't really get to use it much after that. I used it it
was out of stock everywhere. It's been like one of those like unicorn cameras.
Yeah.
I noticed them getting more average Joe photography work up. Even of my own was a show. They are investing in their attendees. I think. Yeah, I think it's a place for people to shine a little bit more if like you're not a pro like I think if you're constantly working as a pro and you're all the time you don't need to go to a trade show like you're working like you're
well I think it's a good idea actually for them to show I think what they're saying is that they're showing off his work which is kind of cool actually Vanessa had some not that she's average show but she had some work in the album remember
Miller's
we were like let's find the one with Vanessa's album and they put it on top. That's kind of exciting.
That is exciting when you see your own. I think
we saw Gavin's pictures.
Yeah, that's right, Gavin's. We saw David Carroll's pictures hung up, and a lot of people. It's always cool. I mean, you're being showcased at a place that for us, like to be regarded among your peers is kind of special. Like I know you give me a hard time about it. Anytime I get Joe on my social media saying like Seth's awesome, I'm like.
What you don't notice on that is just before it starts like handing him cash, and then he goes like, all right. This is Seth. What's your name again? This is Seth.
It's one syllable, right? You know. No, I mean, that kind of stuff means a lot to me. I think being validated by our own industry means more to me than anything because they know how hard it is. They know what it's been through. You know, when you asked me years ago to like come to the event space in preparation that I might substitute for you because you're going to travel, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. It meant a lot to me, you know?
And then now you took my job.
Oh, sure. I've noticed more social media stars of photography as opposed to the old masters, so to speak. A few prolific YouTubers such as Jason Lanier and such. So social media people are more tangible, right? Like a kid growing up right now will see an Instagram of somebody before they even know who Richard Avedon is.
No, that's true. Yeah, I think but because people study photography differently now.
Yeah, so that's a great way to put it.
So I think it's really interesting, right? Because like when I decided I wanted to be a photographer, I looked and like the only people I could find that were photographers, besides looking in a magazine or something, was I looked and saw books like Diane Arbus and Sally Mann and Richard Avedon and like all Helmut Newton, and they all had books, right? Yeah. Now people they're like, oh, I want to be a photographer. Let me just Google photography. Whatever, or go on Instagram.
Well, they just discover them through like, oh, this girl that I follow was shot by this guy, and I like the image. Let me check out his page, and boom, you follow him. Like, that's how people discover photographers now. But they don't have any knowledge or wisdom in their head of what they're looking at per se. So they get caught up in things that might be bad habits or distasteful, or like there's plenty of times where like you think that's good. Like,
yeah, I agree. Also, the bad habit thing is really a good point. Like, I think people see something and because it's trendy, as they think that's good, and it actually shifts photography into what I think is like a less, I don't say bad, but
trendy.
Okay, so let's say that you're looking at, let's just say on-camera flash. That becomes trendy because it has a certain look to it, and the cool photographers are doing it, and then all of a sudden that becomes what everybody starts using, and blowing out skin and bad shadows, and then they don't realize that you could actually do better if you were to take the flash off camera and do this. And unfortunately, some people get stuck in that crappy. I mean, I'm picking a really obvious thing. Actually, sometimes on camera.
But I think the trends come from and the easy trends like that, for example, comes from the people that go like, oh, I don't know lighting. Oh, this is cool. I'll just bang, 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 and then they don't even bother to elevate themselves or learn.
Or let's see frequency separation.
Frequency separation is the.
I know. Luckily, that seems to have faded a bit, but that became terrible because a few people that shot decent shots were using it a lot and making the models look crazy, unreal, and it was like, I could do that too.
You still see it. Filter. You still see it unbelievable.
Yeah, it's still used, but I think people are getting better at it, so it's not as terrible for the most part. Not everybody.
But there's like complete manipulations that they still consider photography that bothers me.
Yeah, I think we're on different pages there for that. I mean, I actually don't hate people that do more photo art versus photography. It kind of depends. I'm open to both things.
But as far as bad habits go, like I think with all the self-taught stuff and things like that, like they don't even learn a taste level, right? Sure. So, and that's something that like I think you generate over your period of learning. And if you're only learning from Instagram stars that use a lot of preset type stuff and heavy editing and post, and they're not trying to actually be shooting.
Right.
Or understand what light's doing and how they can elevate the shot, I think it causes. What trends do you wish would die?
Frequency
separation, HDR.
Yeah, HDR. I mean, the people do less of it.
Probably.
HDR. Yeah. Which just the idea that like using lots of presets on something makes it art or better. I feel like that's terrible. Like I don't know. I'm also not into very gimmicky shit, and I know we have this discussion a lot. You mentioned Avedon. Like I love Avedon, and I think if Avedon was a 20-year-old kid and started putting those things on Instagram, he'd have 12 followers. Like that shit, people wouldn't understand why it's good because it's so pure and so basic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, his later stuff, his earlier stuff.
Well, that's like Albert Watson, right? He shot Steve Jobs. It is the most basic, clean lighting ever, but he did that because it wasn't about how he lit it. It was about the guy he was shooting.
Yeah, he did it for a reason. He didn't do it because he didn't know anything better than that. He just did it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I agree. And I think that's one of the skills to be a lighting photographer is to use the light that is right for what you're trying to show.
You have to make decisions before you even pick up that camera, and that's what people stop doing. Like I say this every time I do a demo. It's like, what are you shooting? The person who they are, the character, their makeup, their wardrobe, a scene, like a mood. What are you shooting? figure that out and then start going.
No, and it makes
forward.
sense. So let's say there's a trend. Like right now, there's a trend of using a lot of color, and I've been using a lot of color, so I can't really bash people. But you have to also think, what am I shooting with this color and why? Like just adding a bunch of gels to something just to do it doesn't necessarily work. You know, like, so the trend might be to use gels, but think about what's going to make that work. Like, why use
the
gels?
sling and gels thing, like, I get that it's kind of fun, but it's still, like, there could be a theory to it that could be mind-blowing, or you could just be like, well, there's a red light, that's a blue light.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, put some thought behind it a little bit. And then everybody will, like, suck this dick over it because it somehow looks something like they like something different than just, like, taking a picture. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not the end all, but that's just...
No, definitely not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I hate to bash on people. There's moments where I'll do it, but I don't know. Trends are trends.
If anything, I'm just glad people are trying to shoot out there.
Yeah, me too.
But I just wish that they wouldn't get stuck on a gimmick and think that they're...
Yeah, I feel like if your work... And I've said this before, and it's really hard to judge this, but would the shot be good if you remove the gimmick? And if not, then maybe you have to rethink about what you're doing. That's what I feel.
I want that weird excessive post-pro blur around images often seen in kid photography.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think
that's basically like tried their response, like they couldn't operate their lens maybe properly.
Yeah. Or like when they do things that you could impose that clearly they don't know how light operates. Like when people do fake vignettes, it's like that's not what a vignette looks like.
Yeah.
Like that's just clearly fucking manipulated, and you don't even know why that would exist or how it would look like that.
I'm also not a fan of, although some people do it really well, when people create light and shadow using dodge and burn.
I was just about to say it. Yeah. We just looked at someone's work like that.
It's always actually good looking, but I hate that people do it only because it's teaching a bad habit to people who are starting. To just shoot everything super flat and do everything in post. Like, I think if you don't light, you won't learn to light. And then you won't know what to do when you're painting.
But even when you light correctly, your images ring more honest, and then people can really believe your work. When you keep feeding me eyes that look illuminated somehow, because you know eyes have lights in them, right?
Of course.
Like, what are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm not stupid. I almost feel insulted that you think I would go, that looks great.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, I agree.
All right, it is 7:30 here.
All
We've
right.
been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're ranting.
All right, yo, Candy, you're a queen. If we ever get to the UK, we'll give you a shout. Jeff, you're the man.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
wow, we really were just jabbing away.
Candy's been killing it for us. All right, if you guys want LastxWitness on Instagram
and here,
youtube.com/LastxWitness. If you guys want to subscribe to my channel, you can get some photos on some dope merch. Just saying.
Oh man,
just saying.
So there's some merch coming from me soon too.
Oh yeah,
it's actually already up, but I don't have any pictures of it yet.
He has some pretty dopey.
Yeah, there's some merch coming from me, so get ready for some merch.
Well, if it's not, we're not making money off of this. It just helps us keep these channels fueled.
I'm gonna make so much money. I'm gonna be like Puff Daddy.
Look, any support you guys give us in that regard goes right to us being able to keep these channels going and do things like that. Get to the photo show. Chris Knight is supposedly coming.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thanks, guys. Great talk. Thanks,
right.
Jeff.
We'll see
All right,
you.
guys. We will see you.
I have to stop it. I guess.
Same bat channel. Same.
This is not the mic.
You're a dick.
Oh, something's happening. I think we're live.
Are we?
Okay, guys. I think we're live again.
Are we? Are we live?
Watch it on that one, yeah. Okay.
Sit.
Sorry. So apparently, we had to turn the lights back on. Apparently, I had it set on unlisted, so that's why only the exclusive people got to watch.
Turn the lights back on.
Christy, can you turn on the other light? She doesn't even know how to do it.
Turn the lights back on.
Oh my god, we got to plug everything back in this place.
Hold on. Are we really live?
Yeah, look, we're live. Go
There's
back
nobody in there. There's nobody
nine
watching.
People.
There's nobody watching this.
All right.
Shit.
Hey guys.
Are we really live?
We're live. Go back on.
Oh shit. Okay.
Where is it?
Are you unlisted again, asshole?
I don't know. You have to go to the
live now, asshole.
Yeah,
You're an asshole.
All right, we're live. Yeah, look, go ahead and make sure it's not unlisted. Unlisted, it says. Hit edit video.
I can't believe this.
Fuck. Sorry, guys.
I can't believe this.
Yeah,
fucking amateur.
Put it back on. Put it on public.
Asshole. Oh, Daniel Norton!
And my coffee's cold. Go back to the video. Are we watching? Hey guys. Sorry.
I don't know what you're laughing about. We were just live for an hour and a half, and then he goes, "Oh,
oh."
It's like the same thing as saying, "Oh, I didn't hit record, man."
No, it's not the same. Yeah, it is the same.
It still says unlisted.
Why does it say unlisted still?
It says you're live.
Can you see me live now? You couldn't see it before, right?
Yeah, okay, it doesn't say unlisted. It says
Okay.
12.
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure if you're watching it from the beginning or if it jumped back in or if Candy went to bed.
Candy went to bed.
Yeah,
You see us?
yes.
How come
Okay.
did I get a notification?
All right, so, hey, guys. Let's turn that light on. Well, Seth figures this out.
Hold on.
Okay,
guys.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Daniel's a fucking old man.
There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lag, yeah.
Still over there.
Yeah.
Round 2.
All right, round 2. Here we go.
Round 2. Jesus Christ.
I hate to ask you to do this. Could you keep my coffee up?
Is this happening round 2? Yeah, Philip.
Yes.
We're doing round 2 because he's a dick.
Yes. Sorry, guys. So apparently, when you do the event and you make it unlisted, people don't see it.
Is there anybody? There's not even anyone in here.
There he is.
All right, if you're in this room, tell us where you're from.
I joined right when you signed up. Hello, hello. 13 people watching.
All right, tell us where you're from and come up with questions because...
Hey, do you guys want Seth to hold this thinking it's the microphone?
You're an asshole! You're an asshole! Now you're gonna be a fucking patronizing, you piece of shit, and I'm the angry guy again! Now I'm the fucking angry guy!
So, hey guys, so we decided to come back on because we had a little technical difficulty.
What is that?
Apparently, that's the old one from before. You can dump that.
You can talk, it's
Yeah.
fine. We're live, it's a shit show. Don't worry, it's a
Okay,
shit
guys,
show.
sorry about that. So, if you guys are here, let us know, that you're here and where you're from, and also if you have questions, because we were figuring that we would just kind of pop on and answer questions. Because
Hold on.
we were
It was still warm.
full of energy. So every time if you come back to my studio after I've been gone for like a week and you check the microwave, there's usually a coffee there. Still Ohio.
Still alive. You're still there? What are you still doing there?
It's like, I thought you were gone.
I thought you were out.
So I looked and I was like, oh, unlisted. That's weird.
Oh my god, you're
So
such
yeah.
an asshole.
So what are we going to talk about? Do you want to talk about anything?
There was no film in the camera the whole time.
Oh my god, yes, I've done that.
Live shit show, love it. Yeah, no, it's this asshole. Okay. God.
Actually, I was thinking, geez, that's like the worst person I've ever had on. Like, everybody else pulls all these questions. Seth's only got one. Whoa. Oh my god.
All right,
Okay,
this is getting a little.
All right, sorry.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know if you like this new LED light.
Oh, this ring light.
This is a flashpoint.
Oh, look, it's Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Jenny, where?
Anyways, if you guys have questions, did we answer everybody's questions before? Seth is getting erotic photos. Is it your Tinder?
Shut up.
Seth's Tinder blows up, my Pinterest blows up. I'm not sure exactly how this works.
Why do people always send me pictures of cats?
Anyways, so yeah. How do you approach posing couples?
I usually run away. I usually make them pose like Greco-Roman wrestlers. I actually try to talk to couples as much as I can to get a sense of them before I even try shooting because
Oh my God, it's
every
hot.
couple's dynamic is different and I don't know which way to go with somebody if I never met them, let alone their dynamic. So
That's actually really interesting, and I think it also depends on what the purpose is. Like if you're, let's say, shooting an engagement photo, people have certain expectations. They stand behind them like this.
oh god. Oh,
Yeah.
they do this. Wait, do it. No, the other heart. Do the other.
Do
Oh,
Right.
I fucking hate that shit.
But to me, what Seth said is actually really important. I try to talk to people and get a feel for like shoot them more like just a general portrait with two people in it, and I try to figure out where that stands. Like maybe I'm going to do something a little different because they're wacky or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it really depends.
What does it say? Could you talk about refining light trails like you've done in recent demos?
That's you.
How do you get precise lines like in your dancing photos? My dancing photos.
He's being nice and calling that pole dancer stuff dancing.
You have to. I guess there's a lot of elements. There's a lot of things going on at once when you do ghosting, right? So it's either their motion, the light motion, or your motion, right? So if you start eliminating variables like my motion versus their motion, so what could I do? Tripod down or keep them still. One of you has to stay still and you'll get something more constant. And two, the slower they move, the more defined those lines get because the faster they move, the less they have a chance to bake in the exposure and they become more wispy or transparent. So it's usually about but if you can't control their speed, like those pole dancers are swinging really fast, I needed super bright light so that for the milliseconds they were on that part of the sensor, it counted more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think if you're talking about like refining, as far as getting so it says precise lines, the light just has to be bright enough, right? Is that what you're saying? Like a nice, good dark line is about exposure, right? Or dark being bright. Like a bright line is about exposure, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just also have to realize that when your shutter's open, that means all bets are off. Everything that's going to come in is going to create a factor. So one, get all the light out of the space that you can. The less light you have ambient-wise, the more control you have with your constant light and your instant light, which is your flash. So when your dancers or whatever's moving, you want precision on those lines. If there's no other exposure but the light that exists that you're creating, it'll be precise.
Right, that makes sense. Hopefully that helped.
How are you functioning without coffee? Is this a first? Well, my coffee's over, but he had a hidden fucking 13th cup somewhere. And I'm fucking...
I have the coffee here. It is organic and good, so I'm not functioning.
Vanessa Joy is texting me, and she's saying, "Oh, you're live? Should I just keep texting you?"
Yeah, apparently we were live for, what, an hour?
An hour and a half.
And I was like, man, when Vanessa was here, we had all kinds of people watching.
Yeah, you guys missed a good chat, actually.
Yeah, we
Candy was keeping us alive in the UK.
All right, I'm going to go a little tighter on us, too.
Wait, what is that? Is that flavored coffee? It smells pretty.
No, it's just regular coffee.
What do I smell pretty stuff for? It smells something pretty. Although there's candy in the freezer, I'm going to get
some.
some.
Coffee, but no.
I'll be right back.
Thanks to the awesome content.
You're on your own, Norton.
I'm on my own. So, also what I've noticed, I'll speak for Seth a little bit, is when you really want the lines precise, you usually move the camera.
Okay.
Yep, I've noticed that. Like a lot of times you start with the model moving, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, hold on. And then I see you do this, and your hand is very steady. That's how you're
I also know that if I control the motion, because a lot of times the model never did it before, or the dancer has no idea what your frame is. And if it comes down to it, if I do the moving, I have all the control.
That's right.
But it also changes the look of the image completely. Like their motion isn't going to be my motion.
That's right.
You know,
but like when you do like lasers and stuff.
Yeah, lasers I definitely take control of it, but like ghosting of their faces or their body motions is always better in my opinion when they move. Or I do lens tricks like the zooming in and out or something like that.
Word.
Oh, hello, Vanessa. Look at that headshot of hers.
Hey, Vanessa, did you shoot it?
I did not shoot it. I did not. But she always looks just like her brand. She's so good like that.
What's my brand? Coffee?
Oh man, it's frozen caramel.
Oh my god, you went over and got candy and you didn't get one for me?
You got coffee. Fuck you.
Yeah, but the coffee's bitter and the candy is sweet.
Are you kidding me right now?
Okay, sorry.
Town Point is location of working commercial photography. When you're starting out, do you recommend approaching companies directly to see if they have product photography needs? Oh, interesting.
Okay. How important is location? You mean like, if you're talking about like if they're in California and you're in New York, I think it's probably very important at first. Unless you have an established brand, they're not going to want to pay to fly you somewhere or even to send you product because they want to be around.
Yeah, the sending product worked like a few times in my career, but there's been plenty of times like, especially in the FX industry, is all in LA mostly, and a lot of times they're like, I'll just wait till you hear again.
Yeah, but you also have a name, so that's why they're sending it to you. Sending it to somebody.
Yeah, but saying like it doesn't always. Like sometimes they'll be like, we'll wait and see if you ever come out here. You know, they don't ever.
Yeah, the whole flying you around thing has ended, unfortunately, for the most part, but not for everybody. So that's the first part. When you're starting, do you recommend approaching? It depends on the size of the company, right? So if you're talking about a local shop, I would probably just walk right up and ask them. I mean, if that's what you want to do. I think bigger places generally go through advertising agencies for the most part, even if they're small advertising agencies. And also, remember, the advertising agency is like selling the idea of photos also the concept. So you're much better off if you want to do commercial photography marketing to advertising agencies versus directly to companies, in my opinion.
Vanessa Joy doesn't like me saying that she's very on brand.
Then you disappeared for like an hour. Yeah, that's because we were unlisted. Sorry about that. Apparently I didn't...
Yeah, so there's some weird quirk with his YouTube channel, or I think just using the Mevo with the YouTube channel.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's really what... I'm not the live master like you are.
You are... all I do is this. All I do is this.
All right, guys. I'm angry. I'm angry.
It's so true.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, I need to know.
I'm not angry. I'm from Brooklyn.
If you were to show Seth how to model, where would you start? Okay, so that's a good question.
You're going to show me how to model now?
No.
The first thing you said to me is, I'm going to put you in a tux.
I did say that. I was going to shoot him as James Bond.
You're going to shoot me noir, you said.
Yeah, like a noir James Bond. Because I think Seth has got a lot of suave to him.
You shot me on 4x5, and I'm still yet to see this.
Yeah, those. I actually literally have 4x5 film holders sitting on my dresser.
A year old, easy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what I do. I'm like Kit Miller. I wait until it's old.
What do you...
So no, but anyways, the way that I approach posing generally is I study people and I wait until they're not thinking about it anymore, and I see how they are, like he is right now.
Naturally.
And that's where I would start.
Naturally.
That's exactly how I start, and then I adjust from there. So, in fact, it happened today, and what I don't like is somebody who sits down and goes like,
"Oh yeah, she was over modeling herself." Yeah.
When somebody does that, I'm like, chill. I go, chill, lady or man.
Well, she was a lady.
She was a lady.
What technique did each of you learn that was your aha moment that changed everything for your work?
Oh, interesting.
Was yours the hard light from the other side of the face? Was that yours? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Actually, technically, yeah. Because you know where the ghosting came from? I started my career in BMX, and the only way you believed those shots in BMX and skating was blur and motion blur.
Yeah.
So getting the street lights and the flash together to show that some guy wasn't just like standing on a rail for 3 seconds and jumping off, you did the ghosting. So yeah, that basically did change my career right there.
Oh, interesting.
But you, I don't know with you. You've had a lot of fucking... You've had a lot of phases, I'd say.
I mean, I think for me, just learning to, and this is going to seem very vague, to control the light and not let the light control me.
You sound like a guy with a virus.
I know, right?
I'm not going to let it control me, man. I'm going to live my life.
No, but like when I walked into the situation and I saw that, like, okay, I don't need to work with what's here because I can do what's in my brain. That really changed everything for me. You know, that's it. And then the opposite, when I eventually got to the point where I was like, now let me learn how to work with what's available so I can be more versatile.
Well, that's funny because like I really think that once I gripped exactly how to control fill, that changed everything for me.
Yeah, fill light is really important.
Because that's the refining. That's the point of which you're really making it a level, you know?
But I mean, look what we did today, which you guys will see eventually in the video. Like, I saw a light coming through a window, and I was like, that looks really cool. Let me use a strobe. Like, that's me.
Well, yeah, but there was a reason. You'll see in the video why we used the strobe over the sun.
Yeah, but basically, that's it.
How do you find and connect with agencies? Is it just a matter of Google searching, or are there established resources?
Oh, okay, like a modeling agency or an advertising agency? Is it follow up to the other question about the advertising?
It's the same. It's Phil.
Advertising agencies, Adweek. There's PDN owns. What the? You know, I'm so bad with names. There's a company that you can basically look it up. There used to be a book.
I don't know
if that still exists, but you can go to.
Well, actually, the back of the New York Times used to have sections that you would find jobs in.
Yeah, but things like advertising.
I feel old.
And actually, if you read, and this is not just to find the advertising agencies, but if you read Adweek and Advertising Age, which are boring as hell if you're not into advertising at first, you learn the agencies that are doing different jobs, and you also learn about the art directors because they talk about them. So that gives you a great insight. So it's not just like, oh, here's a list, I'm just going to randomly send something. It's like, oh, Susie Jones, art directed the latest, vodka ad for blah, blah, blah. So when you reach out to them, you can be like, hey, Susie, I really love those, assuming you really liked it, I really love those vodka ads, and that's basically how you do it. And unless you didn't really like them, then don't do that, because then you're being an asshole. So Ad Age, Adweek, and there's the PDN company that... not AdWords. What is it called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Agency Access.
What? Oh.
Yeah, Agency Access gives you access to agencies, but also magazines. It gives you all the connection stuff. It's great if you're going to do mail lists. I don't do mailers anymore, but when I did, I used to subscribe to it.
But I also feel like agency is one of those things that it just gets you momentum, and then once you're out there and people are connecting with you, it's something you just kind of grow away from.
Yeah, well, you always want to know who's moving around in the industry, right? And you want to reach out. Like if you're going to, let's say that I want to work for Oprah magazine. you know, I don't just take a postcard and send it to Oprah magazine. I want to look and see who I want to work for. Like, who is it that's, I mean, you can send it to Oprah. You know, you could send it to, you want to send it to the food director or the fashion director or the lifestyle director. So you want that information. And one thing you can do, and I did when I was broke, is you can literally just go to the store and open up magazines and start looking through and just take a pen and write down the names of the people that read.
Yeah, and kind of make it a little personal because they're getting these shitty cold calls and cold emails. And there's times I get emails that they forgot to change the name of the person they sent it to the last time. All sorts of stuff. So especially at Adorama, we get a lot of photo editors and editors in general just talking about how they go about hiring people. And the first thing they'll tell you is we don't listen to cold calls or anything like that. There's enough of those. It's, you know, they need to see, you need to go to events that they'll be at. You need to really meet people. You need to know who they're hiring.
Yeah, you need to personalize things you're going to send. So,
Yes.
So postcards are the only generic thing that I would send because they're cheap and it's kind of still standard. And then after that, you want to personalize. So if you're going to send, let's say your job, like for me, I used to do a lot of bridal catalog stuff.
Yeah.
So I would literally hand make little portfolio books that I would send because there's only like 25 of those in the whole country. You know, so if each one cost me $100 to make, it wasn't a big deal to send one out. I sent them out a few times a year, and I would hand make these things, and they were specific to their brand with my work. You know, in fact, I was actually on multiple occasions people would reach out to me and be like, "We already have photographers that we use, so you know, whatever, we'll put you in the file." But man, I want to tell you that was a great promo. You know, so that's it. You're in their brain.
Yeah, and they also move around. Like, you never say, like, I work for this magazine, because you never really work for a magazine forever. Like, you work in the industry, and the art director goes to another magazine. They remember you, and they can finally hire your style and shit like that. So you just got to keep on... Like we keep on saying, it sounds repetitive, but this really is a game of relationships. You don't get anywhere by cutting throats or, you know, making bad...
At least not very long.
No, you'll get your foot into the door, but doesn't mean that anyone will want to keep you around. So... I don't know. That's just the way I always approached it, is relationships.
No, I agree. You don't want to screw people over. That's actually really bad for you.
So who's in this room? Come on, talk. Be like this or this, actually.
I don't know. When there was only 3 people here, that we had more.
Yeah, we had more questions. We had 3 people in this chat. When you made it unlisted, you fucking dick.
We're like, it's going to populate.
It's got. Well, I thought it was populate. I don't know. How do I know that you're... whatever.
I don't know. Anyways, guys.
Glad I caught some of your show. Take care. Bye, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny. All right, guys. So, if there's any other questions, if not, once we realized that we were off, I was like, oh man, I gotta.
Oh no, you just decided I'm gonna waste an hour and a half of Seth's life. He'll never get back. On my deathbed, I'll be like, if I only had an hour and a half more.
Listen, you used my Magnum reflector.
I never used it. Oh no, I did.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, but it was for a shot. Never mind. We're not gonna do this. All right. Is there anybody in this
Any
chat
questions?
room?
Yep.
Nothing? You guys, 30 people. Nobody's got to say anything?
Okay, so anything else going on that we want to shout out while we're here, since we got a few minutes.
If you're in New York, the photo critique that we're doing is at Adorama later this month. You're going live Thursday. I got an event in the space. Try UK time for your next.
Yeah, sorry, we did start earlier.
I love how much you make yourself laugh. It's amazing. You know what my future is? Pushing this guy around in a wheelchair. That's like, it's going to be like, I remember when I used to light girls. I used to light models. I used to hand make these ads to sit.
My laptop was in my bag, and I was like, hold on, we're unlisted.
Would you go with the 1DS Mark III to kick tires on the Canon full frame? I don't understand. Would you go with the 1DS Mark III?
1DS. Isn't that super old? No.
What are your thoughts on the $20 a photo business you mentioned in Rewind?
Oh.
It's interesting, right? Well, for one, I want to know what is the hourly wage they're offering photographers, and 2, I'd hate to get involved in something that won't have legs. So if it doesn't hold out, the way I look at it is if a startup company needs photography and they don't want to pay for like a real production and they pay this service for $20 for every photo they use, as that company grows or sells themselves to a bigger company, like usually happens, they're not going to be loyal to that agency. They're going to bring on the people and work with people they want to work with. So it could be a good stepping point for younger photographers, or we have to decide, is it really going to be taking away from established photographers? I don't know. It's too early to tell. It hasn't really started.
I actually made a whole video about it, which will go live next week. But so I won't talk too much about it because I can't remember what I said and I don't want to contradict myself. But Actually, I don't. I was joking about the 1DS. I actually don't know enough about it to say it. 1DS Mark III. I mean, it's probably fine. I mean, I believe that the 1DS is like a sports camera. I mean, I have the 1DX Mark II, so that's at least 2 cameras newer, right? And that's already 2 years old. So I gotta think that's a fairly old camera, and you want to be careful in digital because what generally gets better is your dynamic range and your low ISO, high ISO capability rather. So it depends on what you're shooting. You know, if you're shooting in studio lit stuff, yeah, you should be totally fine.
What is Daniel's flaw? What would you teach him or advice you would give to make him better or correct it? Daniel, same question or reverse? Oh, this is gonna be fucking fun.
Oh, let's go first.
Oh man, what would I change about Daniel? Well, as far as his demo style goes, I'd probably say he's got to kick up the pace a bit. He drives me a little crazy with the whole slow.
Hold on.
You're an asshole. But I think I don't really find a flaw in his game. I think actually, if we agreed on everything, I wouldn't become a better photographer, and I don't think he would either. I think when we do get into odds about things, we see a different viewpoint that we normally wouldn't. And I think because there's a mutual respect, it's rare to make your head go, oh, I see that point. You know, like
yeah. Usually we're somewhere in the middle, anyways. Like we kind of start here, like we're like, oh no. Actually, we kind of think the same thing. We're just kind of approaching it 2 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
we have different styles.
Yeah, we have different styles, which I think is awesome. You know, and I have to say, I'm a huge fan of Seth. So, I wouldn't. Listen, I don't put my stamp on anything unless I believe in it, and I totally was behind getting Seth involved in everything. So
yeah, actually, I wouldn't be doing demos if it wasn't for Daniel. He was the one who actually explained to me that I could do this, and so it meant a lot to me when this guy said I could substitute for him years ago.
Yeah, and then also there was like this guy that was put himself off as like a pro that was actually in Adorama like once a month or something. I can't remember what the original thing was, although they ended up canceling the position. So that's the first thing I wanted you to do.
Oh, that's right.
Because that guy was like hanging out, and I'm like, they're like, oh, he's the pro, and every time he would tell somebody something, it was some bullshit. And I went to the store and I was like, no, we need a real fucking guy. And I saw something, and I'm like, would you do this?
Amy Wilson wants us to do something not boring, please. No offense. You know what's not boring? Getting out of this chat.
What do you mean, like right now?
Yeah, just you don't have to fucking watch this.
This is a question and answer thing.
We don't have to give up time. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think that was great when that guy wrote on my YouTube like, you talk too much, more action. Oh, cool. Well, there's plenty of other fucking channels, and I know I exist purely for you, so enjoy that. Hi guys, Daniel. Are you planning to offer any type of workshop?
I'm doing a free workshop at Adorama in
I'm sorry,
Thursday. Oh, we missed something. All right, we'll go back up. We'll do that one in a second. I am doing that, so that should be broadcast on Adorama's channel. So if you guys don't follow Adorama, it's Adorama TV, I guess, right? But yeah, we actually, me and also Seth together, we do smaller workshops. So if you guys want to do something, not for free, obviously, if you want something like that, reach out to me privately and we can talk about that.
Have you experimented with things like landscape and found things you brought back into your normal work? Yeah. In fact, one of the best things I ever did was get involved in large format photography because my whole game was like shoot fast, go hard, and then shooting 4x5, especially with like landscapes, you take a step back and go, oh, perspective lines. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to sit here and really look at this, and it wasn't about just like smash and grab jobs at that point. So yeah, 100% everything I shoot outside of the realm that I normally shoot always brings something back to my main game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's super important. And it's one of the reasons why I'm very happy that, I wasn't happy to be broke, but when I was first starting, I was pretty broke and I wasn't going to get a job. So I was a photo assistant and I didn't just work for fashion photographers, even though that's what I wanted to do. I worked for food, I worked for landscape, I worked for architectural, and I learned so much.
Chicken or the egg?
What do you mean?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I guess...
Chicken or the egg?
What came first?
Is that what you're asking? Chicken.
Well, which came first, right? So I guess it depends on who got the orgasm, right? So it's kind of like they're kind of rubbing against each other.
Oh boy, now we're going that direction.
Where's the greatest need or niche where a photographer can make a living wage?
Boring, bummed by, subscribed,
I would say content creation is hot right now. Like if it sounds weird, but I'd say like if you can get a job with like a brand and create content for their channels, it's pretty much where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I think. You're not the boss of me, you can't tell me what to do. Wow, Jenny's going after Amy. It's a battle of the ages. Here we go. Everybody, go ahead. Go after Amy. Have fun with that.
I want to understand what the concept is with
Do you ever work with things like...
What's the greatest niche? Oh, no, you just answered?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now, and someone actually asked me, can you make it as a photographer? I think what you have to think of is that content is probably the biggest thing now as far as the breakthrough. You know, that's the new area. Producing content for companies, which is what you just said, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so that content could be whatever, you know, but I think that's it. And I think you got to be versatile to do that.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is you have to be ready to be able to produce it, you know, and look at the way companies want to brand themselves. Like you can't just do your style and think it fits every brand and they'll just hire you.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
Do you ever work with things like olefin or gravity backdrops? Any pins are using things other than paper or foam core backdrops?
Interesting.
I've used vinyl backdrops because of all the bloody stuff. And that's worked out pretty well, except for the fact that you get a sheen every now and then that I don't want. But it is easy to just mop it, which is fun.
Yeah, I don't really use a lot of different...
This girl can't even type. She's got to be like 10.
Yeah, what's going on here? I would say that for me, backdrops end up being either paper or I use this wall here when I'm lazy. But for commercial stuff, a lot of times I had backgrounds built.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the most common thing. And it's actually really easy to build backgrounds yourself.
Yeah, we were actually talking about getting like wallpapers and just like putting them on boards and
in
things
fact,
like
I used
that.
to work for this big catalog house in Delray Beach, the same one with the, if you watched earlier when it was unlisted, with the snow. We used to have all these 8 foot wide by 8 foot tall, like 2x4 walls that we make, and then that's exactly, we used to stretch canvases on them that were either painted like wallpaper or artists would come in and paint them. We'd like hard staple them on, and like we'd build these mini sets, and then we'd pull them off and put them back on, and we had a,
Yeah, I used to take foam core and glue like really elaborate, like filigree and damask style
that's nice.
Wallpaper to them, and then they would be light, and it would be a small backdrop, like just enough for like a bust, and you swap it in and out. But I could do like 10 looks.
Yeah,
swap them through.
No, it's true. So that's really easy to do. If you guys want to do it on your own, you can get inexpensive wallpaper. You can get tile that's heavy. Also, the fake wood floor stuff is great. You can glue that together. We have some up there. Yeah, you can make little wooden walls. Yeah. Okay. But I don't know what. I'm not sure what Olfint is.
I don't know what Olfint is either. Actually,
I'm not sure what that is. I'm not.
That's a back name. It's a back name. It's a last name. So
we could Google it, but we're in the middle of doing something. We got the producer over here.
We actually did just get our. Actually, I just got a Lastolite highlight system that we're going to start trying out. What? Yeah, I know. This girl Amy is just like, she's got no education. Don't have an education. What the fuck's that even mean? No, actually, you're the one who can't type with an I. Oh, I type fine. This can't be real.
This is, yeah.
You were just jealous of me? Becca's? I'm more popular? Okay. Sound like everybody.
Hold on. Isn't Amy Wilson the oh, that's nice.
Oh, is that the hand-painted brushed, dry brushed?
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah,
look at something.
Yeah, actually, backdrops that are like dry brushed and like hand painted are pretty beautiful.
Yeah, they're generally kind of expensive, but they're nice.
Yeah. I'm down with those.
Isn't she from Wilson Phillips? Oh, look, in Philip comes Wilson.
Yeah, see, Alvin paints backdrops. Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah, they're yeah, painted backdrops are really beautiful.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've only done it myself. I haven't actually bought anybody's.
And they light very matte, which is a lot of fun because you don't have to worry so much about them.
Yeah, we should actually do one here.
One of them. Yeah, we should do one. Yeah. I'm from UK where the Queen lives, and I would know because she followed me on Instagram. Okay.
Oh.
And YouTube. Look, YouTube. She follows her on YouTube. So that's how popular. You know there's an R after popular, right? You know at the end of popular there's an R?
Oh.
I'm from Brooklyn and I can't even say R's correctly. And I'm telling you there's an R at the end of popular. Oh, man. So is there any other questions in the chat? We got a few people on there.
Yeah.
Let us know where you're from. We know Amy's from the UK. So.
Oh, interesting. Headshot people? See, headshots in New York generally these days, I mean, I'd say the last several years have been
super light.
Super white backgrounds, you know, style created by Pierre Hurley. But yeah, I mean, and actually before that, there was that whole like crazy shallow background, put crap behind the person, popular thing.
There's people even shooting out of WeWork stations, like tiny little offices, but have such shallow depth of field. They're able to make it a WeWork station look like it's like Central Park.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the good thing about headshots. If you understand light theory, you can actually kind of do them almost anywhere.
What's your portable set would be? Shooting people in a huge exhibition center with uneven fluorescent light of various kelvins. Mostly people are printed press. So if you can set up a station, I would get to a setting where you could just block everything out, which we just did at the ERIX booth.
Yeah, what did I use?
You just use B1X.
B1X.
Yeah, just like a B1X you used. You just have to get enough power out of a strobe that could get your camera to a setting that you would block out the ambient light. But usually in a trade show, the ceilings are so high you can get away with easy settings of like 100 ISO, probably around f8.
Yeah, as long as the lights aren't in the shot, because sometimes they're in the shot depending on your angle. So I would be wary of that. I mean, a small kit to carry would be a couple of portable strobes with a softbox and something to fill with,
and look for a wall in that space that you could use. That would be interesting. At the Javits Center here in New York, everyone loves the diamond plate or the marble on the outside. They use that a lot.
It's easy enough if you really needed to, just like tape it to the wall, or even.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Advice, or if you want to just black it out, just tape Duvetine. Like you fold up Duvetine, tape it up to a wall, and it becomes black. So if you want black.
Yeah, Duvetine is the best.
Advice on approaching potential clients for content for brands, books, website, best way to showcase your work.
I should probably say before you answer that, just to be clear, because I don't know what level when we need 223s on. The thing we're talking about here is the reason why your other part about the different kelvins don't matter is because what we're saying is eliminate that light.
Yeah, just get
That's
rid of
number
all
one. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So approaching potential clients for content for brands. How would you do it? Number one, I would look at their entire brand. I would look through their social and see what they're trying to go for and what they interact with. And then I would see what I have in my repertoire that would go with that and try to present to them like, hey, I'm in your space already. Let me do one post for you. Let me get a shot off for you and see what they say.
Yeah, that sounds exactly right. I mean, you see a brand, you see what they're doing. A lot of times, and this is kind of a new media thing, a lot of times this stuff at least it first starts off as possibly a trade, where it's like, hey, you make cake and I love cake, so send me a cake and I'll photograph it and I'll throw it up on my social and I get some stuff, we'll kick it back and forth and see how it works. If I get some posts for you, maybe you'll pay me next time. That's what happens a lot. I don't like doing that, but I think that's probably how people do it.
Or you could just
every time Erica walks in here, she's got new sunglasses from somebody that's sent them to her for free.
Yeah, or like maybe I'm shooting a fashion thing and I could throw a jacket from some brand on them and tag them in it.
Yeah,
and then be like, hey, I just did this. How do you feel? Which is funny because I
actually... If you do that, don't come to a critique and say it was for that brand, though.
Yeah, don't lie like that. Don't lie like that. It worked for me a few times, and I did with like cheapish type stuff that makes a big impact, actually. Like colorful but cheapish clothing that would just snap on.
No, it is true. If you tag somebody... They're going to see, and I guess you guys know that because I can tag a lot of people. If you tag somebody, they see that you tag them. So, if you're using a brand, tag it as long as you're not stupid and make sure you do a good job. And to make sure it suits their level. Like if they're a sophisticated brand and you do something trashy with their shit, I probably wouldn't tag them there because you don't want to get, don't want to go against their grain.
Also, speaking to what you were talking about, we had someone come to the critique and tell us they shot for a certain shoe brand, and it was a lie. It was for an actual store, but even when you looked at the shot...
It was for a vintage store that had some of the shoes used.
So, but the thing is that what I'm getting at is that the style of the shot didn't even match the brand they were claiming to shoot for. So therefore, even if they wanted to get them, they wouldn't.
Yeah, which is the only reason why we looked it up, because we were like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then after we were like, wow, that was for that brand. That looks so off-brand.
They wouldn't never go for it. They would never go for it.
But also, if it's a brand that doesn't have anything, like let's say it's a coffee shop. I love coffee. And you're just like, man, these people could probably use some social, then you can probably just create some content and bring it to them, or talk to them about it, make a deal.
You could even say something as easy like, hey, could I just have 1 hour in like the dead time of your coffee house and take a shot at giving a shot? If you don't like it, no worries.
Right.
You have to take a bet on yourself.
Right.
So, how small is Gavin Hoey's small home
Very
studio
small.
for real? It legit is small. When you see Mark Wallace in there, it looks tiny as hell. Because Mark is 4 feet tall.
Well, here's the thing is that Gavin always tells us how big it is, but he says it in centimeters or something, so I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh, it's only 13 feet.
Yeah, 13 feet. So it's like a small garage, just like my garage.
And he actually painted his wall, so it's not even like paper anymore. Yeah. It's pretty funny. Let's see. What do you think about Broncolor 400 Ceros? You know more about that than I do.
I think the Ceros line is okay. It's a pretty decent, Broncolor themselves is a decent brand. I am much more of a move person. Like if you were going to give me Broncolor, I would go for a move pack. I think the Ceros is good, but it's more like the entry level.
Are those battery powered?
It is battery powered. Yeah, I'm talking about it. So yeah, I mean, I don't use it enough to really say, and I hate to talk about things I haven't used a lot, which is why I don't get in depth in it. What I would say is that they're pretty good, but remember that Broncolor has levels of equipment, kind of like Elinchrom, right? Like a D light is not the same as Elinchrom's best light.
No.
And the Ceros is not the same as like a Move or a Scoro pack. So don't get that light thinking, oh man, cheap Broncolor, it's the same. It's not. I mean, you get a Scoro pack that's $12,000. That's something completely different than a Ceros. But Ceros is pretty good.
Let's see. So I'm a weekend photographer. I always wonder why studio walls are always painted white. They're not always painted white, but for the most part,
Neutral is what you want.
it's a neutral color. 1, 2, a white wall can easily become white if we light it, gray if we kiss it, and black if we don't light it. Pretty
That's
much.
true. And also it bounces back light, which gives you more bounce around in the studio, which gives you a little bit less control, but also gives you a lot of fill.
Yeah, like so let's say I was shooting towards the window, I could bounce a light right off this wall into my model as a fill light and still use the regular, the ambient light.
Yeah, I think if I wasn't in a daylight studio where we love how all the white light points around, and I had a choice, I might paint the studio like a mid-gray.
I actually liked my matte black studio back in the day, and I still light as if I shoot in a matte black studio.
Black studio I would only have if I was strictly a product photographer, and I needed that ultimate control. I feel like for people, I almost always want to bounce light, so I like to have some.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's just me.
Well, I mean, we actually just had a conversation about how we always try to block out as much light as we have coming in the window because we're constantly fighting.
Yeah, because basically, if not, I would use the light in the studio every single video, and it would just be like, hey, come to New York on the 12th floor of a building with self-facing windows, and you can do this.
He actually didn't set up a light for 1 year.
Yeah, I did. When I moved in here, I was like,
could I just apologize for everyone else in the UK? We aren't all like that. David Hughes, no problem, man. Chuck Norris doesn't pay taxes. Taxes pay Chuck Norris? Maybe. Will Daniel keep his promise to try some cheaper stuff once he's promised to see what is possible and what cannot be achieved?
November 29th.
Okay.
I'm doing a live demo at Adorama. It is called, in fact, I've done it before. If you roll back.
Is there any hope for Speedotrons these days?
Yes!
Well, that's funny because I use Speedotron. So I have 2 packs in there. I have another pack at home. And I have about 6, 12, 18 heads. So
yeah, Speedotron.
Speedotrons are a
Speedotron.
beast.
Yeah.
They are like the Chevy of lighting. But that's because they're just so dependable.
Yeah.
They've never shifted on me. They've never not fired at the power I want. About the only thing I can say about Speedotron that annoys me is the flash duration.
Yeah.
Is a little long for my taste. But
and there's ways around that.
There is ways around it, but it's...
You got to get a quad head and 4 2,000 watt packs and turn them all down.
Yeah, pretty much. But mine are custom painted.
They are pretty badass. And too bad they're not easily accessible because they'd be cool. Actually, if you watch the video that I did, I don't remember what it's called, but it has a little circle of light on versus eye. You can look for it. Maybe a year ago, I used Seth's Speedotron pack. So yes, I love
Speedlights, monolights, or constant lights. Best investment for a small home studio. Monolights.
Monolights, yes.
I'd say monolights just because you can really grow with them or use them somewhere else. Speedlights, you're going to be flipping through batteries and fighting a small light, and it's a hard light source that you're constantly trying to mimic bigger light. Just use a bigger light. And constant lights, they're not going to have enough power. And most of the time, if you have a model that's not used to being shot, it's a little jarring to be surrounded by like a ton of constant light.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, one of the things I talk about a lot is batteries, and I mean, I actually use a lot of battery-powered lights now. But the reality is that if you're in a studio and you don't have to use battery-powered lights, I definitely would not. I mean, as a choice.
I love Daniel Grip videos. You're welcome for those.
Yeah, what's that idea?
Fuck yeah. We're outside of New York, our major centers for photographers. Do you have any experience in Chicago?
Chicago.
I have experience in Chicago, but not with photography, I'll tell you that.
I flew through Chicago in March of last year.
I feel like any major city has enough going on that you could find ways to shoot. There's always startups. There's always someone trying to do something. Right now, we're in this mecca of like the small do-it-yourself world.
It also depends on what industry. Like, for instance, if you want to shoot more tech stuff, you want to be on the West Coast. You know, like upper Northern California is great for that. You know, you want to shoot more kind of fashion stuff. Here in New York is probably one of the strong points.
Seattle has some strong points too.
Seattle's good. So yeah, I think I've never worked in Chicago. I've been in Chicago for work, but I've never worked in Chicago, so I can't tell you the market there. But anywhere you are that's a big city, there's work. You just have to seek it out.
What type of work's in the story?
Yeah, I mean, if, you know, the auto industry's out there, right? So some of that stuff probably happens.
Are you on the Mevo tonight? Yes, we are.
We are, and I don't have it on the automatic setting because apparently that it's in sick mode lately.
It's in sick mode.
It was. It was going crazy on the last video. It was like, I was testing you guys to see if you'd actually.
What is auto mode? Like it's
well, the
face
one where it
detecting?
follows you, yeah, but it was just like, it had the eyeball Sony detection thing on, and it was like I would like look this way and it'd be like.
By the way, your Sony was freaking out today.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody uses a 6500. Maybe you can help me. For some reason now the autofocus has gone nuts after I've had it for a year.
Yeah, he had the A6500 pointed at him and we were switching, and it kept on juggling.
It does this like quick, like weird autofocus thing, and it seems like it just started doing it.
Can't say the same about the audio. Yeah, I thought that this was going to be the mic and we would have had better audio, but not.
Yeah, the audio is not great. I ordered from Adorama, although it was out of stock, a new Rode double mic system. So normally when you guys see me on the video, I sound good, right? Because I have the audio. I'm going to have a double mic for next time. So John got it for me. John's my computer guy. Major cities. Are you on the media? Color looks great. Yeah, the color's pretty good. Actually, what's funny about that is I'm curious. Well, we're not going to do a test. We have tungsten lights all around, and then an LED filling us.
If you want to shoot the Majestic Moose, New York is not the place. Actually, upstate.
Yeah.
Upstate, there's a bunch of meese. There's a bunch.
Yeah, well, actually, the fox was out this morning. I have a fox. It's crazy. I mean, it's not mine.
I thought you were on a ship in that last video.
Sorry about that.
I gotta see this video.
It's bad.
Which one is it?
It's the model one, right?
I gotta watch
I
that.
actually shot another one that day, and because that one was so sick, I just dumped it and reshot it because it was I don't know what the Mevo was doing, and the problem is I can't see it when I'm looking at it. So the next series I used my Sony with the sling. It was working so well before. I don't know why sometimes it grabs. I changed the punch in. Maybe that's the reason why. I gotta get live streams to help me.
Thanks, Mark MC. Appreciate it. Haven't posted. I just want to say you guys are. If you guys have any questions, ask.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything else, guys.
We're feeding off of you tonight. We have no topic, and we've just been shooting all day. I thought you wanted to ship in that last video. I gotta see this video.
It's pretty bad. I appreciate that you watched. Maybe I'll do animated videos.
You used to do animated stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't animated, they were strips.
There is a comic strip of me. Well, there's 6 of them. And I wish we. Yeah, I'll show you.
I have 2 streak lights. Oh, streak lights.
Oh, streak lights. Okay.
Should I add more 360s or mono lights? I want to expand my options. So the streak light, does that run AC or is it just a pack?
I think they're just packs. You can tell us. I used them at WPPI 3 years ago. They're pretty nice for what they are. I mean, Gavin was using them back then. He switched since. But again, I think that if it's not an AC thing and you're a studio photographer, you probably should invest in AC powered lights. That's what I would do.
I just feel like if you're staying stationary, why fight power? You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. I think battery powered, this is actually the thing. And now because battery powered has become so inexpensive, with many brands producing battery powered lights that are really, affordable, more and more people are doing it. But I used to always say, because it used to be much more expensive,
yeah,
do you really need battery powered light?
I'm picking up the Z6 next week. Do you have any plans for either the Z6 or Z7? I don't, mainly because I don't need a new camera, and also I don't really go for Gen 1 anything, to be honest with you.
Going to possibly doing a video with the Z6? There might be a video coming out with Seth.
I don't think that they're bad cameras by any means, but I have an 850 sitting here in my hand. I don't need, I really don't feel like...
Yeah, I might actually get the Z6.
You might get the Z6.
I'm thinking about it. I haven't used it yet, though.
He has a bunch of Profoto A1s with Nikon shoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he needs to start doing that. But
yeah.
I am pretty impressed with the Z6 speed. I got to play with it yesterday. That was a fast freaking camera, man. And the Z7 performed really well for me in that video. I'm not really... I've never shot mirrorless, really. Except for like some rangefinder stuff, but to change my main to a mirrorless is a bit of a bit of a curve for me.
Yeah, but you do have the SQTs, what they're called, already in that card. Things you could theoretically XQD. Yeah, you could theoretically have as a backup camera or something. But,
no, I could definitely go for it.
I mean, no, I'm with you. If I was, because I'm not heavily into mirrorless myself, except for that squad. So I probably would go with an 850 if I was over a Z7.
I just love this 850 so much that I just don't feel the need.
Okay, so I was shooting Nikon in older videos. That's true. I have always been brand agnostic, for the most part. I like different cameras. I had a D5. That was a Nikon I had. Right?
You had a D4.
I had a D4S, and I had a D5 after that. I actually really like the D4S, to be honest with you. The D5 had the touchscreen, which was really cool. I've also used a D500. Is that the other one, the little one?
D500.
So why am I not using it? So when I was a creative director on staff at Adorama, I had literally a cabinet full of cameras. and I just picked whatever I wanted on that video depending on what I was doing. Now that I am not, and I'm just simply a host, I just have the camera I have, which is the Canon, and I had Hasselblad for a little while. But I'm thinking about buying a new camera because I like the Canon, but I like to mix it up, and like Seth said, I have Nikon flashes.
Yeah, the Z6 for video is a beast camera. You know what's impressive about the Z6 is that it's under $2,000. You're getting 4K full frame.
$9,995.99. It's under $2,000.
Yeah, but you're getting 10-bit video, 4K full frame, N-Log, and you get to use Nikon glass. And if you already have Nikon batteries, like from the 800, 810, 850, you have all the batteries. It
seems like a good option if you're adding a video camera to your Nikon kit.
Yeah, I think it's just a really good option for Nikon people. And it's basically their version of an A7 III.
Is water wet? It depends.
Jesus. How many watt seconds should I get if I get mono lights? I mean, I feel like 400 is a good way to start.
Yeah, between 250 and 500 is usually a good place to start. It's actually really difficult to say because it depends on where you are, which is kind of what I was just saying before about using something in a big studio versus a small studio versus, you can't go wrong with 500, but if you find something that's 400 or 250 or something that's in your price range, then that's probably fine.
For the studio, mirrorless is not senseless. It's just the advantages of mirrorless for the most part is seeing your exposure live. So if you're mixing ambient light with a strobe, it's a little easier because you can make an exposure for your set, for your surroundings, for your atmosphere or environment, and then add your strobe as you see fit. However, what I really like about mirrorless for studio is I never take that camera off my face while I'm shooting sometimes because I'm watching the preview in the viewfinder, and that to me is really fun. However, it does separate you from your model a little bit. It does separate you from everything happening around you a little bit, but it's...
Yeah, that's actually very true, especially if you're doing something odd. Like in some of my, I hate to use the word personal work because it makes you sound like a creep.
In my personal work in the van.
But some of the more kind of like messy stuff that I do where the light's kind of a little bit all over the place, I was shooting a lot with the Fuji, and it was nice to do exactly what you said. I turned on the thing where the preview came up automatically inside my eye every time I took a picture because the model was moving so much within the light, there was pockets of light that if I didn't want to keep having to turn away and look at capture one, so I could look, and actually capture one didn't work with the Fuji, I was able to see, I'd be like, oh shit, no, the light's in the wrong spot or whatever, and I can move it around. So
yeah,
for some things it's really great.
For me, with mirrorless, it feels like I'm shooting from the sensor. From when I shoot with mirrorless, a DSLR, I feel like I'm shooting from the lens more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
like my headspace is more for the sensor than I am with the glass. It's a different headspace, but I wouldn't say that it's senseless, no. How does the Fuji medium format compare to Hasselblad? Also, do you have any experience with digital backs for older Hassel? You do.
I don't like to, and I've said this before, I don't like to do comparisons. Actually, I'm going to make a video about why I don't do comparisons, so I won't get into it too much, but it's different. Fuji has an amazing skin tone and color.
Yeah, it really does.
I think that the Hasselblad has a different kind of skin tone and color. The Fuji feels like a big DSLR to me.
Hasselblad has a warmth to it.
Yeah, there's something about the Hasselblad that still feels medium format, having used, going into the second part of the question, a lot of medium format backs. It feels like that to me. The Fuji feels like my small Fuji, but with a bigger sensor, which is actually really nice. I mean, so both are really good options if you're a Fuji person and you love Fuji color. Yeah, it's nice. But that X1D I love. I think the Fuji is a little bit faster feeling to use, but it's also much bigger.
Well, now we have the 50R. We have the rangefinder version, which is interesting, right?
The giant camera.
Yeah, it just feels like a Pro 2.
It makes you feel like a child.
Well, remember the 6.7s, the Pentax 6.7s? They look like a giant regular SLR.
I remember I looked at a 6.7 used once. I was in a store and I was with the Model X. We were just looking at stuff and I was like, oh, Pentax 6.7, maybe I'll pick one up. And I looked at it and I was playing with it and she looked at me and she goes, that camera's too big for you. I was like, yeah, I'll hire somebody else next time.
I shoot tethered, so I look at the screen. Yeah, we all look at the screen when tethering. What I'm saying is that if you're seeing the EVF, if you're someone that constantly has to look at the screen, it takes those minutes away and you can get these shots more in a row and momentum going a little bit. At least when I was shooting with it. And
it's definitely different. I mean, having shot tethered, with a Sony, which is the only mirrorless I've shot tethered with, it is actually a little bit different too because also... Actually, I'm not sure if the Z6 because you actually didn't shoot tethered with it, right?
I can't shoot tethered, no.
When you shoot with the Sony tethered, unlike let's say a Canon or whatever, you can actually look at the picture on the back of the camera, and I can capture one, which is like awesome. So you don't have to turn around and look at capture one if you're moving around. I think they both have their place, but like I said, I look at the capture one as well.
Who's your favorite photographer and your inspirations?
But let me the old Hasselblad backs. I probably there is an old Hasselblad themselves back that's a 16 megapixel back that's square, and I think they make a current one. They're both pretty good, but you could also pick up Phase 1 backs, like something like a P25 Plus, which is like a 20-year-old back now, is still amazing. But you're shooting 25 ISO, and the screen on the back sucks. And I think you can probably shoot to a card, but it's basically a tethered camera.
Remember when medium format digital had to be shot to a Palm Pilot? Do you remember those days?
Yeah, that was.
You actually had to buy a Palm Pilot.
There was a Palm Pilot. That was the what was that? And had the big box at the bottom. Yeah. So, anyways, they're cool. If you have I was actually thinking about picking one up, an older back, and getting a Hasselblad for it because it's kind of fun. Amazing colors in the old Phase 1 backs. Shitty, like compared to today's noise level stuff. So you're always shooting really low ISO. Studio, shoot tethered, look at the screen. Okay, what's your favorite photographer? Seth Miranda.
Shut up. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I always look at. Well, Avedon, I love. I'll always love Sally Mann. I'll always love Helmut Newton. I really enjoy Glenn Friedman. Was a huge inspiration of my genesis of my career. I just pull from so many photographers I respect that it's like fuck. Like Joe McNally, I always felt like a disciple of his. Like,
yeah, Joe's pretty great. I wouldn't say I have a favorite, like you said. All those are really awesome. I mean, current people that are kind of like working now that I look at a lot. Danny Clinch, a music photographer, is crazy good. And I love Peter Lindbergh as a fashion photographer.
Oh yeah.
I love his black and white stuff. It's like it's so good. Okay.
Yeah. Mirrorless would be nice. Do you test what the light patterns look like with new modifiers and flashes? So how do you test the light patterns of different light modifiers and flashes? You use them.
Yeah, you simply set it up. I mean, generally with me, just like with anything, what I'll usually do is set up some kind of other shoot, and if I have something new, I'll just incorporate it, and then if it works or it doesn't. But I think I've done enough shooting now that I kind of have an idea. So if I pick up like a 4-foot octagon and I have a 3-foot, I don't even bother. Like I kind of know what that's going to do, But if I get something odd or different or something that's special, like when I got the new OCF Magnums that we were talking about, like I want to compare it to the regular Magnum, I literally just set up a shoot where I knew a Magnum would be good. I brought the old Magnum, I used it, and then I switched, and I wanted to see, and that's how I did it.
Yeah, I don't really go that crazy. I just kind of, what do I have on me? What can I use? How can I make this work kind of thing, But I will say that there are brands that I trust more, like Lastolite and Shimera, totally have like the diffusion material down.
Oh, God, yeah.
But there's some brands of softboxes that may be lower cost, but very inconsistent to a point where if you get 3 of the same box, one might shoot warm. Or be thinner.
Eventually you shoot.
Because they got whatever fabric was cheap on the market at the time they built the box is what they used, So
yeah, quality control in some brands is not great. So consistency is not there, which may or may not matter depending on what the work is that you do. But yes, I agree with that. Like if you buy a Shimera, if you go, I'm waiting for the comment now in the video to say it's pronounced. They send you that thing where it pronounces it chimera. It's Shimera. That's how the brand pronounces it. That's how I pronounce it. Don't put that comment. Wow. Anyways, then somebody always puts it every time I say it. If I pick up a Shimera box from any rental studio in New York City and they all have them, because that's what people use, they'll all shoot the same.
Yeah,
and that's what I like.
It's dependable.
Yeah, there's like this dude in Colorado that's sewing that shit in his basement, and like he's good. Or she.
Wait, what are we at? Whoa.
Now
we got Pete. Now you're alive. Now you're all alive. Mirrorless,
No,
do
we
you
got
test
that one.
light patterns? Macro photography question. What software would you guys recommend for those who still do focus shifting manually? Oh, interesting.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea about focus
Nothing
shifting.
tethering wise has done live view well for me.
No, but I think he's talking about the whole idea of shooting multiple levels of focus and then combining it. Isn't that what
No,
you're talking
focus shifting, not focus stacking.
about?
Focus. Aren't you talking about tilt shift? Am I wrong on this?
Oh, I don't know. Would you use tilt shift for a macro? I don't think I've ever done that.
I've definitely seen people do that.
No, interesting. Let us clarify that because I'm unsure. But if it's focus stacking, I don't.
If it's focus stacking, a lot of cameras, like especially the D850, does it in camera really well. Oh, well, not in camera, but it does the intervals, and then their software puts it together really well.
So Nikon has software.
Nikon, and I think there's even a thing in Photoshop that lets you do it.
Yeah, I've never done it. I just suck it up. I haven't had the need really.
But we'll look into that for you.
You're welcome, Robbie.
Have you used the SMDV Apple Alpha boxes? I don't know what that is.
Okay, so Albert Watson, yes, also great. We were just talking about that.
Albert Watson, yes. Yeah.
SMDV Alpha boxes.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either.
Is that a soft box?
Yeah. So yeah, let us know. So the answer is probably no.
Why use a light meter? You meter to take a shot, adjust to get the look you want. Why not just skip the meter and adjust from your first shot? Well, there's multiple. I actually did a whole video on the light meters on IGTV for Adorama. One, multiple lights, being able to control each individual exposure from each light and actually calibrating it. Being able to set up the shot again if you ever had to break it down and put it back together. Just getting the right ratio of highlight to shadow instead of going, well, that looks okay, but if they move 2 inches or 4 inches the other way, you know where you're going with it. It's about precision. It's about consistency. It's about getting it done correctly. It's like saying, well, I can eyeball 4 feet of wood. I'll just keep cutting it at 4 feet, and hopefully if it stacks up after a while, it doesn't. You know?
Or even the idea of cutting one piece at 4 feet and then laying it on top of another piece and cutting it and keep drawing the line, that's not as precise as using a ruler every time.
Yeah, so it's about precision. It really is.
What I would say to that is just in a practical sense, besides that, is that with a light meter, I can walk into an empty room, let's say a corporate headshot, and I got to shoot the CEO. I can walk into the office. I can use a light meter to set all my lights, including my key light, my hair light, everything else to where I know is going to be pretty much right there. Get the grumpy CEO in front of me that doesn't want to be photographed, take the first shot, and he looks fucking perfect. Now, I still will tweak it because I like to adjust slightly, but I don't have to. A light meter is going to put me really close. So getting the first frame perfect is the main reason for me to use it. In fact, if I'm just doing a test, sometimes I don't because I'm lazy and I just, I'll use TTL, whatever, which is also a light meter. But that's the main reason. You can set it up without anybody there.
Well, also, if you're doing zones, like I tend to lighten zones, like my background is a different zone than my foreground and my model, or a lot of times when I'm shooting macro, I want to know, because I believe it or not, I shot white stone Buddhist statues that have very shallow facial features. I need to know exactly how far that shadow is off from that highlight. Yeah, and I need to know the gradation so I can get that face to show up.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, a cover of a magazine is not going to look like it was obviously burned in to have.
Exactly. And also the idea of, on that note, like as far as like zones, is like if you are lighting a background, to get the background even, that's the fastest way to do it. Because you can like literally walk to 5 parts of the background.
Oh, if you're doing a green screen, you better fucking have a light meter. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
So yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Here's another question. My inspiration is the angry photographer. I've never seen him take a bad photo. Come to think, I've never seen him take a photo. Who is that?
I don't know.
Who's the angry photographer? Is that actually the name? Is it a channel?
Is it a channel?
Is it a channel?
Aren't you the angry photographer?
Oh, I thought I was the. When you've been doing it long enough, you're pretty close without a light meter. Anyway, if that's the way you work, have at it. But you know, sometimes you need precision. You guys rock. Well, thank you so much, Walter. Olympus does focus stacking and camera, combines all the shots into one. Yeah, a bunch of cameras do it now. Like we're finally at a point that these cameras have the processing power to do it. Yes, SMDV alpha boxes are round soft boxes that collapse quickly. There's a ton of those on the market.
Yeah,
I mean rapid boxes, easy. Magmod has a freaking box that's round and collapses. So, I don't know. Seth, doing the other sleeve. I got the rest of my life, so I'm sure. I mean,
you gotta get more logos.
I know I gotta get more logos. Well, my back's the last part, but you know, we'll see about next year about doing my neck and throat. We'll see what happens with there.
I might do my other sleeve. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, go for it. Meter is much helpful lighting with white background. It does help, especially if you meter from the back of the head going forward towards the wall, because then you'll know if you're going to have blowback.
Yeah, that's a Gavin thing. We stole that.
Tell him how to do it. You tell him how to do it.
We just did it.
Yeah, but you have to meter for the...
You need to make sure the exposure at the back of their head is not more than your key light, basically.
So if you're... What you basically want is like F11 on the white wall, F8
on the back of their head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's a brand that you don't know, I wouldn't buy 10 boxes. I'd buy one and see if you like it. I mean, there's nothing to say that just because the brain's inexpensive, it won't be good. But
Vanessa Joy.
Oh.
How long does it take to typically learn a new technique? Do you practice? I think that's subjective, right?
Practice. I just wait till somebody pays me, and then I just.
We just kind of they throw shit on our front door, and we go, I guess we got to make this shit work.
That's a good idea. I actually feel like I stumble upon stuff.
You totally are a dumb luck schmuck. It is fucking crazy. And it's mostly because you have people around you going, hey, what if we tried this, Daniel? I don't know, let's try it.
Let's try it. No, but seriously, I love to try stuff. I rarely go, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this and sit down and do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I definitely have seen things and go like, I wonder how they've done it. And I'll try to reverse engineer it and I'll spend a day fucking with it. But most of the time, it's like, it's just another way of applying a theory you already know.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. You need to break down what it is about the thing, and then master those pieces, and then the technique will come.
Oh, the fat bald guy is the angry photographer. Is that Theoria guy? That guy that was like breaking balls about the one card slot all over the place?
Oh, this Beeple only has one card slot.
Whatever, fuck that guy.
Fat bald guy. The fat bald guy is like half the people on the internet.
I know, right? Yes, it is a channel. Okay, can you do a video using a light meter? I picked up an ultrasonic. Okay, Philip, if you need a video on doing light meter, go on Adorama's Instagram, go to their IGTV. It's their first highlight. It's the circle on the far left. And look for the video I did on how to use a light meter. It's sitting there for you, waiting for you. Drop a comment. Let me know you saw it. Are colossal softboxes any better or worse than none? They all collapse. I know.
I feel like kind of actually
they do.
So the idea.
You mean ones that have a built-in mount?
Yeah, they're talking about like easy boxes.
Like easy rapid
Here's
boxes?
the thing: you have to understand that like the softbox didn't exist until like I don't know. It was like the '80s. Like it's literally a relatively new thing, and people from
because you always use scrims. You actually use scrims.
Yeah, or they built like these hard boxes and movie sets, and that's basically what they came from. So they all break down. I don't find it difficult to build a regular softbox, so I'm not a good judge of that because I don't think it's a problem. Personally, I think regular softboxes, the separate speed ring tend to break down smaller because you can take the speed ring off than the ones that collapse because they usually have a big ring in the back. So it depends on what you're doing. I like regular softboxes.
I'll say the one thing about any sort of box has a mount in it, that if something breaks in that thing, that's usually it. Yeah. Like at least with a box, like if I had rod systems, I just get a new rod.
You can literally buy a new rod. You can buy, actually if you look at a Schmear, you can buy each of the individual diffusions again. You can buy every rod separately and the ring.
Also, if it's something that's sewn in, I steer against that because I wreck the front diffusion of my soft boxes like crazy.
Like when you brought it up when that OCF, you were like, oh, it's sewn in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
You were so sad. You're like, oh, it's sewn in.
Yeah, I was like a pro photo box. The front. The thing is that the front is sewn in.
Well, they do that to reduce weight, blah, blah, they say. So it's very specific. I wouldn't get it.
No, I mean, in fact, I never bought boxes that ever had a sewn in front. Some of them were like high-end boxes that I stayed away from, but no joke, shooting special effects, there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown around. And actually, he asked me to pull out my 6-foot Photoflex box the other day, and it was literally like there was so much dried fake blood all over this light that fake blood that the light was going to be garbage. So
yeah, focus stacking. Yeah, I'm not so versed in that. Sorry.
Focus stacking. I can't tell you what software, but I do know that any camera that does do focus stacking as an interval has it. But if you're doing it manually, I'm pretty sure Photoshop has a stacking plugin. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. I don't really do it too much. Can't you put your IGTV videos on here? IGTV is a PETA?
Pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass? Oh.
Come on, learn the technology, the terminology, old man.
I've been going live for 4 hours because of you, asshole. Would like to see you meter video.
Do you pay professionals over practice? Yeah, I do practice all the time, actually.
Vanessa, you always practice. You practice every time you're on a job. You get the shot you need, you get the shot you want, and then you try to do something.
Yeah, and I also I shoot for fun, and I just shoot all the time.
He's having fun. When you guys the camera, there's no camera. It's like he's like fuck.
Yeah, that's true. I do. I swear a lot like that.
All right.
I don't know what extension.
He goes, yep, that's him. That's the Theoria guy. Fuck that guy.
Okay. No, what's this? Extension or peep?
Those are rappers.
Oh.
They both died. I think they're both dead. Yeah, they are both dead. She's like, yes. She goes, yes.
I don't run DMC.
What are you using to light the set tonight? Believe it or not, we're using a 19-inch LED ring light with a diffuser and a total light bouncing into the wall and theater lights.
And there's some theater lights hanging in here.
Honestly, we don't like this.
These are the sexy lights in here on the roof that Paul put in.
Yeah, I mean, they serve no purpose.
Yeah, they suck.
They just keep everything nice and warm. When you're here by yourself, it's kind of like...
It's like, oh, it's nice. You take a bubble bath.
What I do is I actually have a digital projector. I boost into the ceiling, and I play video games on the ceiling and lay on the floor when the job's over.
I have a full video game console that has Pac-Man, and I roll it out.
He has a pinball machine. He just pulls out a big pinball machine. He's like, yeah, it's the 70s, man, all over again.
I have a stack of quarters.
Holy shit. I'm looking for reflections, but can't see any. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel,
it's probably too far away.
I heard you mention in a video Pro Photo OCF colossal beauty dishes are not as good as metal beauty dishes. Can you elaborate why this is? It's the shape of the light.
I don't know if that's what I said.
It's the shape of the light doesn't act like a
what I would
dish.
say about this, and I hate to say, I hate to compare things. I wouldn't say it's not as good. It doesn't. If you're looking for the look of a beauty dish, it's not as good for that because it's not a beauty dish. It doesn't look like a beauty dish. It has a different look. It looks like a mini octa. So is it good? It's okay. If you want it to look like a beauty, if you're looking at shots and you're like, man, I love the look of a beauty dish. Is this as good as a beauty dish to create that look? No. What's good as a beauty dish is a beauty dish, you know. So they're pretty good. If you're gonna buy a console one though, I'd buy the Shimera. Sorry for photo, it's better.
I actually like the soft silver Pro Photo.
It's nice, but it doesn't look like a thing.
The collapsible? Oh, the collapsible?
Oh, no, the beauty dish itself, the actual Pro Photo beauty dish, I hate to say it because I'm a snob and I want to be like, beauty dishes. It is pretty nice.
The soft silver one is
with the dent in it and the brown tape.
The one from the Aerosis. No, but there's like different ones. There's the white, there's the chrome, and there's a soft silver. The soft silver one has like this, nothing looks like it. It's so subtle, but...
No, that's just my old chrome one.
No, that's a soft silver.
No, that's my old chrome one. The one that's in the space, that's my beauty dish. It's like 10 years old. I'm telling you it is. It's layered in dust.
What would be cool to see some colored water splashes? Okay, we beat colored water splashes. We shot water splashes with our mannequin's face reflected in every drop. That is on this channel. I don't know what it's called.
And also, if you want to see just colored water splashes, actually, it's amazing. Don't leave the video.
Oh, we did colored water splashes there.
Did we?
Yeah, we did blue. Remember?
Oh, we did that as well. But also, this is a video with Gavin. I think he's before he was with Adorama, and he does a colored water splash video. Gavin's like 12. It's amazing.
Gavin's 12.
Yeah, he like has a piece of paper. He's like, "Hello, here's a piece of paper." It's actually really good.
Greetings from Mexico. What's going on, Brandon? Great points information on softbox. Looking.
Hold on, your name is Brandon Chipotle, and you're from Mexico. You know, there's a restaurant called Chipotle here that says Mexican food.
Not racist at all. Nope.
Well, no, but it's got Mexican food. Isn't Chipotle Mexican food? It's called Chipotle Mexican.
That's they call me Seth Vodka.
What do you mean?
She gets it. She's laughing.
I don't know what that means, but his name is. I don't know.
Great points information on softbox. I was looking too much at assembly time, and I've not seen a tremendous difference in setup from. So there is. There can be if you're building them from scratch, like an octabox, seeding a fucking rod in through all that skin.
For young kids that can't fucking do it.
You make me build your fucking octabanks inside the event space every time you use them. Are you fucking serious?
That's because you have to put the rods in. Once you have them in there once.
I fucking hate you so much.
No, that's why. Yeah, okay. No, but that's... okay.
I agree Class O is good, but maybe it's just my taste. It just looks different, that's all.
Yeah.
From your experience, what's the approach of choosing the best appealing side to a model's face? Well, don't let them say, this is my good side.
Yeah. Actually, what I do with every single person I shoot, generally, the first time, is I say this. Okay, I'm just going to look at you for a minute, and I'm going to see what looks best, and I literally have them move their face around, and I just pick what I think looks most appealing to me. Yeah, that's how I do it.
New Zealand. Hey, what's up, New Zealand?
Hey.
All right.
Thanks. Whoa. Oh, wow. All right, that's a lot from Walter. What happened? What was his original question? But those must be responses, too.
I don't know what we said to Walter. Water splashes.
Oh, yeah, we did that, so check it out.
No, check it out. What is it called? It's
called
splashes?
Splashes with Seth.
Freezing water. And that was on the fly. That was a good one. I literally didn't think we were going to go live that day. Like, no, we're going live.
We're getting thickener.
We actually have the thickener here somewhere.
And by the way, I like looked on like Amazon and like you can get like a 10 gallon of thickener for like a quarter of what we paid for that little tiny.
But that little thing will last forever.
Yeah.
And it makes decent blood too if you have to.
Oh, there you go.
Are
some obviously easier? Maybe.
I don't give a shit about setup, honestly. Like I care about portability if I have to walk with it, and I care about the quality of the light it's going to give me. I don't care about how fast I get it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it.
It's happening, it's happening, it's happening.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, like, can we do a punch in for that? Hold on. That's what she said. Okay.
You're a dick.
Yeah, I don't actually have a problem, but this is actually a true story. I used to assist when I very first started for this photographer, and she actually she had a really huge Shimira, the large one, which is like 6 feet or whatever, and she actually couldn't collapse it herself. It was like really like.
But that's a huge box.
Yeah, which is fine. So literally, she would only hire me on jobs she had to go on location because I could break it down. Like I would show up at her studio, break it down, go with her to the location, set it up. She'd do the whole. She didn't need me for anything because she could light everything. She just physically couldn't do it.
But I'll say this: if you have issues with setup time and wanting bigger lights like that, think about using umbrellas with diffuser socks.
True.
Because one click, diffuser done, and you have a
Vortex
huge
soft lighter is killer.
Yeah. Or Elechrome? The Elechrome umbrellas with the diffuser are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, Elechrome also makes it nice, but they're 7mm shafts, so if your hole is too big.
That's what she said! Ah! Fuck you! Harry Banana from Japan, do you know if Profoto Universal Remote supports high-speed sync, or do you need the brand remote? I'd say you need the brand remote.
I believe you need the brand remote.
I wouldn't even fuck around when it comes to systems. Like, make sure it talks, because if that remote...
Well, no, he's talking about the generic one. The one that I have.
That's a Profoto remote.
It is, but it doesn't have a place for high-speed sync. So I do not... I think what he means by brand is, like, Canon...
Oh, okay.
I do not believe...
Dedicated remote, you mean?
Yeah, dedicated. I do not believe so, although I will say this. In a Nikon camera, you turn it on high-speed sync inside the camera, not on the remote, so it might work on the Nikon. But I'm assuming high-speed sync has something to do with the extra pins, and that remote only has a center pin. So my thing would be, I'd say no. I mean, I've shot 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 of a second with the Hasselblad, but that's not high-speed sync. Because
I wouldn't say that it does, because while your camera can go auto or whatever, it needs the light to pulse. If the light doesn't pulse, it doesn't know when to pulse.
Yeah, I agree. No, I don't think so. I haven't tried it, but my guess would be no.
Can you guys do some more videos on the Orlit line of lights, the Rover 300, the Rovelight 610, the new 400? So you're asking for all the flashpoint stuff.
Probably not.
It's just I mean...
I don't own it, and they're not giving it to me, so no.
I try to use some of the flashpoint stuff when I go live on Adorama's Instagram, but...
Yeah, although I will likely use something, I have to look at the price point, during the live Adorama stream on the 29th. I'm doing less expensive lighting, I think that's what I call it, expensive lighting. I'm going to do like a very inexpensive light, and then I'm going to do like a mid-range one, and then one's a little more expensive.
Oh, God. Would you say you get the same enjoyment out of photography as you did before it became your career? What is your happy place? I had no fucking happy place! God. Honestly, I'm just really psyched that I'm at a place shooting right now that I feel confident when I walk up, can create what I want to create, teach people, then help them get to a better place with their own photography, and have brands trust me enough to show their gear in a good light because they think I can use it correctly.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a young guy, but I've actually done photography like as a career for pretty much almost my entire like adult pre-college life. So there wasn't really a time before that I was doing it as far as like in school, and I mean I did it when I was a kid. So it's hard for me to know if I like it better or worse now. I'd say I probably like it better than it's my career because I can actually focus on it.
I'll say this, the technology that's in the game right now makes it so much fun. I mean, just like the uphill climb you had to do when shooting film, and like there's no such thing as high-speed sync. Like we just had, there's so many problems that have been solved.
That's true, but I don't know if that's... See, I used to love to like sit there when I like first started and like figure stuff out and like take like my Holga. I was like obsessed with Holgas.
Yeah, I got a few Holgas.
But then I was like, oh, but there's light leaks and it's not sharp and so then I started filtering it and getting precise exposures and then I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like I used to like that. I feel like that of course I was already professional at that point.
But the slowdown is like a privilege now. Like I feel like now I'm like go get it fast pop 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 pop. Now like when we shoot 4x5, it's like that's our play time.
Yeah, that's true. My happy space, yeah, I would say that's, or when I'm just like, whenever I have something new. I love new stuff.
Where did you purchase Sheila? Oh, they know Sheila's name.
Sheila actually was in the studio when I got here, and apparently she's a fairly high-end mannequin, although she has a big crack, which lowers her price, and somebody painted the hand white. But Paul did not want to sell it, even though there was an offer made at one point.
How much?
$100.
Oh no, she's weird.
Yeah, but apparently with the cracks and everything, she's only like knew that mannequin is like $500, but it's kind of beat. But anyways, she came, I believe, with the studio, possibly from Stavros.
Oh, Stavros.
It could have been from Stavros.
Hey Stavros, Pop Monopoulos, where you been, man? Your approach to round faces on models. If you don't have a makeup artist, then how to light a round face isn't makeup artist isn't gonna change a round face, believe it or not. Honestly, stop trying to change your models and start embracing what's in front of your lens. The more you try to trick things and change things, the more unhappy they're going to be in the end. Or, like, let's say you did a corporate portrait and you tried to, like, make someone who you felt had a round face look differently. And then over time, their clients aren't psyched because they're meeting someone through a picture, and then in person, they're not feeling like they're meeting the same person. They're not going to be happy, and you're not going to get that repeat business.
Yeah, in the moment, they're going to be happy that you did the thing that you asked them to do. But better is to explain, or I don't want to use the word convince because I hate that it feels manipulative, but you want people to embrace the way they look. So if somebody had a rounded face and they were like, can you make my face look more narrow? I would say, well, I can, but your round face makes you look youthful. And you give positive reasons why the round face is them, and you try to work with them.
Yeah, the first thing you got to do is make them psyched on who they are and document who they are. It's like you're half a psychologist.
That being said, negative fill.
Yeah, honestly, like pull that light farther away, do a central fill, and then put black on either side to absorb the residual, get the cut line.
That's what they want.
Tight jawline, and you're out, okay?
Forget about what we just said there, that's how you do it.
I like how we knew how to do it like right
Of course we know.
You guys should start a photo comedy show. Does that even exist? That's not even a thing. Stop.
Comedy?
I use the Fuji GFX, and so far the PF doesn't offer one for Fuji.
Oh, yeah. The
Pro Photo remote. You sure? No, there's a Fuji remote for.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure there's a
I thought
Fuji
it was
remote.
forthcoming. I don't know.
There's no Fuji A1. There's definitely an Olympus remote. I'm almost certain there's a Fuji remote. I could be wrong.
If not, I'd get the generic one. I mean, that's what I use on the Hasselblad. It works totally fine.
Do you not like Flashpoint Godox? We don't not like it.
Yeah.
We just have access to other brands that we use.
Right.
Pro Photo, I use Speedotron from like the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have an amazing sun pack flash in my...
I have a Comet, motherfucker. I have a Comet pack, so fuck you.
I have,
Good day from Australia. I'm over the fat bald guy and his negativity. I am not made of money, but what would you laugh? I love when she laughs. I'm not made of money, but what would you recommend for someone starting out as a strobe or softbox combo? Jesus.
Starting out doing what?
Yeah, what are you shooting? Because if you told me you're shooting product versus like, I mean, fuck, man, like.
Yeah. But the thing is that each piece of equipment is good for different I mean, everything can do everything on some level. You can do whatever with a speed light. You can do whatever with a big studio light. But, you want to use what's going to be best for what you're doing. So a little more information.
I'm using the Ceros L800s, but the batteries suck. The batteries don't suck. It's a high-powered unit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't used it with the battery. Did we use the Cirrus 800 with the battery? I think we might have. I didn't have a problem. What do you mean by suck? Like it's too slow, or like it dies really quickly?
If it dies really quickly, think about what you're really getting out of this light, though. How much power you're getting out of this light on a battery, like that.
Yeah, I don't really. I can't say I haven't used it enough to say.
Are there caveats with mixing speed light with the moonlight? Holy fuck! Okay.
Well, I'm thinking they meant monolight because my autocorrect always.
Oh. I was about to say, like, oh, that's an interesting way to think about it. I was about to start sucking.
Yes,
actually.
How do you make the face thinner? First of all, I shouldn't do that, actually.
First of all, you need that Speedlight Super Blue for fucking moonlight. So one thing, if you're talking about monolight, not moonlight, two things. One, the speed light and the monolight, if it's a reputable brand, will match. Like the A1 with the Profoto B1X, those color temperatures match. But if I used something like a Godox or whatever, there's odds are that their speed light shoots bluer or colder temperature than the monolight, and therefore it's going to be hard to mix unless you want to play games with half or quarter cut CTO gels till it matches. Also, watch your distance of speed light to the monolight. So it's tough, right? Like the speed light's a dense, small light. It's going to hit like a brick, and then the monolight has more of a spread. So your distance of your speed light is going to be different than your monolight, and you have to play games with that as far as the light quality. The exposure is a different story. I could go on and on about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing would be, besides all that, which is all really important, is that your speed light's going to be running on some kind of battery. Your monolight's going to be running on the wall, I'm assuming, which means that the monolight's going to recycle way faster, even a battery-powered monolight, which means that you want to probably, if the speed light has a capability to let you know when it's ready, like a beep or something, do that. Like when we used to do like big studio setups, when lights were much slower, and actually, believe it or not, there was packs that didn't, oh God, the Norton packs didn't have a beep in it, so there was like a little light that came on when it was ready, so one of the assistants would have to stand next to the slowest pack and go, ready, ready, but that's what you do. You basically, on your slowest light, you want to know when that one's ready. So know the speed light's going to recycle slower, so be wary of that.
Yeah, you always want to make sure the slowest light is the ready light. So you always make that one beep. Like whatever's on the highest power, make that your beep, because no matter what, everything else would have recycled by the time that one recycles.
Yeah, and I actually see a lot of people like setting up all the lights to beep, which I guess is good because you want to know they all fired, but that gets confusing with me because like beep, 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 it's like, okay, what happened?
It's also like it gets if you're shooting someone that's not used to being shot, it's another thing that's like psychologically weird for them.
What I usually do is like beatbox with it, so it actually goes into. I'm like,
no, because he's white as fuck. Nope, not gonna happen. Nope,
right.
no.
Honestly, I didn't know it was rhythm.
Battery after 6 months are dead. Oh, for the Ceros?
Oh wow, that doesn't sound right. I probably would send it back to them.
I would talk to Broncolor, and also you might have to condition those batteries. Like you might have to burn them out before you charge them the first time.
Yeah, no battery should die in 6 months. I don't care what brand it is.
Yeah.
So if that's happening, you need to speak with them.
How would you mount two B10s on a single giant umbrella? I've been looking for a T-shaped light stand. Oh, there is. There's a C-stand. There's a Matthews.
You're using one in the space, except you have the L one.
Yeah.
It's a Matthews. Actually, it's called it's called the triple header. It holds three.
Yes.
Sits in the middle and it has 3 pieces, and then that's how you do it. I put the umbrella bracket in the center and put the speed lights on either side.
Yeah, the Matthews triple header. Yep, it exists. It's a really nice.
I'll do it in my next grip video.
I'll do it in my next grip video. But I think that there also is. No, you have to put an umbrella adapter on it then. No, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but that's the simplest way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the other way to do it is take one C-stand and just to turn the arm sideways. And
also, what are you doing with 2 B10s to make 500 watt-seconds of light? Why don't you just do a one single B1X?
Well, because he has 2 B10s.
But what made you go for the B10s? I'm asking you. What made you go for the 2 B10s over having just the B1? Especially since you probably get a B1 even used now.
Yeah, well, maybe he already has, or maybe he wants them.
I'm just curious what made you get that set.
I am curious too, yeah. You definitely send it back. I mean, one of the things you're paying for with premium gear
support
is exactly that, support. Like if you buy something, a Profoto, you buy a Broncolor, you buy any of the premium brands, what's the premium brand, Ellen Chrome. If that shit is even acting up a little bit, you need to be on it and be like, whoa, what the fuck? Like I just paid a lot of money, you need to fix this. That's what you're paying for.
Well, I will have to switch to Adorama now. Do you guys use Pro B Plus heads? I don't.
What's that?
Isn't that the?
Oh, you mean the packs?
Yeah.
No, I have an acute system, and then I used to rent the Pro systems, but for my studio, the acute was totally fine. I didn't need the super short flash duration.
Although when Cliff brought those to Inspire Week, that motherfucker had 3 heads running into the biggest umbrella I've ever seen in my life. Freezing action.
I know.
That was sick.
Well, I don't know if he still has it, but Joe had a B4, which is the battery power pack. That thing was
B4.
Yeah, that's the battery power pack. That's the big battery power pack. Like it's basically
I thought the D pack was.
No, it's the battery. It's the battery version of that pack, and it's actually the.
Isn't the D4 the name of the battery pack?
Was it D4? Might be D4. I don't know.
They're always letters and numbers. It makes no sense. Mainly, I can fit both lights in one backpack. The room to spare, especially backpacking the Peruvian mountains. One B1X limited me. I actually took the B1X in mountains and I felt limited. Okay.
That's true, having 2 lights. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Oh, well, if you're hiking around, I don't know that what we just said would work.
Actually, yeah. So what we're actually telling you looks like something came off a rack of a retail store that sells like clearance items. It really does. It's like chrome and squared out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you might be able to get one.
Oh, there you go. You okay, Bubby? You okay, Bubby?
You might be able to get one of those things that holds multiple umbrellas. A good one, not a shitty one. And put studs on the shoes. You'd have to try it.
You're trying to get a lot of light out of a travel pack. That's the problem. What size umbrella are you trying to use with the two B10s? Just out of curiosity.
It's the B4. Yeah.
It's the B4. But I've had some issues with the Pro B Plus.
The heads,
what are the issues you're having with the Pro B? Pro B Plus. What are the actual issues?
Those are the new heads.
Time to do some liquid liquid nitro with shattering. Wow. That's a little nuts. It'd be cool to do that with an apple. You know, that's the typical.
Oh yeah.
You freeze the apple. I like to do it with an egg, maybe. See what happens there.
Can you just buy that stuff? Is that legal? I don't know if that works.
I feel like you could, but then there's also like the psychopath that in New York would just throw it in some lady's face.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think it's easy for us to get.
Yeah, it's probably not easy. I know there's that guy that puts that hot ball and everything.
Hot ball.
Yeah, he like heats up this ball that's made out of like nickel or whatever, like 20,000 degrees, and he puts it on all kinds of shit. And that's pretty awesome. So if you haven't seen that, check it out.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Just be wary about Googling hot balls, because I'm not sure what will come up. But it's like a nickel.
Daniel's website will come up if you Google hot balls.
Let's try.
You Google the hot balls.
Okay, cool. Any other questions, guys? We're cranking. See, it's nice when we actually have people in the chat room. That's so funny. I can't believe that we're unlisted. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, you're sorry, motherfucker. I'm here chatting away to like two people.
Hey, listen, they got an exclusive.
And he was gonna blame me.
I was like, damn, Seth, you suck.
Yeah, apparently I suck. We have 60 people.
When Marissa was here,
I'd use a 5 to 7 foot umbrella. You would backpack with a 7 foot umbrella?
That's badass.
I haven't had a chance to use the B10 mountains yet, but okay, Marco, we need to see what you're shooting.
Yeah,
I have to see what you're shooting in these mountains with a 7 foot umbrella. That's fucking awesome.
That is pretty badass.
Do you have an Instagram, Marco, that we can see some of these shots? It misfires? Oh wow. ProPhoto fixed it for me under warranty, but now it's out of warranty period, and I think the issue is returned again. That's weird.
What do you mean misfire? Like it doesn't fire?
Does it not fire or does not see the trigger? That's two different issues. So.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I wonder if it's the head. I don't know. I haven't had any trouble with it.
That sucks. Well, you can email Cliff Hausner.
Oh my God, don't. He'll kill you. Say Seth sent you.
Can you explain TTL? Comfortably using manual flash and metering out, but I want to know TTL. So TTL stands for through the lens, meaning that when you're ready to take the shot, what you don't see is that before the shot is taken by the camera, your light actually emits a controlled amount of light. Your camera will read it off your subject as a reflectant, then set the camera, will set your light to the proper power in relation to whatever f-stop you're using. So if I'm using f8 and I shoot Dan and it gives me an exposure, if I change it to 2.8, my light will automatically change its power based on what it thinks I need. But it doesn't know what you're shooting, so it's easy to trick it. If you're shooting the light from behind, it can easily overexpose. If you have light behind your subject, it can easily underexpose. So it's like not a fail-safe, but it's a good place to start.
Which is why you have exposure compensation.
Yeah, so it really is just it'll always fluctuate the power of your light, so it actually takes control out of your hands.
Exactly, and the thing about TTL is that you're using the camera's meter. That's really the most important thing to remember. So if you're used to using your camera with no light, and you're using the camera's meter, using exposure compensation and stuff, TTL will probably work great for you. What I would say is this: it's good when you're doing things where you need the exposure to change. Like you're running around with a flash on your camera, people are moving back and forth within the distance to your light significantly. That's when you want to do it because they're moving, so you want your light to change. If you are shooting something that's stagnant, somebody's sitting in a chair and you're making portraits of them and they're not going to move, I would switch to manual as soon as you get your exposure locked in. I wouldn't use TTL for that. My friend is a chemist. Oh, cool. Great job, guys. Okay, thank you. Your friend is a chemist. That's cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Philip. Yeah, drop a comment on the IGTV video.
Somehow you can watch IGTV on the browser now on the computer because you sent it to me. I don't know how I did it.
Instagram Nick Van House. I have a limited amount of shots on the mountain when I'm trying to work.
Check back for round 3.
I'm shooting above my weight class. We really want to see what you're shooting with 2 B10s in the mountains, bro. That sounds fucking epic.
That's pretty cool.
You can adjust the TTL ratio on most triggers. Yeah, you can adjust the ratio,
Yep.
but it does meter every time you take the shot. So even if I say go one stop lower than you think, it still has to make the thought of, well, where is that exposure? If you are wearing a dark jacket and a white shirt and you take a shot with TTL, it'll give you an exposure. But if I open that up and it sees all this white reflecting back, it'll change the exposure of that flash. But my skin hasn't changed. It'll actually underexpose. It does happen. Right. It does happen. So
yeah, I mean, you have to watch it because it's a good.
I'm not knowledgeable enough to identify the issue, but it seems to me like it's an ignition issue.
So the flash isn't firing. So it's somewhere between the flash. I mean, you can also bring it to an authorized repair. I mean, I don't know where you are, but like Flash Clinic, for instance, in New York.
Flash Clinic closed.
Oh, did they? Well, someplace like Flash Clinic, where they can fix it for you.
I would contact Pro Photo. They'll tell you a reputable repair shop.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too expensive to fix it relative to buying a new head.
Or you can just put it on eBay and say sell for parts.
Man, they buy a new one.
Yeah. That's why it was to set the exposure mode in the camera.
Everyone should have one TTL strobe. I don't disagree with that. That's why you have to set the exposure mode in the camera. Oh yeah, of course. I don't agree with spot metering being the right way to use for TTL. I don't usually do that, but okay. I mean, if it works for you, I'm not going to.
No, I wouldn't. It could help for what I'm saying, but what I'm really trying to tell you is it's taking the control out of you. So if you're trying to do something and it's constantly something that's fluctuating, like the power of the light, because it's going to see little subtle shifts, it's something that's going to constantly change your actual exposure.
Right. You know? So if you're doing, let's say, a catalog, so we'll give a perfect example of something. You're shooting 50 exposures of somebody against a background doing just different poses in an outfit. If you shoot TTL in theory, you may have 50 different exposures. They'll all be acceptable, but they won't all be exactly the same.
Right.
So when you go into, let's say, Lightroom or whatever to make your adjustment, you're going to literally have to look at every picture. If you have a set manual strobe, once you know that first one's good, you can make that first adjustment, sync it, and they're all done. That's the reason to not use it for something like that. Yeah. If you're shooting an event and everything's moving around or subjects are moving, then TTL is great.
Yeah.
You'll see that I often use it just to get myself established because the Pro Photo has it in there, and then I throw it into manual.
I'll use TTL when it's a mixed lighting scenario, and that's about it. Personally. But that's me. It's a personal choice. You live on TTL, more power to you.
You're right. Big roads on the outside are windy. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, for sure you do TTL for ornament. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I often use it because TTL is a meter. That's also the thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, you don't use a light meter. If you're using TTL, you are using a light meter. You're using the meter that's in your camera. There's a big difference between having a manual flash and guessing at the exposure and using TTL. Like, it's definitely different.
And TTL's come a long way.
Oh my God, yeah.
When it first came out, holy shit, did that suck.
Now they have 3D matrix color metering.
I know, it's fucking nuts. It seems to be much more reliable than the Pro B. Okay. Just purchased a radio trigger and tested it tonight. Works fantastic. But I noticed that when a Nikon speed light is on the receiver, it says it stays in balanced TTL. I don't know what that answers.
Let's see.
The manual says spot meter will change it to regular TTL. However, this will not. This only what?
On the receiver? What receiver?
Balanced TTL is for matrix metering. It doesn't exist in spot metering because it's not balancing anything. It was just looking at the subject and not the scene. Never rent Pocket Wizards. They are unreliable rented. That doesn't sound right.
Rent from a good place and you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's really the rental house is the definitive how the gear is treated and cared for is how everything is.
Yeah. I've never had a problem renting Pocket Wizards, but, whatever.
The manual says spot meter change.
I don't understand this question. Did we miss the first
Jim,
part?
I'm missing
Yeah, we missed
what
the
your
first
question
part of
is.
your question.
Where is this?
It sounds like it's on. You're putting a flash on top of a radio trigger. If you're putting a flash on top of a radio, like a trigger on top of your camera and then a radio on top of that, and you're having issues, I'm not surprised. Would be my answer.
No, they're putting a speed light on top of the radio trigger.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's a shoe mounted. So like they're saying that there's the radio and then they can mount. There's another.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, exactly. If that's what you're saying and it's not working, I'm not surprised. Is what I'm going to say.
There's too much communication.
Yeah, the pass through on those things has never been reliable. Even the Pocket Wizard ones, I don't think they're.
However, you have to be mounted to a camera shoe. Yeah, because your camera's trying to say something to the flash, and there's something in between it. and your trigger's trying to do something else. How much are you affected by gas at the point of your? I don't understand.
It depends on how much milk you drink.
How much are guy?
Gas, gear,
Harry
acquisition.
Banana. I don't know what you're asking.
That is a gear acquisition syndrome.
What does that mean?
It means you want to buy shit.
How much are you guys affected by gear? How much do I want to buy shit? Honestly, I feel like I've used so much shit that I want to like minimize what I'm using and just use what works because I've tried all this shit.
Yeah,
and every time they come up with some kind of new modifier, I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of like a little bit different than this thing I already own.
Yeah,
so
it's like there's a lot of conversation about collapsible soft boxes, but if you had just bought a Westcott collapsible, what are they called?
Easy box?
No, Easy Box is the last level. What's the Westcott one?
The Westcott
Rapid
one is
Box.
Rapid
If
Box.
you just bought a Rapid Box like 5 years ago, you wouldn't need these 17,000 different brands. They're all making the same fucking box. It's
Yeah.
like, they're all the same thing. For the most part. I mean, there's different quality levels.
What does that say? What's the favorite collaboration shoot you ever did together? How did you meet? I think my favorite collab is the staircase.
Yeah, me too. That was fun.
I mean, that was such a beast, and we got it done in 45 fucking minutes.
And that guy was like, "It's my cable."
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go very far back on this channel and look for the
Tether tools.
Tether Tools Case Air and holy shit. Speedlight grip.
Yeah,
It's
Speedlight. It was grip. Speedlight grip. I'll put my feet up.
It's two videos, each one about with the same dancer in a stairwell. Check that out. We're really proud of that one.
Yeah, with the color down the thing. It was actually good.
Yeah.
You're like, it forms a vortex.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, man. We only had one lav mic, so we had to trade off. I had to be silent Bob. Like, fuck you.
And then I was silent when you did. It's actually really funny. Actually, if you watch the video, you might be able to pick that up now. But I think nobody really noticed. We were just like,
yeah. Go on this channel. Look for the dancer with the blow. Oh, actually, I have the photo right here.
yeah, of course he does.
No, we have it here.
No, I know we do. You guys are affected by gas. What's your guys' favorite collaboration? You know what? I'm gonna say okay, good.
This one, guys.
Yeah, I do really like that one. That is pretty awesome.
This was the collab. Oh man.
Oh, you got the ring light in there.
There we go. This one, and it is on, and this one.
Oh yeah, and that one too. That was cool too because we hung the camera with the case air.
So
that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's this. Yeah, my camera with 13 fucking floors.
You're like, this doesn't suck. No, I'm just kidding. No, we had never used it before, which is like, oh my god, this is actually kind of cool.
How did we meet? So when I was, I heard of Dan actually through the grapevine shooting around different rental studios. And then I was going to Adorama buying stuff, and I actually met Dan, and I knew what I wanted to do. He knew what gear existed, and it just kind of kept on working out. And then he just kept on growing the Adorama Pro department. I kept on going there because he got me exactly what I needed all the time.
Yeah, that's how I met. Seth came in, and I was like, fuck, this guy's good. I think I love that tether tool thing because that was one of the first things we did. That was like, we did the I don't represent Seth Miranda first.
That was my first video.
But that was one of the first things we kind of did like offsite. But I kind of like the thing that we just did, which unfortunately you guys can't see because there was no video. But I loved when we did the Eric's booth.
Oh, the Eric's booth was badass.
Just because I love that you're just, I'm from Brooklyn. Fuck you.
Yeah, but my favorite, the Adorama Presents thing was really funny because he didn't know what I was like shooting live. You'd have seen shit I've already shot. And then he let me do a bunch of things. And then at the end, I was like, oh, let me try this as one thing. Boom, and like got it. You're like,
yeah, that was
go live now.
Right. It was really good.
Yeah, so if you didn't see that, Adorama Presents Seth Miranda. Yeah. And you'll see our very first ever video together.
Yeah.
Ever.
It was a little bit of a mess because we tried a different technique, so the video's a little grungy, but it's pretty cool though. I still like it.
Yeah, and then there's, look for this video on the channel.
Yeah, that one's a little cleaner. That was really fun though. We hung all the gear.
This was definitely
You were like, did you just drop my speed light?
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, yes, I did.
Alright, so what else?
Okay.
Speed light directly connected to the camera. I don't know what the answer to that one is, man.
When on the receiver. When not on the receiver.
What does that mean though?
I'm not 100% sure. What receiver are you even using? That's really the question.
The only option is balanced TTL. I believe that because none of those have ever worked for me. I'm sorry, but like...
Well, when you're doing TTL off camera, what receiver is this? Let us know that because I have no idea. Okay.
B10 definitely generates a lot of gear acquisition syndrome.
Yeah, the B10 is pretty nice.
I will be probably acquiring some of those.
Yeah, so there is that.
Have you used the PW Mini TTL, the Flex TTL 5 with Nikon 105 1.4? Mine will not sync past 400. I have not.
I am not surprised.
The Pocket Wizard?
Yeah. Is it supposed to? Do they say it does high-speed sync? I can't imagine.
If it doesn't do high-speed sync, why would it sync?
Yeah, but also you have to remember that a radio signal is not gonna, like especially older stuff, because those Pocket Wizards are crazy old when it comes down to the technology. That's like super early stuff. So like I wouldn't doubt it if the radio is just not fast.
I just bought a B10 to replace my Flashpoint AD600 Pro. Love it so far. The LED is excellent. I also like the app. I'm waiting on an A1 for Sony to come out next year. Just to give you a heads up, I think that A1 for Sony got pushed again. There is an issue with the licensing for the shoe. And
yeah, Sony's becoming more and more difficult to get stuff with. I've heard this from other brands, because now that they're kind of like, I don't want to say that
blowing up. I mean,
they're blowing up. That's what I say. Like they've been blowing up, but now they've reached this level where it's like, hold on, like everybody wants to collaborate with us. We got to like get in line, guys.
Well,
so I think Sony's slowing shit down a little bit.
But they also don't want.
Also, they probably want you to buy their shitty.
That's the
flashes.
thing, is they actually are putting their own speed lights out now, trying to.
Yeah, and their flashes up to this point have not been that good. I
and
hate to say
expensive.
that.
Really.
Actually, they have a great TTL system, but they're very crazy weak.
Well, their spread is weird.
Yeah.
The light spread on
Yeah, not very happy. I remember I did a live thing on speedlights with we used the Sony because they asked me to, and I'd never used it before. Normally I bounce like a Nikon off the ceiling and show that like, okay, it works, but it doesn't look very good. The Sony, I couldn't even get an exposure. It was like not nearly powerful.
Least favorite type of photography work that you still do for money. You know, I used to say product, but now like I don't have to worry. I'm here by myself. I can eat an apple, take a shot, walk around, bite a sandwich.
Yeah.
Now it's like whatever. But I think if I had to say that one thing I don't like shooting is when I have to. I hate saying it like this. I just don't like shooting headshots.
He's about to open a headshot studio.
I know. Well, no. Like
I don't understand what you're saying.
no, like the forced headshots, like
The generic.
like the generic that I had to. I better make the rent on the studio this month. What can I get in there? Kind of shot, and it's mainly because people that want headshots don't want headshots,
No, you're right.
and you have to convince them that what they're coming to you for, that they.
I'm like totally in an easy chair.
Yeah, you're chilling.
I'm chilling right now. I make my legs up.
But there are headshot sessions that are fucking amazing. I
Well,
love
that's the
shit.
thing, right. I
The
feel
actors,
like, it's hard. I mean, I hate to say it. If there's any day that like I'm not liking what I'm doing, then I should just slap myself in the face, because what the fuck, I'm getting paid to be a photographer.
Yeah, I always think about civilians, right? Like they got to go to a cubicle, they Instagram their lunch, they look forward to a week-long vacation somewhere so they can drink somewhere else instead of here. They have nothing to look forward to. Me, I'm like, I think I'm going to fling paint on hot girls today.
Yeah.
Like, I can't hate it.
Yeah.
I feel so fucking privileged, and that's half the reason I want to fucking educate when I get... The reason I do the demos, I want, like, you bought a camera, I'm going to show you how fucking awesome this is.
Yeah. It's
You
true.
know, it's that simple.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So I meter my lights, adjust them correctly, then in Lightroom I hold shift and double click exposure, and it generally increases my exposure by up to 2 stops. Is this just a Lightroom's interpretation? Is your screen calibrated also?
Meter my lights and adjust them correctly. Then in Lightroom I hold shift and double click exposure, and it generally increase. What do you mean? You're doing like an auto exposure?
How does it know what your exposure should
Oh God, no. Listen, if you're doing, this is also the thing with histograms. If you're using a computer to decide your exposure, it's looking at the entire scene. You're lighting for your subject.
be? It also does know what you're shooting.
Yeah, so no, if you think it looks good, fuck what they say is good.
Boy, you're really
they
relaxed
mean-
tonight. Look at you. Totally.
I'm told that
you're
my
cursing and shit.
I wish I,
In today's chaotic political climate, do you find solace in being a photographer that offers beauty into the world, seemingly starved of it? No, I don't. I actually often shoot horrific things.
I mean, actually, I'm going to say yes, but I don't. Not for that reason. Like, I don't think that people are looking at my work going, "Oh, now I can feel good about." But the person that's sitting in front of me in the moment, if I can make them feel good about themselves, that's enough for me.
I will say, like, no matter how hard a shoot gets, if the person that you're shooting comes around and just is like so fucking amped that you can't think that you're doing anything wrong in life. I'll say that.
They sync with my other AFS-G lens, just not the E lenses. I have no idea what any of that means. That sounds like a lot of letters.
I don't know what the fuck any of that is.
Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of thing you're going to want to go. Hopefully, if you live in New York, go down to REM, like literally to one of the camera guys. They'll be able to help you. They like without being there, it's hard to.
Yeah, but that might even make sense because AFS is the newest.
But aren't E lenses Sony lenses? Am I confused?
No, that's E mount. I never heard. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Thought on Orlet products. I never used them.
I did the launch video for Orlet. It's entry level stuff.
What are the best 3 primes you ever used with a Nikon? 105 1.4.
Oh my god, yes. 105 2.5 macro.
58 1.
What's 2.4?
The 58 1.4 was really great.
Yeah, the 58 is great. I did a video on that.
14 2.8.
Yeah, also a great lens. But I like the old 105 too. The 2.5 macro.
I have the 2.8 macro.
Which is the new one, right? But the 2.5 is the old one, the silver one. I really love that lens because it's not as, it's sharp as hell for its day, but it's not as sharp as modern lenses. And as we know, I don't like lenses that are too sharp.
Macro to me, macro lenses I pull out because they're sharp.
No, I know, but I use that one for
I know everyone shoots differently, but how much Photoshop skills are needed? Like Gavin and the guys who do composite shots versus in camera or on set kind of work.
It depends on the work you do.
Or your style. Like I just don't want to do anything in post ever.
Yeah, I suck at Photoshop.
I just don't want to sit there looking at a screen. I want to get on with my life.
Well, the thing is, I would be good at it if I cared. You know, that's the thing. If you like Photoshop, but also you have to decide, like, okay, if you want to shoot a thing that's not possible to shoot without Photoshop, then you need to do Photoshop.
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
mean, you know.
Have you ever experienced a shutter die in the middle of a session? Do you always have a backup? Do you trust the shutter life numbers that manufacturers promise these days? It's funny because I always was a big believer in having like 2 backups.
Oh, AFSE. Okay, it's all good. I see. So it's not AFS. Okay, I got you. So it's AFSG and then AFSE, not just E. I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. Yes. Okay, go.
So I actually think they're conservative on shutter counts personally.
Yeah.
I've had 1 shutter break on me like my entire life, and that's because of physical damage, not because it just failed. No, but I do wonder about pixel death.
Yeah, but now they have the pixel thingy where they fix it. Most cameras have a thing where it goes over and remaps the pixels on your thing, so unless you lose a lot of pixels.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's somewhere inside your menu.
No, I mean, it's always good to have a backup. I try not to sell all my cameras off. I try to keep something. Right now, I'm only down to my 850, actually.
Right, but the thing is, if you get a job that it's necessary, you can always rent. That's the beauty of being in New York City. You could literally live in New York and not own a camera if you were willing to like run to the rental house every time you did it.
Well, that's what's funny is actually, technically, you haven't owned a camera in a while.
Well, I have my Leica.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, people loan me cameras, so I don't buy cameras. I mean, I don't mean like I don't buy cameras.
People just bring them to my balls.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so no, I've never had a shutter die. Although I have had a hot shoot on me on an old camera.
I've had a shot shoot die.
But when I was a photo assistant, I was on a job and we were gone for 40 days in Europe shooting these advertising campaigns, and the photographer used to use 5 Nikon bodies.
Jeez.
And they would be numbered 1 through 5. And every time we shot something, we'd shoot. We kept track of what rolls were shot with what bodies or whatever. And when we got back, there were some issues with the film. And when we looked back and traced it through the things, 2 of the bodies had issues with the shutters during the shoot. And luckily, because we shot with 5 bodies and it wasn't consistent enough that it actually ruined it, the shoots were saved because of that.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, if you, especially in the days of film where you couldn't fucking see it, I mean, 5 bodies is how we did it.
Yeah.
And we used to have these tech sheets. I probably have one somewhere. I could show you guys. So basically, you'd write the shoot, and then you'd number the roll to go with it, and you'd say like all the filtration you were using, whatever. So if the photographer later on was developing the film and saw anything weird on it, they could like go back and reference it. That's how we did it. But anyways, that's the only time that's happened to me. I had a hot shoot go on a job, but do I usually keep a backup camera? Yeah, but I don't match cameras, even though a lot of people do that, because I like variety. So generally, I'm shooting with multiple cameras. If I'm doing like a job, like a catalog, I'll rent a matching camera for that job. But I don't own usually 2 of the same camera. I almost never have done that.
I usually keep my earlier generation camera as my backup and blah blah. But in the film days, I always kept a Nikon. Well, then I ended it with the F6 and an F100, and my F100 always had black and white in it.
Yeah, like that's it. That's kind of why I do it. Like I'll shoot like if I'm doing a portrait or something, I'll use like my Fuji X100
Nice.
and like the Canon, let's say, and I'll just go back and forth between the two cameras. Not because one's technically a backup, but because they each have a different feeling. And if one did die, I could keep shooting. Okay. So yeah, I don't know the designations of lens. So so the newer lenses it's not working with.
I don't know.
That's what you're saying. I have no idea.
I honestly don't have a good answer to that.
I'm surprised Pocket Wizard's not better on the customer service. But
I also-
if you are in New York, go to Panorama. They will help you.
I also have a hard time troubleshooting when it's not in my hands.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like, hey guys, there's a specific make model of a portable stand that you recommend for a battery-powered monolight?
Yes, Matthews Reverse.
Well, we both own that, right?
Yep. I used to like the Manfrotto ones, but the Matthew ones are a tiny bit taller and much stronger. Though they don't have the screw on the top, which is kind of a downside. But
Yeah. When's the
7
last
feet.
time you shot a roll of good old film? Probably the beginning of this year, actually.
I think I shot maybe like a month ago or so. I shot some medium format.
We shoot a lot of instant.
Yeah, I do. I like film. I shot some in my my sexy camera.
My sexy
my
camera.
Korean's go. You know the camera I'm talking about.
The Super D?
Super D. I was like, look at my Super D.
I let my wife hold on to my Zeiss Milvis 51.4 for 2 seconds. She dropped it.
Oh.
Now my focus ring is jammed at the infinity side.
I would repair things locally.
Who can I send it to repair? Don't, just shoot an infinity.
I was going to say, you could just walk around and do street photography. But if you want to get it repaired, I would say local. Bring it local. Why local? Because I wouldn't send my... It's a lens. Walk in there and show it to them. Get a real bead on it. Sending shit off is like... Unless you have to.
What laptops do y'all use to tether with? MacBooks?
Yeah, I have the MacBook, whatever the... Well, it's not the latest. I think they came out with a new one now. But I have the one with the strippy...
Mine's from 2015, so don't go by me.
Yeah, it's... yeah.
Holy fuck, man.
It's got the... what do you call it? The
these
solid
are
state
Macs.
drives, USB-C. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you use that Matthews reverse stand, just know it's a travel stand, and you can flatten out those legs as much as you need. Just make sure you put some weight on there. Put your bag on it. Something like
Well, yeah,
that.
I mean, he's asking for a travel stand.
Z7 versus D850. Oh, jeez.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it depends on what you want to do, right? I like the D850, but if you're looking to go mirrorless and you're in Nikon, the Z7's a great camera. The 105 1.4 versus the 70 to 200 2.8, two completely different lenses.
Yeah.
You're asking something like completely off the radar.
Yeah, it's like, would you eat ice cream or mashed potatoes? They both have that same Scoopy look.
Oh my God, Vanessa Joy's making me cookies.
Oh, nice.
She
Not
said-
cookies. Oh, what the hell? I want some.
She's making me chocolate on chocolate.
Vanessa, actually, I don't really like chocolate on chocolate. Could I get some nuts in that?
Vanessa Joy fuels us. We just want to let you know that.
She's the best.
She's actually great. I hope you guys get to watch her videos.
And
on
super
that.
strong. She carried my photo lights when I was sick.
Dude, she works out like a beast.
Yeah,
She's
I do. I
crazy.
put my feet up. I just talk on the internet. Yeah, I think you're asking for two different things.
I'll tell you what, rent all of it.
Yeah.
Rent the Z7 with the FTZ adapter, rent the D850, get the 105, the 7200, and see how you shoot. We don't know what you're shooting. You don't know what you really want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So find out.
Yeah, I mean, both of those lenses are really good. I mean, I personally have used the 105 a lot. But
I'm not a 7200 guy. I need a wide option at all times. Do you tether in the field? I only ask because a certain bald photographer made fun of it. I tether whenever I fucking can.
Yeah, I always tether.
I mean, I've had people hold my laptop in the middle of the street. I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's why you have a tether stools table.
That's true too.
You set it up on a stand.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty. Yeah, I always tether. I don't know. Are you calling me bald? I didn't make fun of it.
No. The asshole, that Theoria guy.
You know what?
People are really hating this guy. Jesus Christ.
I don't. You know, the thing is, it really depends on your level. Like, I could see somebody being like, "Why does a photographer bother to do that?" But like, if you're doing a commercial, you're doing a job. Like, why wouldn't you tether if you can? Like, what is the idea of like?
Not to mention, it's like a better workflow. It's more accurate, and it helps my client, if they're there, see what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
I will say, as in regards to everyone talking about the bald guy being negative, like me personally, I'm sick of the negativity.
Yeah,
I know I sound angry all the time, but if you watch my channel, I'm just trying to create a community now.
Yeah.
So for people to just easily down talk something, have fucking fun, enjoy your views. I'm gonna go shoot. You're gonna go shoot because I'll fucking shoot.
Yeah.
And I'll enjoy my fucking life shooting. Have fun talking down, because right now we're in the golden era. We have so much cool shit to fuck with.
Yeah, I don't. I have nothing against whoever. I mean, they want to talk whatever. I don't know why you would blast somebody for trying to do something, but I don't get that. Whatever.
Yeah, I do need coffee actually. Please bring me some. I'd expect Nikon to release a Z8 next year for pros. Who knows what anyone's going to release? I mean, no one saw Zeiss handing out a camera with absolutely no card slots in it, so who the fuck knows what's going to happen? Right now, we have the Z6 about to drop, which you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm curious though. What you mean by 4 Pros? You mean to replace the D5? Because I feel like that the Z7 is the Z850 stats wise. So why would they create another camera at that level?
They're looking for the D. They're probably going to go for something more of a D5 level, which means that it'll be lower res than the Z7, but it'll be fast as fuck.
Yeah,
it'll be like their A9.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'd be curious. But I used to love my Z5. Although, interestingly enough, even though the D5 was a really nice camera, I really love the D4S. I don't know why. It just felt really nice.
Yeah, you keep on talking about that.
I really enjoyed the D4S. I did not like the D5 when I got it. Believe me, I was like, oh, yes, I'll take an upgrade. But I don't know. I thought the D4S was great.
You know what I think is funny about the D5 and those levels of cameras? Is they have voice memo. You could be like,
yeah,
Daniel Norton. Like, you could do that.
It actually is true.
It's total true.
Yeah. I usually press it while I'm talking to somebody. God, this guy's a dick.
Can I buy a light meter to be used outside on a backlit subject to get a proper flash exposure? Can a light meter be used on a backlit subject?
Get it? Well, of course.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Why wouldn't you be able
You're
to
metering the flash.
Yeah, you could use a light meter.
What you want to do is get that flash as close to the metering of the background light as it can.
Yeah, I mean,
unless
actually,
you want to eliminate it.
I mean, yeah, if somebody's backlit and you want to neutralize the background, then I would expose for the background so they're a silhouette, and then just put the flash on them and match it.
You're out. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's where I would use TTL.
Yeah.
Because I want to be at f8. Keep it at
that
f8.
balanced TTL.
Yeah.
That's what you use it for, right there.
Hi guys, I want to buy an octagon softbox for one light to set up my questions. How big can I go without it being no good for portrait shooting?
No good for portrait shooting? I don't think you can ever have too big of a light.
It depends on your space and how much you need to shoot. Like if I needed a full body but I didn't have space to get it because my 5-foot Octabank is keeping me from doing that. However, if you go with a small Octabox in a small space, you're always going to have a harder light than you could. With a soft light, with a bigger light, you'll always have a soft light. You can move the light back, but you can always make it bigger.
Yeah, I would always get a bigger light. When I used to have a really tiny studio, I used to use a 5-foot Octa all the time because
I'll say a 4-foot is a good midpoint.
You can get them basically almost head to toe with the light right next to them, which creates tremendously soft light with great fall off. If you need to have a tighter light, you can always flag it.
I noticed there are different shades of gray background paper. What color gray would be best, light, medium, or dark for pet portraits?
Oh my god.
So listen, the shades of gray don't really matter because it matters. No, it doesn't. It only matters how you light it because if I have...
He just lost his savage...
I know, right?
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Molly.
No, what I'd be more worried about is the warm tone versus the cool tone.
That's right.
So if it's more warm tone, brownish gray, do I want that against maybe a golden retriever? I don't know. You tell me. But if I have, like, let's say I use fashion gray. If I light fashion gray, it can keep getting lighter and lighter. Yeah. If I keep light off of fashion gray, it can keep getting darker and darker. Yep. It's really up to you on how you light it and how much space you have to create the zones. So if you want a cooler tone, look towards like focus gray. If you want the warmer tone, look more towards, I guess, like dove gray or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I think the tone is almost more important than dark.
100% more important.
You can definitely.
I'm a big fan of focus gray personally.
Yeah, if you want to be cool, you should use fashion gray. But if you actually want to be a fashion photographer, you should use. It's the one that I fucking use the dark gray. Thunder gray. Because fashion photographers don't use fashion gray. They fucking use thunder gray. I've never seen a fashion photographer.
I use focus gray personally.
Focus is actually really nice.
But focus gray is really good if you have a lot of room.
Yeah.
Because it falls off beautifully.
Yeah, grays are tricky.
What medium format do you use, Daniel?
Let's see. So medium formats that I use most often, I have an RZ67. I love that thing, which I was just saying I was going to sell. I have a Rolleiflex T, not the 2.8 like the Stomps have. And I have a Graflex Super D.
Okay, Tom Corbett, if you're looking for an Octabank to work with one speed light, don't. What you want to use is an umbrella with a sock on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? Because your speed light's going to eat up a ton of light inside that Octabank. At least with an umbrella, you'll get more of a spread and it'll be more of an even light. Because if you shot it directly through like a 4-foot octa, it wouldn't fill it, and therefore you wouldn't be having an even light or the use of a 4-foot octa. But if you're shooting it into an umbrella and back out to a diffuser, you're going to have more of an even light.
Yeah, I agree. See you, Dave. Thanks for hanging out. Bigger is better in any softbox except outside with the wind. That's also true.
Cops are coming for you?
That's the truth.
Oh, they can hear the cops.
Yeah, of course, yeah. We're in New York.
I mean, yeah. We're in Chelsea, the bad streets of Chelsea. I was jumped on the street.
Yeah, he was jumped on the street. Check out his Instagram.
My Instagram with my bloody face.
If Seth ever pisses you off by something he says and you want to see him beat up, go to his Instagram.
It's not funny. I really got jumped. My face was beat the fuck in the...
And you texted me and I gave you support.
Yeah, you said, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just got fucking slammed to the ground.
Oh, man.
You're welcome, Tom. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. All right, we have
I think it's
70 people in this chat room.
All right,
any last questions? We've been going live since 6:30, but an hour and a half of that was this dickhead not making this public. So
there was like 4 people. All
right, I have chocolate covered espresso beans. I'm gonna go get them. You go ahead and keep reading.
All right, I'm reading. Let's see. Here we go. I got my feet up. You guys can probably see my feet are up, right? I feel it. I'm like in my living room here. All right, let me see. Do you consider landscape photography or wildlife photography a different genre or photograph realm of yourselves? You're saying those two things? I mean, landscape is landscape and wildlife is wildlife, I guess. I don't really shoot animals like wildlife, although I had deer. Oh, I can't show you because I'm on the Mevo. There was some deer in my backyard yesterday hanging out, so I took a picture of them. I don't shoot wildlife. I think it's really an interesting thing to do. It's really kind of fun. Landscape, I'd be more into if I had to choose the two, but I mostly do that with my phone because I'm lazy. But I think it's excellent stuff to do. What I love about landscape in general is the concept of like figuring out your composition and then waiting for the light. I think it's a good way to learn patience and also to see the differences between, you know.
Yeah, landscape photography will definitely teach you patience. Wildlife photography will definitely teach you how to stalk and predict your subject movement.
Also, hanging out in Chelsea will teach you how to stalk.
Yeah, yeah. If you're one of those creeper guys,
right?
That uses
200 street photography.
Yeah, I love when people send me portrait photos that are clearly taken with like a 500mm lens in the street. It's like you're a creep. What are you doing?
All right. Okay.
Thank you for the point. God damn.
Okay, so thanks guys. Thanks. Hey, Moscow. 5:41. Oh, good. It's morning. We can go for many more hours. Blah, blah. Thanks. Okay, cool. Oh, thanks for the Facebook post. Okay. How often do you guys make prints of your work?
Oh, I actually do. I try to do. It sounds so dumb that I schedule it, but I try to do 3 print runs a year, and I go, and it just makes me realize, like, first of all, when you see your work in print, it lets you realize how you really fucked up some places, and you go, this doesn't show you shit. The print does. And also, I just like looking at my walls and going like, oh, that's where I came from. And just watching the evolution of how my work went. I go, all right, like my walls are fucking covered in shit.
Actually, yeah.
Not
shit, but just pictures.
Yeah, but I just feel like subconsciously I'm always feeding off of them, so that when I go shoot, old ideas that I may have forgotten will always be there somewhere, you know?
That is pretty cool. I hardly ever print my work unless I'm giving it to somebody anymore. I used to do for portfolios, but I don't show my portfolio in print almost ever. And when I do, I print it specifically for a job. So every once in a while I'll print something. I actually have some prints sitting on a chair in my living room that I just give to people. Yeah, from a Leica show that I did. But yeah, I'm trying to think last time I printed an actual photo. Except for like we did one really quickly at the Adorama Inspire.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
That guy would always do one though.
Yeah, he was like, you have to only get one.
No.
Like, and he was like, don't you know who I am? And the guy was like, no, and he's on.
What are your thoughts and recommendations for parabolic reflectors? Umbrellas.
Yeah, all umbrellas are parabolic. Thanks for sharing.
Are you talking about paras though?
Yeah, this is the thing where they say, oh, this is our parabolic reflector.
So are you talking about a focusable parabolic? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
If so, what are you shooting with?
I mean, they have like the Zeppelin and stuff that's kind of interesting. Have you used that? I use the Zeppelin.
The 58-inch one, but that's not the same.
It was pretty cool. Didn't I like hang the light in it in a weird way? I think there's a video about that.
We shot Emily. We put a B2 in it. We had it.
Oh yeah, we did the thing. Yeah.
But
that was pretty cool.
The parabolic reflectors, like what are you shooting with? Are you shooting with like Broncolor? Because the power from Bron is fucking nuts.
Oh my god, yes.
And the cool thing about parabolics is you get the hardest light ever, but it still keeps all the detail. Like it's great to show details in fabrics.
Is it hard or is it specular?
It's not specular.
It's interesting, right? It's an interesting light from a true parabolic. I think the problem is a lot of these things say they're parabolic, and they're just simply deep umbrellas. Because really, all umbrellas are parabolic. So they're not lying, but they're not like a Broncolor para, which is such a very specific thing, where you can really focus it and really shape that light. And does anybody need, or does everybody need a Broncolor? No, absolutely not. They're very expensive, and they're very particular, but it's not the same, really. It's so different. If you've ever used an actual para, it's like, oh, okay.
It's also like not manageable. Like you have to want that light.
Yeah, it's very specific. Like, and also, I was happy when they came out with the 88 because it's so small. Because all the other ones were so big.
Oh yeah.
God, but the big ones are fucking crazy. I mean,
yeah. Do you think it's okay to shoot everything landscape, fashion, wildlife, or should you stick to one or two genres? It depends on.
Are you doing it for fun?
Yeah, like do you enjoy it? Then go ahead. What the fuck's the point?
If you're trying to promote yourself, I literally just made a video about this. I think you guys are good questions. I'm glad I made these videos because it's good because we'll get these questions where I get more in depth. But I'll say this: if you want to do something professionally, like I want to be a wildlife photographer, you should. My opinion is you should very heavily focus on that. I'm not saying don't do the other things, but you want people to look at you and say, "That's Scott." Yeah, that's Scott. He's a wildlife photographer.
You want the reputation, but if you're still so green and young that you don't have a rep, go for it. I mean, street photography is totally something you can bring to wildlife photography.
Well, of course, any type of genre of photography is going to teach you something, so you shouldn't not do it because you're like, oh. But if you want to actually market yourself, to me personally, I think the worst thing you can do, especially when you're starting, is to have this website that's like 17 different categories that are all so different that they don't make any sense. You want to be focused.
Yeah, that was totally me. That was totally me.
Yeah, I've done it too. And I think when you look at it, you want people to be like, oh yeah, this person does that. Even if you do other things, because in the end, and like I said earlier about the wedding thing, like I've been hired to shoot weddings, which is the most far different thing than fashion you could possibly think of, because people were like, no, we want a fashion photographer. Like they wouldn't have hired me if I had weddings on my website. They didn't want that. They didn't want somebody to show
them. You just want to be hired for the work you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I kept showing all the stuff I've ever done, there's things I've done for the rent money that I don't want to do again, you know, but...
Yeah, we've seen those videos.
Yeah. Got the knee pad still. Got the knee...
Focusable. Profoto, they have those giant reflectors. Those are kind of interesting, and they're cool. They're not really like a para, though. I think anybody who ever thinks that a parabolic reflector is a good idea should make the effort to rent an actual para
and go shoot
it. Because I'm not saying that will make you not buy these other things, but then you'll really know the difference. Because there's way too many talking heads that'll tell you that this fucking umbrella is a parabolic. The Broncolor para is a very, very specific thing. It's like the satellite from Broncolor. It's like the hard box.
It's funny how the more specific something is, and the less versatile it is, the more expensive it is.
Yeah,
I mean it's crazy. The satellite is like $5,000.
It's so awesome.
It actually is a $5,000 light modifier, but you're gonna use it.
It's
for
like a fucking dentist mirror.
Well, it's gonna replicate golden hour.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
You used it on a bunch of Elvises in the desert. He had to replicate the desert sun, so he pulled out a goddamn satellite.
Yeah, from 30 feet away. That's pretty fucking impressive.
That's
okay. Do you think it's okay? Okay, that's everything. Yes, focusable reflectors. Yeah, blah blah blah.
Does anyone know how much the gear, the RZ fits the RB?
Actually, I do not know. I believe you can adapt and put RB lenses on an RZ. But there's a different focus. RB lenses focus, I believe, with the helical, they call it, and RZ's velos. But I'm not sure.
No, it's not
the RB same. And it's a different camera.
It's not the same mount.
Right, I think it's an adapter, but I don't think you could go the other way. I don't think you could put an RZ lens on an RB because you'd have no way to focus. Is what I'm saying. So if there is an adapter, it probably only goes the other way.
Unless there's a bellows system.
Unless there's a bellows you could attach, but at that point they're so cheap. Just buy an RZ.
And actually, right now all of it's cheap. You can get the lenses cheap.
Yeah, exactly. RZs are really inexpensive, and they're basically just there's the electronic version essentially, the update.
I think so. Right?
Yeah, they're really fun. I mean, the only downside to it is there's no real good digital backs for them because all the digital backs are like crazy crops. So like you can't shoot wide with them. Like even the widest lenses on RZs are still relatively long when you go digital.
There's still 70 people in this room. All right, it is almost 10 o'clock here in
Holy
New York.
shit! Is it really?
Yeah.
We've been live for like 17 hours.
We've been live for
Longer than
3
the
hours. All right, last questions.
We got
Last questions. We are out of here at 10 o'clock, kids. RB lenses work on RZ, but not vice versa. Yeah,
Right,
that's what
I
you
just said, yeah. All right.
You guys got 10 minutes. Get those questions. We are out of here in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I want candy now.
Oh no, he's leaving me. You guys are left with me now. Your fault. All right, guys. Has anybody seen my series on Adorama TV? Has anyone seen Live View on Adorama TV? Nothing. Nobody's gonna chat.
Everybody's seen.
Nobody's seen. Oh, you got toffee. What the fuck,
I
bitch?
showed toffee. Want some?
You need a blade? I got blades, bitch.
Okay.
I've always got blades. Installed a window in my garage while you guys are streaming.
By the way, hold on, we'll show them some behind the scenes stuff that they would have access to without this. What do we have here?
Ooh, stealing it.
This is an early.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna show it.
Oh my god.
This is an early Marissa sighting.
Up.
The delay is killing me. That's early Marissa
On instant film.
on instant film.
God damn, that's good.
I should have wrote the date on it.
Wow, that toffee's fucking good.
It's kosher too.
Oh, good. It's kosher.
That's
How are you two affiliated with Adorama? Well, it's kind of a crazy. I don't know. How are we affiliated? Would you say?
You are. I'm a host.
He's a host, and I'm a. I don't know.
Host?
I'm on the content team.
Yeah, you produce content. I was the creative director, but now I'm simply a host.
With a marathon.
I wish someone would make a simple, big.
I wish someone would make a simple, big NAS for photographers. I don't know what that means.
Network attached storage, like a Drobo.
Why don't I know acronyms?
I only know that because I just bought a Drobo.
A simple, big NAS for photography. I gotta think of another one.
Yeah, what's wrong with Drobo? I like it.
God damn, this is fucking great.
This is really good. Thanks, Andy. Although he probably doesn't have internet.
Wait, Andy gave you this and he didn't give me one? Hey, Andy.
Well, I also saved him when he fell down the stairs or whatever.
Oh. Soconic.
Yeah, I have an old Soconic light menu. What is Dave doing right now? He's probably sleeping. You want me to text him?
You won't answer.
He won't. Dave doesn't answer text. As far as I know, he's working on his channel. He just put out a new video. So if you didn't watch it yet, I haven't watched it yet.
He's going out there to be a legitimate freelancing camera guy.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get back into doing films, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome, Ed. Thanks so much for watching.
Like I said, because you have to understand, like Dave and Fernando, these guys, when I hired them, like I wanted we were building a professional department in Adorama, and I wanted actual people. So like these guys all have aspirations to be filmmakers and stuff, so they're not going to stay forever. This is really good.
Which one? So, the Soconic 358 is your basic, but they replaced that with a 458.
Yeah,
The 787 is dope. Which one do I have?
358 is the one I have. That's the gray one, right?
Yeah, I have that one, and I have the one with the spot meter in it.
That's the 758.
That's the 758. So now they have the 858. Jesus Christ, I don't even know.
Yeah, they were saying they were going to let me borrow one of those. I never got to.
But the 358 is a safe bet. The 458 replaced that one, which is also a safe bet.
Good night, William.
I need to mount my Flashpoint Explorer on something flexible and sturdy with a C-stand would be best. What type do you remember? Okay, just so you guys understand, the arms on C-stands aren't booms. People keep saying that, and it drives me crazy.
It's not a boom. It's an extension arm.
Yeah, a grip arm is fine. You get a C-stand with a grip arm, 40-inch grip arm. And you get a 650 baby pin for the knuckle, okay? Don't mount the light to the other side of the arm. Don't do that unsafe shit. You're welcome, Scott. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Dan. Patty, thank you so much.
I've never seen any snow.
I've never seen any snow. Any suggestions for shooting in snow? You're going to get a lot of fucking refraction. I mean...
Yeah, generally when you... Actually, I literally did a video about it. If you can believe it. I went to Central Park with the B1, I think, when it first came out with Cadence, and we shot in the snow.
Oh, I love Cadence.
So what I would say about that is this: if you're using any kind of light meter, oftentimes you're going to underexpose because it's seeing all the white. It's like shooting against white background.
What is your opinion of American strobes, particularly the buff lights? I hate Paul C. buff stuff. I really do.
As do I. American strobes, Speedotron. Oh yeah.
What is that, Promar?
Yeah, Promark owns them now. Speedotron, Novatron.
The Flashpoint C-stands are decent. I'm actually about to buy a few of them myself. The only thing I'd say is I don't know what you call them. The fittings are die cast and not milled, so they aren't as...
Like Matchbox cars.
Yeah, they aren't like... I don't know what you would call it. Like there's chances that die cast things can crack over time, but I've never seen a Flashpoint C-stand do that. But that's the difference, so... But
yep.
they're I know they're crazy cheap for what they are.
Yeah, anything can do in that shitty one. Whose C-stand is that? This one is the worst C-stand in the world.
Yeah, I put it in the corner.
Broken ass one. That somebody came to the studio. They don't even want to claim
that broken ass one.
It's so bad. And then there's a shitty Matthews spring loader. I didn't even realize Matthews made spring loaders. Shame on you.
He's telling me as a former owner of Drobo products, you should check out Synology NAS storage.
Oh.
Why are you a former owner of Drobo, may we ask?
Yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, I've used Drobo for 10 years and never had a problem. Knock on wood. But, yeah. What ends up happening is everybody, there's people out there that something bad happens to them, and that's usually what happens. So he probably had a crash or something.
I can't believe Paul C. Buff shit is still around. I gotta tell you.
Because he's like, it's just as good as the rest. Let me kind of manipulate you by showing you bad examples.
Fuck you. It smells like burning plastic. It doesn't keep the same color.
You can get them in pink.
Oh. Anytime I see Paul C. Buff on something, like, that's gonna go on fire. or those specs aren't right.
But if it burns down, if it blows up, you just buy another.
We've had people try to call Paul C. Buff up to get how they got their specs on their lights because they couldn't get the lights to fire at the same specs, and the guy hung up.
It's almost like prank calling them, though. Hey, I've got one of your strobes here. Whatever. I mean, they're inexpensive. They're out there.
Listen, whatever works for you, but I would not put commercial jobs on. I would not put my name.
Yeah, I think what you got to do is think about what you're buying and what it costs and its reputation.
What's your opinion on Avenger C-stands? Avenger C-stands are great. They're pretty standard. So are Matthews.
Yep, I like Avenger. I like Matthews.
Was impressed with the Honey Badger. He shows a photo keen, thinking of getting the kit. I like the portability. You've actually used the Honey Badger, but not the battery-powered one.
It's decent. It's like an inexpensive light.
It's an inexpensive light that didn't shift too much. We were pretty...
They gave it to me like this. You can try this. It's not very expensive.
Yeah, the Honey Badger's cool, but then they have the Badger Unleashed that's a little less power, but has a battery pack, which is dope.
I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll reach out and try it on the cheap light thing, an inexpensive light thing.
Actually, you should try the Honey Badger Unleashed. Try the
I like. This is why I immediately liked it, because when they presented it to me, they didn't say, this is a quarter of the price of the expensive stuff and it's better. They were like, this is an entry level light, this is its specs, this is what we think it, we want to try it. And I was like, sure,
What is good about Speedotron? It's just dependable. I've had these huge, very powerful packs that take 6 lights a piece for at least 15 years. And I've never had a pack burn out on me. They've never changed in power or exposure shifting or color shifting. They've just been there for me. I mean, it's that simple. And anything that did break on them, like a fan, I've taken a screwdriver, opened it up, and just put in a new fan from fucking Radio Shack.
Yeah, when you open up a Speedotron, there's like some mice running around. Just put a new one in there.
No, but no joke. You could fix anything in a Speedotron light with a Granger catalog.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not kidding you. Like, I do it all the time.
And yet they still like are consistent and good. I mean,
yeah, and the only reason my Speedotrons have ever broken is because I've slammed them on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
Like, all my lights are dented.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Paul C. Buff is super cheap, and a lot of beginners start out with them and vouch for it once they've made it and purchase something better. Sure, but now there's other options. There's a lot of stuff on the market that's pretty affordable that doesn't do some of the things.
Yeah, it's true. They actually are good with the warranty. I remember when I bought, if you watched the 2 hours ago when I talked about when I bought one, which was a disappointing thing. Actually, I did get a beauty dish, a head, and a pack, and I got the a Vagabond pack, and I got like 3 soft boxes with it, and I literally opened one of the soft boxes and it tore in half. So I didn't even open the other ones. I called them immediately and I was like, okay, your soft boxes are shitty. I'm sending them back, and they sent me a label right away. And they took them on. They didn't question it because obviously they know they're shitty. I mean, it's like, you know. But by the way, you have to understand from my point of view, being at Adorama and being in the position I was in, companies would come to me with equipment, and the first thing when they hand it to me, the first thing I say to them is, "Can I break it?" Because I beat the shit out of something. If I'm gonna vouch for something, I want to know.
I'm not against cheap gear. What I'm against is cheap gear saying that they're just as the same as a high-end gear.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's very misleading. It floods the market with misinformation. When you do demos and you have these people yelling back at you about things that they think they know, but they haven't even been through all the brands like we have, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And we don't progress the technology and the gear or quality any other way. I think Paul C. Buff. Yeah, a 2402 pack for 20 years. I've had a 2401 and a 2402, 2403 A, B packs for 12 years easy.
Old guy.
Easy. My 2401 pack I got in 2000. Holy
I wasn't
shit.
even shooting it. I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you got to look at things like that, and that's what you're paying for with better gear. But sure, I mean, buy whatever you want.
Honors their warranty, and a lot of people like that as well, supporting U.S. companies. I'm not against supporting U.S. companies.
No, me neither.
Of course
I buy
not.
Shimira,
But Speedotron,
Novatron, Dynalite, made in New Jersey, Lowell, made in Long Island.
Lowell is legit. And you want to talk about hardcore, just pure metal and light? That's Lowell.
Yep.
I mean, there's great American companies.
Absent flexibility won me over from Drobo. They still have the Drobo. I never fail. It's just the options. Oh, cool. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not in love with the Drobo app, but I will admit that. That's cool.
All right.
Oh, and Android. That's cool.
All right. It is 10:02.
Oh, yeah, it is. We got to peace out.
Kids, we're up to 70 people still. Jesus Christ. What are you doing watching this shit?
Okay, they're enjoying it. They might also be behind.
Oh.
Yeah, because we started 3 hours ago.
Jesus Christ.
This might be the longest live stream. Probably
Back to
longer.
cheaper gear. What will it be on November 29th? You mentioned. Ooh.
Okay, so in the past when I've done this, in fact, it used to be called $100 light. You can make good shots or some shit like that. And I used to use this. What the fuck was the light I used? I used like this little strobe that was like $100, and also a hot light that was $100. But then they raised the price of the hot light, so now I've changed it to inexpensive. I'm gonna find something that's around that price, like a flash that's $100.
Lumadyne. Dope.
Lumadyne, awesome. Yeah, it's also there in Florida. The guy from Lumadyne is awesome. Is that the guy from? No, it's not. Okay, I was gonna say, is that? I forget his name right now. He's got a fucking name. Luma, yeah. No, LumaQuest is the other guy. No, Lumadyne is this other guy's name is like Flash or something, which is funny. His name is Flash. And
Thanks, Kyle.
But anyways,
It's lunchtime here in Austin, Austria.
Austria, not Austin, because unless they eat late. So yeah, I'm gonna do something that's in the $100 range. So then I'm gonna also do, instead of just doing that, I'm gonna do something that's like maybe like $300 or $400.
You should reach out to Peter, but for the honey badger.
Yeah, I'll do like the honey badger, which is probably like 300-ish, something. 4.
Patty, don't worry. We're gonna look into that honey badger for you, right?
Yeah, and then I'm going to do something maybe a little more expensive that I don't really consider affordable, but that's cheaper price-wise than like something like a Pro Photo, like something maybe like in the $800, $900 price range, like one of those like Godoxy things or whatever.
Godoxy.
Whatever they're out, or later Godox.
How is it? By the way, is Godox? Where did you get a name like Godox? It sounds like something prescriptive.
It is prescriptive Godox when you have burning sensations in your.
Yeah.
But it'll be Flashpoint, of course, because it'll be Adorama. 3 a.m. here, nice. See, that's a true guy from the UK or girl, I guess.
Lunchtime here in Australia.
Nice, Australia.
Patty, yeah, you're welcome, Patty. I'm pretty into the whole honey badger thing. Interfit is a company that knows where they stand. They don't try to fucking tell you what the fuck they're trying to be.
Yeah.
See if they let you do a demo with Orlit too. I mean, you could always get an Orlit.
Yeah, I'll get either an Orlit or a Godoxy, whatever the fuck it is. Whatever light I can get that's in that price range that's sitting on the stand that's not like broken. Because things are on demo, they break.
Well, the problem with the demo stuff is they don't even see when people are mistreating.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of it. I'm not saying it breaks because it's cheap. I mean, whatever. But
Yeah.
But you know, stuff on demo sometimes.
I've seen some shit with demo gear that I'm like, how the
Yeah,
fuck?
people are
is
like,
that?
you know, it's like, why are you touching that like that?
I once borrowed a camera off display. There was no battery, and I opened the compartment, and pretzels came out. I'm not fucking kidding you. It wasn't even. By the way, this was not at Adorama. This was at another place that I used to demo.
Squirrels.
Yes, like hamsters.
Actually, you know what's funny about that? I was once in a store, camera store. I wasn't at Adorama. I wasn't working. I was literally just there looking at stuff. And this dude comes up, and there's a must have been Pro 6 at the time, maybe a Pro 7 pack, and a ring flash attached to it. And he goes up to it, and he goes, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, first of all, you're blinding the shit out of everybody. Secondly, you're not supposed to shoot a ring flash that fast. The store didn't even say anything to him. I was like, you're going to break that fucking thing. Like, they're not meant to be shot that fast.
Later, Jim. We'll see you on set.
All right, peace. Orlet sounds like toilet when Seth says it. Isn't that how you say it?
Orlet. Orlet.
Orlet.
Orlet sounds like a vacuum cleaner. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Oric.
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 Yeah.
I think Trump is a Jesus. Okay.
I don't know what that
Trump
means.
equals Jesus. Oh, great. Here we
Oh,
go.
here we go. When you
Here we
reach
go.
how much
Here we go. Here we go. Support Trump, bros. He's our president. Our last. Oh no. Oh, here we go. We gotta block this guy. Oh, he really made me. Oh my God. Here he goes. Bye bye, bitch. Oh,
How do you do
fuck
it? Hand
you.
user?
No, remove. Well,
messages will be hidden.
view deleted messages.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
still
but
there,
Kick
though.
him out. Kick him out. He's still going.
How do you come out?
Go to put user in timeout. Put user in timeout.
All right.
Holy fuck. We almost got slammed to a Trump supporter. Holy shit. Sounds like Orkin. Orkin I think is a
Oh, Orbit
exterminator.
is just rebadged Jinbi.
What?
Probably.
I like how that's not even an answer. Sure. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. If I get to know you, I will see you. Howdy, you're more than welcome to
All
Adorama
right.
anytime.
Yeah, come down to Ramos. I'll yell at you in person.
I can yell, I can scream. Oh, come to my demos. You want to hear me yell? I'll fucking yell at you. Remember that woman?
You don't add anything.
She's like, I'm like, there, you see I changed the background. She goes, I don't know, it doesn't really add anything. I'm like, you don't add anything, get out of here.
Godox is cheap enough to be disposable. I don't know how much it costs. So I can't
Honestly,
really do
Godox is affordable, but I don't think that like a $400 light is still
that. I don't think they're
disposable.
$400. I think they're more expensive.
No, they're top end. No, like they're mid range. Like I think, like think about that 200 watt second light that they all
Yeah.
like with the modulars. That's $350.
That's what I'm saying. That's not cheap.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not really disposable.
Bye-bye.
Maybe I can get a Seth Miranda reflector. I tell you what, you bring a piece of poster board to Adorama, we'll use it. I'll sign it. All right.
He'll put a logo across.
I'll get you guys a pizza box that you can use for a reflector.
Yes. You know what you should do is do shots of the pizza box. No, what's it?
Oh boy.
Or my bad. Okay. All right, guys. We're gonna
All right. It
peace
is
out.
past 10 o'clock. I gotta get back here tomorrow morning.
God.
God, this sucks. This week is killing me.
Thanks, guys.
Listen,
hopefully-
we appreciate all the
Yeah, make
views
sure
and
you guys are
everything.
following Seth if you're not already. LastxWitness here on YouTube.
LastxWitness.
Also on Instagram, of course.
Follow my channel. I'm going live and shit more. So youtube.com/LastxWitness. Hit subscribe. I
There's
will
usually
do
like a dead hooker like outside the frame once that's.
dead hooker. That's where you go.
He's
A dead
in this
hooker.
dark room. He's like, I just wanted to talk a little bit. I need something off my chest.
First of all, she's already dead before I got there. Okay, so let's just get that straight.
I didn't say he killed her. I'm just saying. This
I have to afford the rent here somehow. Or if kidneys pay my rent, then I'm selling fucking kidneys, okay? Jesus Christ, are you fucking serious? That's what you say? That's what you fucking say? You piece of
You're
shit.
in this like dark room. He's
Fuck
like,
you.
he's like,
What are you talking
it was so dangerous. It was so difficult. Fuck you. Just fuck with you. Fuck.
Holy shit, are you fucking serious?